So I know the finals are over. We said goodbye to the 2024-2025 NBA season. So seemingly the climax of the year is behind us. That would be true for most sports. Mm-hmm. But now is the time of year that for many NBA fans, many of you crown eaters around the nation listening to this, this is y'all's favorite time of the year. It is the offseason. It is transaction season. It is trade season. It's rumor season, slop season, whatever you want to call it. We're here to finally usher in that era of the NBA calendar. And what we're going to do to celebrate that, we're going to do our annual one problem every single NBA team needs to solve episode. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about every single team, what they need to accomplish this offseason, what their big picture phase of their timeline is. Should be a good one.
That's right. Don't talk to me about basketball. Don't talk to me about pick and rolls. Don't talk to me about skip passes. I don't want to hear any of that.
I want drama.
I need drama and transactions.
Yeah.
I need Shams alerts on my phone every 30 minutes for the rest of the summer.
Yep, brother. And they've been hitting as of late. Specifically hitting for me. This is the greatest time of my life and the most fun I have had as a Hawks fan on off the court. Doesn't matter. In the last 3 years.
It's been a good couple of days for you.
Life is great.
Cherish it while it lasts. You guys know how it works. Every single NBA team, their biggest problem, their biggest agenda, one thing we want to see them accomplish this offseason. Let's get right into it.
The cranium is crazy. Oh my God.
I mean, I really don't know what to say.
Crayon eaters rejoice.
You guys know how this works. When we do these episodes, we talk about every single NBA team and give you one thing about them. Each of us have 10 teams to pick between us. We all have those 10 teams assigned. We come with what we think the answer is. Mm-hmm. Everybody else talks about it, but each person has their set of teams. Donovan, you go first. Who was your first thing you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
Very diverse convo.
They need to fix their problem of not having halfback dive in their playbook.
Okay, so they need a slasher. They need an interior presence.
They need a slasher. They need a more interior presence. The number one thing that everyone talks about, especially pre-Jimmy trade, was this team gets such a bad whistle, and you can fix that by getting two things, and they got one of them. You can get somebody who knows how to grip for fouls, like Jimmy Butler, and who can get to the line, or you can get somebody who just puts pressure on the rim, because the Warriors, they don't do it at all, right? That's not their game. That's not their style. That is not how their offense is set up. And to win in this league, unless you have peak Steph Curry, it is very hard to win if you are not getting to the basket, if you are not giving yourself opportunities to get layups. And so you think that Jonathan Kuminga would have been that guy?
I was going to say that. It's a big elephant in the room we're not talking about.
You think that would be the answer, right? It's very clear. Here's a guy, 6'7", very athletic, can try to get to the basket. Steve Kerr hates him. So he's clearly not the long-term or really short-term answer for this team. So they need to go out and find somebody or find something that they can put in that role to actually get it.
Yeah. And so we're mentioning slashing and interior finishing as the main purpose of this. I think you can also broaden a little bit. General athleticism up and down the roster.
Yes.
They're manned by 3 old superstars who are still, I'm not say superstars for all of them, but 3 core players that are above the age of 34 who are all still fantastic at what they do. They all clearly fit. We saw that run at the end of last season where the synergy post Jimmy Butler, the vision works. I think that is without a doubt, we can say that. We'll see what Steph Curry is like at this age. Obviously, every year is a gamble of when that fall will eventually come. I don't think next year is the year where Steph Curry's washed. We don't got to worry about that necessarily. So yeah, just flanking those olds with youngs is the number one priority.
Yeah, I agree with you. You would think that Jonathan Kuminga is a guy, but there's so many other things that's missing in his game that for someone like Steve Kerr, it doesn't feel like it's worth the try because of the continuous passes that he misses, the defensive assignments, the lapses when it comes to rebounding, all those things. And then obviously too, Jimmy Butler used to be that, but at his old age now, that is the last thing that he wants to put his body through. Plus, also, you said it a couple episodes ago, he had a broken booty, and when it comes to laboring that type of injury, it sucks. And I'm sure it changes the psyche and his approach to the game as time goes on, which we clearly saw that. So
do we want to see so how do we make this happen? Obviously, they don't have a ton of paths available. I think they can open up the full mid-level exception, which could be somebody. We can look across the free agents to decide that. Is it so I guess the first question is, do we want them to keep Jonathan Kuminga? We're mentioning all this stuff we need to find them a new Kuminga, essentially. Do they keep the old one and get somebody else in there and kind of try to bolster the athleticism with him? Or is it a signing trade and get him out of there and try to get reclamation projects or whatever it may be that you can get for him.
I would think that you would go into this year and it's like, this is the last dance.
Yeah.
If I'm Joe Lacob, I'm getting Steve Kerr and I'm getting Kuminga and I'm putting them in a room. And I said, whatever problems that you guys have, figure it out. Because realistically, you're not going to get a better opportunity to add a slasher than somebody who is still super young like Kuminga, somebody who's been in the building. And even though that he hasn't played as much as you would like him to play, he's still been in the system. There is still continuity and some familiarity there. So you have to figure it out. And I would think that the ideal thing for them would be to figure something out with Kuminga. Now, trivia question for you guys.
Okay.
When was the last time that the Golden State Warriors were top 10 in rim percentage? In terms of like
rim field goal.
Yeah.
They've probably been higher in field goal percentage, but the volume is probably pretty low. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like volume.
I'm going to say 2016.
probably 2018, the last Kevin Durant year. Oh, you're saying volume?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, volume.
Volume.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Top 10 in volume.
Let's say 2017.
Yeah. That's the only thing that makes sense. If not, then it's probably like before Steph days.
2007, 2008.
Yeah.
Damn.
Exactly.
It's been a long time since they've been one of the best teams at getting to the rim in terms of volume. Now, when they had KD, the 2 years, like the first 2 years,
Yeah.
they were top 15.
And I'm sure the efficiency was outrageous.
Yeah. But they don't, that wasn't a part of the game. And again, when you have prime Steph, prime Clay, prime KD, and you can pull up from three and take all the jumpers that you want, that's fine. But it's been so long since this team has.
I wonder where they ranked in 2022 when they won the championship. I mean, again, like, I'm sure it's not necessarily needed to be top 10 or top 5 or whatever, but around the top 15 range does like 100% make sense, because back then they had slashers like Andrew Wiggins, who was a demon downhill, especially that year. And so that 100% makes sense. I agree with you. I'm not sure like what are the real pathways or avenues to that when it comes to free agents, or if they should
In
make a trade.
2022, sorry. In 2022, they were 25th in rim volume.
Wow. That's just not their bag, and that's not the recipe to win. And I don't think that's necessarily an issue for real, because I mean, they came away with God knows how, like 4 championships. So it's not the biggest issue, but it is a super easy pathway to lead to more opportunities offensively.
You're right. The volume isn't the issue, because they're always low in volume. But in 22, 23, 24, they were 2nd, 3rd, and 5th in rim efficiency. This past year, 18th. And obviously they're 18th because of the first half of the year in which it was terrible and was distraught. The offense didn't make sense. I'm sure post Jimmy, if I limit these stats to that, they're a lot better. Like if we look in the playoffs, they were 13th. But that's not a playoff team, so I guess that's still pretty bad. So that's not their bag.
Out of how many? 16? Yeah, that's bad.
So again, we're saying all these things. Kuminga is the answer, theoretically. So obviously find a interior athletic presence to fill around these guys as the priority, and specifically decide if Kuminga is that answer or not. That's really what their number one problem is the Kuminga problem. That their exact needs are Jonathan Kuminga, and their exact problem is they don't really want Kuminga to be that guy, seemingly.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Maybe it's not that. Their exact problem is that Kuminga doesn't want to be that guy. He doesn't want to be the ancillary piece. He just said it in an interview straight up. He wants to prove that he can be a 25-point per game scorer, and more power to him. He's up for a payday, and he hasn't had the chance to prove he deserves max money. In his mind, I get why that makes sense. He wants to go somewhere he can get touches and show that if you make me a featured scorer on your team, I can be exactly as productive as the other guys in the league that get these bags. Jalen Green got a bag like that. He's like, I see that. You put me on that team, I could do that. So I understand why he feels that way. He doesn't want to be this ancillary piece that plays off of these stars. More power to him. I hope you're right for yourself, but that creates a divide.
Yeah, but it's also it's so funny because Jalen Green got the bag from the team that drafted him, right? So many times, if you are on a team that is successful, people look at you like you are better than you are, right? Like a lot of times, it's very rare that you see somebody on a bad team put up 25 points per game and somebody looks at them and like, yeah, that's a winning player, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times
They get paid though.
They sometimes, but you don't get the best of both worlds in terms of getting the bag and the recognition of you are an actual winning player.
I don't think he gives a fuck about that. I think he wants the bag. I don't think he gives a fuck about the reputation.
But even what I'm saying is like those players are often traded. So I can understand why for him, he's like, just get me out of here so I can do it. But if getting a bag is obvious is the priority, being a good player on a good team and showing that you have all these other skills, that is also a very good way and a good pathway to getting a bag.
Right now, he's getting either pathway though. Right now, they're deeming he can't be that
so
player.
He's just mad.
Yeah. So I understand his perspective. I'm not sure if I believe in the vision he has himself. I'm glad he has a vision for himself. Shout out confidence, but I understand why he wants to be out of there, and I think the Warriors should probably free him.
Yeah, I agree.
What's your team? The Warriors' first flaw, the first problem to solve, the Kuminga problem. Who's number 2 for you?
So number 2 for me, or my number 1.
Yeah, oops.
Is the Boston Celtics. Now, this is very interesting because they are at an inflection point in their over the last few years because, okay, you go ahead, you get over the hump, you win a championship with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You do the big thing that everyone swore up and down that wasn't able to happen. You did it. Cool. You get off of those contracts and you save an immense amount of money when it comes to getting off of Drew Holiday's contract and also Kristaps Porzingis. You basically salary dump those guys.
Yep.
And you have on your roster, of course, Jaylen Brown is still there. You're fielding hella interest. And you have Anthony Simons as well, which was a good deal for you, just a whatever player.
Salary dump.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much a salary dump. In my mind, this is a down year, and their biggest need for this team is just finding pieces that could stick with you in the long haul, just finding scraps. Because at this point, you don't have any real ambitions or obviously powers to completely or to try to compete in any way. But also, in my mind, you probably don't want to bottom out. But if they do end up bottoming out, and if that's the route, honestly, the issue is what they need to solve is what they want to do.
Yeah, pick a direction, right?
Exactly. So the direction is either A, like keep someone like Jaylen Brown and try to find scraps around him that could be even better and kind of juice up your team when Jason Tatum comes back, or completely bottom out and pray to God that you get that number 1 overall pick. Who's the potential number 1 overall pick this year to your knowledge so far, Isaac?
There's a couple of them. It could be DeBanza, Boozer.
DeBanza, ironically enough, is from fucking Massachusetts, so it's like it feels like it's set up for it to happen.
That would be such a dream story for them to be able to take a year off because of injury. It sucks. Bright spot, you reunite Tatum and DeBanza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they have 2 paths. Obviously, after shedding these 2 big salaries, they can either, like you said, try to remain relevant and make the playoffs around Jaylen Brown, around Derek White. And if that's the case, your biggest problem is you need a center. You got to have somebody that is going to be able to start over Xavier Tillman. That can't be your starting center as of next year. You can't have a Tillman, Georges Niang front court. That'd be quite gross.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And obviously, go ahead.
Or you do start Georges Niang Tillman front court, and you go all in. You find some reclamation project young guys. Hope you can turn them around and hope make them either trade assets for the deadline and make their value recoup it, like the Thunder did in their 2 years when they were tanking real bad. Or you have them so next year they prove that they can be valuable when Tatum's back. Pick a path. Either be shitty and make some young guys have value, or be decent and find yourself a starting center. Yeah,
I agree. And in general, whatever the pathway is, the starting center position needs to be addressed quicker than sooner, because obviously Al Horford's going to be there. Shout out to him. He's still going to be playing good basketball, but how is he going to look not this upcoming year, but 2 years from now when Tatum is fully back and healthy? I don't fucking know. He's going to be 40 years old. Regardless of the pathway, that needs to be addressed sooner than later.
If they're tanking, they should probably let him walk and have his swan song with another contender. Or if they're trying to be competitive, keep him and let him be a franchise legend, and he'll help you make the playoffs and make that push.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Now, if you were the Boston Celtics and a team gave you an outrageous overpay for someone like Jaylen Brown, a finals MVP, NBA champion, one of the best shooting guards in the league consistently over the last 6-7 years, how do you feel about that? If someone throws you a whale of an offer, even better than what the Orlando Magic gave away for Desmond Bane.
Well, listen, if Dylan Harper's over there getting sent around in trade packages for the Spurs or something, I'm gonna take it. But what do you think? I don't think they have to trade Jaylen Brown unless it's something like that where you get a player of that caliber that you think is gonna be a long-term piece. They can do either way. Yeah,
I don't think they have to. I wouldn't move Jaylen Brown. I think you've already, because of Tatum's injury and then now because of the 2 trades, going into next year, you're gonna be down 3 of the guys that won a championship for you a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a lot of change to happen very, very quickly. Yeah. And if you trade Jaylen Brown, whenever Tatum comes back, that situation is going to be completely different. And thinking about Tatum being in his prime, obviously he's going to have to rehab, but still in his athletic peak, I don't think I want to start from zero.
Yeah,
the way that it would be if you traded Brown and now it's just and now it's Tatum, Derek White, and whatever because Horford's probably going to be gone. It's going to be them two and your first round draft pick from last night, Hugo Gonzalez. Like, no.
Yeah, I don't think you trade Tatum trade Jaylen Brown unless you're also trading Derek White and then also trading Tatum a year later. Like, unless you're full on blowing it up and like going Thunder mode where you're going to be atrocious for 2 years and then try to make a really quick rebuild, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but you're not going to do that just because the dynamic of Jason Tatum being hurt and you don't want to like feel like you're just like abandoning the era because he's out for a year. That would just be like, that's a hard dynamic to do, even if you do feel like it's smart. And it probably isn't smart because Tatum's going to come back and I'm sure be a great player again. So if your goal is a 1 year turnaround, I don't see how trading Jaylen Brown makes it so you have the best situation possible when Tatum returns, unless you're trading him for another star that's maybe a little bit younger or a little bit better of a fit, a little bit cheaper.
What if a team like minus the cheaper part, what if a team like the Memphis Grizzlies wanted to do not a 1-for-1 swap, probably attach whatever pick, who knows, do a swap for John Morant and Jaylen Brown?
What does that get you?
It's a different look.
He is different for the sake of being different, though. He's not necessarily better.
If you're Memphis, you would never do that.
Yeah, neither team would want to do that. Like it's a different look for sure, but it's not a better look. And they know that their plan of having Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and shooters is the best plan you could have. They were the best team in the NBA, so that's what I'm saying. Like a lateral move for a star like that doesn't make sense. It would have to be they trade Jaylen Brown for like a young guy they think can be as good as Jaylen Brown plus something else. Like if the Thunder weren't champions and like if they say they didn't have Shea or whatever, if it was like somebody like a Jalen Williams who we could project to be as good as Jaylen Brown in a couple years or whatever, plus you add another piece. That type of move would make sense. And I don't know if that's out there.
Yeah, and I think trading Jaylen also only makes sense if they were still over the second apron. The fact that they've made all these moves and now you've ducked all of that, and then the only thing that you're really going to have to deal with is, I think they're going to have to deal with like 1 year of repeater tax, but then after that, like you're under all the aprons and stuff like that. That's the only thing that you have to worry about. But since you're saving all of this money, I doubt that like this, honestly, from a new ownership perspective, is kind of the best thing because you now have your excuse to blow up the most expensive team in the league. You don't have to pay any of the taxes. And then you can restart the franchise with a Jason Tatum and kind of build it the way that you want to and don't really have to deal with any other politics from the previous regime. They're in a solid spot. And the East, a lot of the teams at the top, like Cleveland, like New York, right? Indiana's obviously dealing with this stuff too. We have high hopes for them. And you know the way that the league works, which is we're going to give you 1 to 2 years to figure it out. And if not, the score is getting blown up. So by the time the Celtics are ready again to go, the East is probably, it
might look different.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to look completely different in all of the contenders that are in it. In a already weak East, they're probably not even going to be there.
All right, we'll go to the next team. Let's go with the other team that's on the screen right now. The Orlando Magic is my first team. Their biggest problem they need to solve in free agency is quite simple. Continue to get shooting. Continue to find more shooters. The Desmond Bane trade was fantastic. You know, you can quibble with the amount of picks given up. You can have the discourse of whether or not it was too much or whatever. To each their own, that's fine. Undoubtedly, they are a better team with Desmond Bane. Undoubtedly, this is one of the best fits you could possibly imagine for a third player that can play on and off ball next to Paolo and Franz. The problem now is it's not enough. You got to continue to find more shooters. They just drafted Jace Richardson, which is another solid move. We think he can be a good shooter for them off the bench.
Fantastic move.
Hopefully, as a rookie, contribute in that way. It's not enough. You got to keep looking, got to keep finding more shooters, do what you can.
It's not enough.
It's not enough at all. I still really want them to find a stretch five. I don't know if that's possible. That's obviously easier said than done. But whatever the answers are, whatever is available on the trade market, on the free agency market, they need to find all the shooters they possibly can.
Yeah, and it's going to feel a little bit like you are deviating from your identity because the Magic, they built themselves on defense for, you know, the last, I guess, for a while, but especially in this like Paolo era, this Franz era, you are a defensive first team, and now bringing in a bunch of, or shifting your mind to say, we have to go get offensive leaning players. Are we still going to be the same? No. And that's the point. Like, you don't want to be the same. You don't want to be the same Orlando Magic team that is going to roll through the season, finish with the 21st best offense in every single game. We look at it and it's like, why is this so hard to score? Why is every bucket so tough? You want to be able to give Paolo all of the flexibility and spacing and everything that you can. All the excuses that people have used for Paolo, get rid of them because you do need to see Paolo be able to say, we've set the table for you. Go do the thing that we need you to do. You need him to do that. You need Franz to do that. So yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly. The spacing excuse is great for winning discourse battles online. You can always have the cop out that Paolo has a bad situation. Eventually, discourse battles are not the battlefield you want to be winning on. You want to have actually see the fruit that you know he can bear. You want to see him be the best version of himself that you know he can be, the top 15 player in the world you know he can be. And to do that, you need the most spacing. And I think because the dynamic of Paolo and Franz are on-ball creators, Franz isn't a good shooter, you're going to need good spacers around that, right? And Jalen Suggs also is a core part of your team. He's a better shooter now, but you're not going to... He's not like an amazing shooter, and you're also not going to move off of him because he's so good defensively and so important to you.
He needs to show he needs to have like multiple years of good shooting. He has like one really elite shooting year.
And even though like he's stamped in your lineup, him and Desmond Bane will be your guards. The only other path to getting spacing and like really improving that situation from now is a stretch five. And obviously those are very hard to attain. I think they need to sign one of the olds, either Brook Lopez or Al Horford. One of the guys that are just stopgaps. Get a stretch five in there right now, see what it looks like. Brook Lopez debatably isn't good anymore. I understand that. You don't got to play him a ton of minutes. You have other bigs. You have Jonathan Isaac. You have Mo Wagner, one of the better backup bigs. You can probably still have Randall Carter Jr. in this situation. But let's get a little bit of an idea of what it would look like with a stretch five. Go get Brook Lopez if he's cheap. Get him for your mid-level exception. Or Al Horford if he's on the move potentially from the Celtics. Get a stopgap just to be able to see what it looks like. And then if you do like what you see, find your stretch five of the future find your stretch five of the future later on, or you see maybe we don't need a stretch five. We can go back to a traditional big, which is easier to find. But give them a chance.
I don't think Al Horford's leaving, but damn, that would be so beautiful.
He would change their lives.
He would change their lives for sure.
And if they completely try to swing and miss on someone like Brook Lopez for whatever reason, I think Brook Lopez is like literally the only answer. The other names that are out there when it comes to stretch five bigs are like, I don't know, Nas Reed, of course, like Miles Turner. But then you start to get to Bobo,
Thomas Bryant
conversations, But I think someone who's like 2% better than that is Chris Boucher. Hey man, he's a shot blocker. I don't know how consistent he is when it comes to that, obviously. And he is a 3-point shooter for sure. That's one of his redeeming traits and qualities. So I think those two guys should be towards the top of their next free agents that they need to try to really swing on for the low.
Okay, I'll double up here because I have another team with the same exact issue. OKC Thunder. Their biggest problem is solving free agency. Find some more shooting. That's about it. They really don't have any problems. They're the defending champs for a reason, but you can never stay stagnant. To stay stagnant, even when you're at the top, is to get worse when everybody else is trying to catch up to you. And obviously their Achilles heel was the lack of jump shooting. I think you'll see part of that next year be alleviated by the fact that I feel I can almost certainly say Chet Holmgren will be substantially better offensively next year when he's not dealing with an in-season hip fracture, which is so much bigger of a deal than anybody realizes. That is a dramatic injury to come back from. You have no time for rehab, and that's an injury that requires immense rehab to get back to where you were physically. He'll be better there. He'll probably shoot better. He'll probably be more of a threat that makes his spacing less of an issue. But nevertheless, they need more spacing clearly, even outside of that natural positive improvement, even outside of their backup point guard solution, maybe being Nikola Topic. Their shooting up and down the roster needs to be better. They need high volume shooters that can really be like a quick trigger guys.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is Isaiah Joe and Andrew Wiggins, your days are numbered. Package them.
I don't know if Aaron Wiggins' days are numbered specifically because he just feels like a OKC lifer for whatever reason. But Nikola Topic, I assume
he's not a lifer. Package him.
I assume Topic is gonna get some minutes next year, and even him as a prospect was not a good shooter at all.
Yeah.
And so if he's gonna get minutes, then you're absolutely right. They need to stand on all 10 and find shooting while also not sacrificing much defense because obviously that's their top philosophy.
I still want the Cam Johnson thing to happen. I understand why they didn't do it. They didn't have to do it. They won the championship, but they were a hair away from not winning. And if they didn't win, everybody would have said Cam Johnson would have been the difference. Your offense would have been significantly less bogged down. And as Isaiah Joe couldn't play in most of these series because of the defense, I think you could still do that same deal. You can still package those two guys with picks to get him. If you want someone cheaper, there are other options out there. If you want to go crazy, you could try and get Trey Murphy, but obviously you don't want to get somebody that's a long-term piece because you can only pay so many guys. So either get a Cam Johnson and view it as a short-term thing that you're going to have him for the next year or two before you have to pay J-Dub and Chet, and then you ship Cam Johnson off because you have all the picks in the world. I think that would be completely fine to maximize the next year and then move him again.
Exactly.
I agree. That's the thing for OKC. They need to like maximize on these guys who are on 1-2 year deals. try to get another ring again, and then continues to just like swamp that out right before you have to pay those two.
Get Cam Johnson, or I'm using him as an example. Cam Johnson, like big wing that can shoot. Bring him in, go back to back, then ship him and Isaiah Hartenstein out, and have Sorber plus whoever the next 5 rookies are you draft. Have that be the next set of guys.
Yeah.
What's your next team, Donovan?
We are gonna go with the Portland Trailblazers.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go front court shooting for them. Because I think now that you've traded for Drew, your backcourt is gonna be like Drew and Scoot.
Or Drew and Sharp, maybe Scoot off the bench. Those 3 guys are your main guys.
Like those are your guys. And if you are going to play clean, I'm also doing this assuming that Ayton isn't going to be on the team like
long term.
Yeah.
They definitely could
He's
trade him
definitely not going to. He's not going to be on the team long term. It doesn't make sense because they just drafted a big last night.
Yeah.
So
he's gone.
Yeah. So you have two young rookies, and as soon as they made that draft pick, we're all like, goodbye, Ayton. Get out of here. And so the lineup that they had, the lineups that they ran last year with no Simons, no Ayton, they were terrible offensively, right? They you think that adding Drew into that mix may be a little bit better, but Drew's not a great offensive player, especially at this point in his career. And so you know that if your backcourt is going to be Scoot, who is not a fantastic shooter, it's going to have Drew in there. It's not going to have fantastic shooting. And then you have Denny and Kamara. While you're trying to rearrange all of these pieces, adding some shooting to your front court is just going to give you a lot more versatility. And they've done a really good job of finding a lot of good wings who can play defense, and it's attributed to their culture and how they play. Awesome. You're going to have to get buckets. You're going to have to find some shooting, find some spacing, because if Scoot also does start to I guess like develop, giving him some room to work, that's also needed.
This could be a Nas Reed offer sheet team. That could be
very
fun.
fair.
But yeah, they were 26th last year in 3-point percentage, 24th in half-court offense, points per play, 92.8 points per play in the half-court. That's an atrocious offensive rating. Drew Holiday does not fix that. He could probably help them defensively. He can help mentor their young guards. But yeah, he is not a half-court offensive demon by any stretch this point of his career.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I think a Nas Reed offer sheet would be great. But to do that, I think they have to dump the Jeremy Grant contract, which is also one of their bigger problems in the summer. They got to figure out how to get rid of him. One less year on the contract now. They can probably trade him. He was almost a Laker last offseason. Then obviously they couldn't come to terms with the compensation. He is just a veteran that has no place on this team anymore. And if you want to get front court shooting, which we'll just use Nas Reed as a placeholder, don't know if he's going to leave, but you got to throw offers to guys like that or somebody else in the trade market. You got to get rid of that money from Jeremy Grant.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think more so for me personally, if I was a Blazer or in that front office coaching staff, I would prefer to start someone like Scoot Henderson because the playmaking is sizably better compared to someone like Shaedon Sharp, and it feels like he's a better shooter as well. The percentages point towards that. Is also they're damn near like in line, but Scoot's a better 3-point shooter in general. So I think he when it comes to like figuring out their guard situation, I will try my best to cater towards him as much as possible.
Isn't that so disappointing? Shaedon Sharp last year, man. Everyone was like he's gonna make the leap. That shooting leap has not come. So he shot 71% at the rim, which is elite. So he is the high flyer. You saw that really become tangible. The year before, he was only 54% at the rim, which is atrocious. So that was a legit development. He is a slasher now. But that shooting has steadily gotten worse every year. 37% as a rookie, 34% year 2, 31% year 3. Mid-range, he shot actually 47% on long mid-range jumpers. So there's that. There's some shooting touch.
Hey, man.
But the 3 needs to come around for Shaedon.
What's the total amount of long middies that he took?
He took 167.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, 79 out of 167. It's a 15% of his jump shots, which is 86th percentile for a combo guard. So not a big volume, but it's all right for a role player.
All right, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, so front court shooting. Nas Reed is, for a lot of these teams, Nas Reed or Nas Reed archetype is going to be a big, like that would help to have somebody who's 6'10", 7 feet tall, whatever. He's not 7 feet, but like having somebody who's 6'10" who can shoot the 3.
Your new Jeremy Grant. That's also Jeremy Grant. So like you got to get rid of him. He's expensive. Find a young one.
Yeah, I agree with you. Next team that I want to talk about are the Washington Wizards. They had a good draft last night. They drafted Trey Johnson, certified bucket.
Hooter.
But
I saw someone call him Gen Z Reggie Miller. Love that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that as well. And he does fix a lot of issues, and a part of their offseason issues kind of fold into him as well. And he helps answer that. But I think that to push the line even further, if they really want to like get exciting and make a play-in push this year, a legitimate one at least, they definitely want to get some like Alex Sarr more help offensively at least. Right now, they're banking on him a lot to fix a lot of the issues when it comes to efficiency and decision making that he has offensively. Defensively, he's an amazing prospect. He had one of the better rookie year defensive seasons that I've seen as of late. But in order to make his life easier, and in my mind, give him more space for the rim so he can just pretty much play open season, you want to either like get a 4 next to him to allow him to fully like just be a Uter or what, not be a Uter, but get a 4 next to him to give him as much space as possible to run with, or get a solid big who knows how to either be somewhat of a lob threat. Of course, a shooter. Everyone would want that. Everyone would love that. But that just doesn't seem feasible for this team in the state that they're in right now. So they just need more offensive juice to continue to let him build in more good habits in his game. Now, to fix that, it's hard. It's hard to find that right now in the league.
All right, so they need offense.
Consistent offense. And an adult big man specifically.
Yeah.
Bro.
I also, you said to make a play and push. My biggest, I guess, problem to solve, which isn't a problem, something that they have to make clear to us is what the plan is, because they're added all these veterans. They add CJ McCollum. They have Chris Middleton, who picks up his option. They have Marcus Smart. They have Brogdon. A lot of adults in the room, a lot of youths in the room. Where are we going with that, right? Like, which path are we really on? Are we on play-in tournament? Are we trying to balance the two? Are we trying to get good immediately and, like you said, build good habits and put these guys in a winning situation where they're not just losing 70 games a year every year? Mm-hmm. Is that the plan? If that's the plan, you have a long way to go. Like you said, they played lineups last year where Alex Sarr is the center, Keyshawn George is essentially the power forward, or Champagne's the power forward. Whoever nominally is defending that position, you definitely need some size.
Their front line is super weak.
Yeah, and like, who's a backup center? They had Bagley playing minutes at some point last year, I think.
Yeah, and then I think Rashawn Holmes was there as well. And
oh my God, shout out Rashawn Holmes.
They need an adult in the room oh so badly.
Yeah, they need big man depth. And they had a second pick last year at night, right? Who was the second pick they had? I can't remember who else they picked.
Yeah, off the top of the head, I'm not 100% sure.
I'll check. I'll
check
real quick.
But I think in general, building out the big man group would be very important. Sarr he can play the 5. I would like him to have the ability to play the 4 and the 5 in different lineups. I want to be able to use that versatility, find what the long-term plan is there. If the shot comes around, you can definitely get away with him playing at the 4 more often. I want to see that opportunity more, and then continue to have a guy that can not only be a stopgap, but somebody that we can say there's a world in which he is a 5 for us long-term, either as a backup or as potentially a starter with Sarr at the 4. Similar to like the Suns trade for Mark Williams when they drafted Molly Wash. Mark Williams is probably going to be their backup now, assuming Malawash is good. I want them to have their version of a Mark Williams trade.
Mm. Yeah, fair. Also, so they had the 18 overall pick, but then they traded that to Utah, and then Utah took Walter Clayton.
Okay, they didn't trade back in the first round. They just traded it away?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. So yeah, gotcha. I want them to find another young big that can be part of this core.
Young big or hell, it doesn't even need to be young right now. Just someone who can help instill good offense or good habits into Alex Sarr long term.
Sure, yeah. If it's not going to be young, it can be an old big. If they're trying to make the play-in tournament, go get an old big that can be the backup but can close some games.
Yeah.
Go get Andre Drummond.
Hey, listen.
Go get Clint Capella.
Clint Capella would be okay. Like he offers a certain level of stability and relieves a lot of pressure when it comes to rebounding and shit like that.
I wasn't joking about Andre Drummond. Like shout out, it's like a funny name now, but like they need a veteran who can stand on the interior, be big, be a good mentor. Andre Drummond is, you heard him talk. He's talked a lot about how he understands his place in the league now. They need another adult that can be part of the big man team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or shit. I hate to say this, but go out and trade for someone like, it's not going to move mountains, but it's going to add a certain level of stability and make Sarr's life so much easier. Nikola Vucevic would be a good fit alongside of him for a year, max 2 years.
They have.
That's going too far towards the play-in route for me. But if they do actually want to win games, I mean,
he will help. Yeah,
sure.
Listen, they have even the lineup right now can make the play-in.
Yeah, but I don't want them to go that hard.
I'm with you in terms of like, don't get suckered into the Bulls trap.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, being mid.
Like being mid and just trying to get there. But like Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum are very clearly, it's not like they're paying young mid guys. They are very clearly older mid guys that like for 1 year, maybe we can see what happens. And there's also a world where let's see how you develop while you know that we're playing for something, right? You know that we're playing for a play-in, and then after this year, we can reconvene, or even at the deadline, like we've said before, maybe you move McCollum at the deadline. Maybe you move Chris Middleton at the deadline and see
that one's harder.
Whatever. But but you have options there, and you pull Utah Jazz. You say we're going for it in the first half, and then second half pull the plug, do all that.
Gotcha.
Right. That could be the move for them.
Okay. Next team is the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
I initially wrote down center play, just like 2 words.
Yep.
Because their center play was atrocious. But then we saw the draft last night. Drafts, Common, Maluash, trades for Mark Williams in the span of 30 seconds. Both things happened at the same time. All of a sudden, I'm like, wow, that's a inspired young big man duo. Like that's now become like a strength of the team. Outside of Devin Booker, that's their new biggest strength. So their new biggest problem to solve this summer, with that being eliminated, the guard logjam.
Yeah.
You just traded for Jalen Green when your best player is Devin Booker and your second best player is Bradley Beal.
Yep. And then
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a tough scene.
Can you think of a trio that has less chemistry or less on-court synergy, at least on paper, than those 3? I can't think of a single one.
No.
It's almost impossible to think of a single one. Like, you can't think of a single one that exists. You probably can't also think of a single one that exists in any fantasy.
Worse.
Besides the 5 point guards the Nets just drafted. Outside of that, this is the stupidest combination of guard talent you could imagine. They all want to do the same exact things, and they're varying levels of good. Only one of them being good.
Yeah, and Matt Ishbia is going to come down, and he's going to be like, listen, I believe in Jalen Green. You put the ball in his hand, you let him run the point, we could do some stuff.
So
it's going to be nasty.
So the problem is that you can't go, if your goal is to rebuild, not even retool, because you don't have much retooling to do, but to find stability around Devin Booker. Sure, we can read whatever the fuck you want. We're going to read something. We're going to read some shit. But if your goal is to be competent next year and try to win as many games as possible around Devin Booker, tell him it makes sense to stay, you don't want to leave, you cannot start Jalen Green next to him. And you probably cannot start Bradley Beal unless you figure out some godsends around those two. So that's the problem. What's the answer? I don't know. I would think they should reroute Jalen Green. You don't often see that whenever it's not a 3-team deal. And this deal can't be executed until July 6th.
Or 6th.
6th.
One of the 2.
So maybe it becomes a 3-team deal and they find a suitor for him in the next 7 days, potentially. If not, they damn sure got to beg Bradley Beal to waive his no trade clause. Maybe you can get away with 2 of them and have a weird ass lineup still. You can't get away with 3 of them. That is a problem.
No trade clauses are whack. I feel like as soon as you use the first no trade clause, they should take it out your contract.
Well, you get one time
because
denial?
it's like, if you're the Suns, it's like, I didn't agree to that. Like I didn't do that. That was an agreement between you and the Wizards. You waived it to come here. We can ship you off wherever. You should only be able to use it one time.
I think that is part of the deal, though. Whenever you trade for somebody that has no trade clause, the new team can, like, that's part of the negotiation is like they get to retain it or not, and they let Bradley Beal retain it.
Yeah, they agreed to that.
Yeah.
When you sign off for that trade, you agree to that, bro.
I think that's part of it. I think you have to, like, that's part of, like, the process.
I did not know how that worked.
Yeah, I think it's like potentially the deal. The Suns could say we're not doing this unless Bradley Beal waives his no trade clause, and he had to agree to it. Otherwise, you can't get the deal done.
Yeah,
and they were like, we're not doing that. So the Suns let him keep it.
Yeah, if for some reason they do end up going into this upcoming season with Booker, Beal, and Green, it's looking like they're gonna really force Devin Booker again to play the point guard.
And I fucking hate that. I hated that when you had Kevin Durant.
I'd strike.
I hated that when you had Kevin Durant, and now you have Jalen Green. What? That is such a disgusting scenario. I pray for the best for Devin Booker. If that's going to be what happens, like, that is so horrible for his career arc, for his PR, for his standing in the league. I can't imagine mistreating your star that poorly, and expecting him to want to be a lifer.
If I'm Devin Booker, my agent has to be on the phone right now with, like, Netflix, and I'm a host a show where I'm talking about, like, old classic cars, and I'm just gonna drive around in them or whatever. I can't play with these guys.
I'm playing for the Spurs if that happens. You're sending me away at the end of the summer.
I can't do this. I can't go through another year of having just such redundant skill sets, knowing that we're not going to have anything, and then you are back to where you were 2 years ago, where you were saying after they got KD and after Chris Paul left, you're like, hey, you guys don't have any point guards, and you are back to that issue. And I would be very frustrated.
Is there any team you want to see take on Jalen Green in this scenario? Let's say they can give him away.
The Bulls. He's the most Chicago Bulls player ever.
Low key, there is talks of them potentially trading Kobe White.
Ooh.
No. Josh Giddey and Jalen Green. That's what they're gonna do. There was talks last night in the draft that they might trade Kobe White or Lonzo Ball on draft night. Didn't happen. If you cash in on Kobe White, put in Jalen Green there, get it for free, see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That genuinely
is ass.
Would be
ass, but interesting ass.
Yeah, exactly. Like interesting ass. Yeah, exactly. Like you can maybe stare at it for a second and be like, yeah,
it's robust.
I can see what you're talking about right now. And
Sacramento.
Are you joking?
DeMar's
that's the worst. That's the second worst like duo. I'm not sure what duo. That is the worst duo. You asked for the worst trio. That's the worst duo.
He's not going to be there. You would obviously have to like rearrange some stuff. But like when I'm thinking about teams that would take on Jalen Green, I'm just thinking about teams that either A, have no clear direction or need like a young scorer. The Kings they fall into the form. Like they don't have a clear direction.
Yeah, but they have Levine and Malik Monk. Yeah, Jalen Green there. Fucking gross.
You didn't even mention
the Clippers though.
You know what they would be? They would be the NBA version. You know, in between timeouts where they bring the dunk team and they're all like throwing the ball and they're just catching it. That's what they would be.
I imagine the team of the Clippers. I don't think they would want him just because Tyler's smart. But like a James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, you put Jalen Green between that. I imagine the best scenario for Jalen Green is to be Norman Powell. So like I'm just imagining him in Norman Powell's spot.
Send him to Brooklyn.
Sure, they got all these damn point guards. Oh no, you got Cam Thomas, who's like,
yeah, exactly. There's no real space or home for him right now in the league.
Damn, who?
Charlotte.
I mean, shit. I guess like the idea of him in. I guess we can get into it.
Toronto,
right now.
if they're trading RJ Barrett, maybe you put Jalen Green there in that spot. If Jalen Green's good, him next to I don't know, but you have Brandon Ingram.
He's such a weird fit around the entire league.
Yeah, I think some team should take a chance on him, but I don't know who.
A team.
Pistons?
Okay, let's get into it. That's my next team right there.
Okay.
The Detroit Pistons. Obviously, they had a wildly successful year last year.
You hate Cade Cunningham?
I love Cade Cunningham. That's one of my guys in the league, man. I think he has potential to be top 15, 10 player in the league. Mm-hmm. He's shown that last year. Obviously, he's a little bit far from that, but he made tremendous steps and he made his first All-Star team and all that. And he led this team to their first NBA playoff series since I think 2018, or 2018, I think.
Yeah.
Back when Blake Griffin was there. And through that series, we learned a lot about this team, but also we didn't really learn too much that was new. Their glaring weaknesses were.
He does that so much. We learned a lot, but also none.
Yeah, exactly. Like we walked into the year, knowing what was up. Throughout the regular season, we knew what was up, and then the postseason, we're like, okay, now we really know what's up. So. Shout out to Tobias Harris. Shout out to Malik Beasley. Shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr. All great vets that help give them a certain floor.
But they're bad vets.
Exactly. Long term. Like right now at this stage,
long
good
term,
players.
but also short term.
But if you're telling me Cade Cunningham is like in his prime still dealing with this, what are we talking about right now, man? So I think the next step and next level of development is figuring out what is going to go in between Cade Cunningham and the rest of those guys.
Yeah.
You need some type of high octane guard, and obviously you'd want it to be someone like Jaden Ivey. But there's a huge question mark when it comes to him and how good of a fit he is, just in general, and how explosive of a scorer he will be. How good is that shooting going to be?
Yeah.
And that's why I mentioned and tie him to someone like Jalen Green potentially. It's kind of it's a swing, but it might be worth taking because the cost would be so low.
I'd rather bet on Jaden Ivey than Jalen Green. Just because the cost too. I'd rather bet on Jalen. There's a good chance Jaden Ivey's better than Jalen Green. So I'd keep that. But I agree that the problem they have is deciding if so they need another creator next to Cade Cunningham. That's their biggest roster issue right now is you got to alleviate the pressure. We saw in this playoff series against the Knicks that when you settle out on him, he's made big strides. He's not Shea. He's not Luka. He can't handle that much defensive attention yet. You need to give him another release valve that can be Jaden Ivey if he makes a leap. Pistons fans will tell you they've seen the signs that they can fit together. But the problem they have is that's not a guarantee. And I think you want to go into next season feeling good about your 2 guard position or 3, whatever the secondary creator next to him may be. You want to feel good about that going to next year. Asar Thompson will be one of those guys, and then the other guy has to be a guy that can do stuff with the ball in his hands. And the problem is you have to either trust Jaden Ivey or make a trade for another guy there and not trust him, whether that be throughout whoever, Jalen Green, a CJ McCollum, who else might be available. Inserts 2 guard scorer here. They got to figure out if there's a move out there that's worth giving up on Jaden Ivey as a starter.
Yeah, I agree. And CJ McCollum is very much in these conversations as well. Like, I don't know if Washington's going to want to keep him. They probably shouldn't want to keep him because you could still harvest some value out of him, even though he's, I don't know, 33 years old in his career and he's coming off a whatever injury. That very much feels like it's in the play because he is a much lower cost than someone like Jalen Green or whatever other like 2 guard you can throw.
I don't know
out
about
there.
that one, but yeah.
Yeah, it's up for debate.
What is Jalen Green's value? I don't know. Like, it might be nothing.
I've been looking at the standings this whole time, just trying to figure out like what team could use a Jalen Green and make sense to where it fits timeline and everything. It's very little. Like I don't even know if I found anyone.
Yeah. So this probably won't happen because, like we talked about the Celtics, they're probably not going to trade Jaylen Brown. If the Pistons traded Jaden Ivey plus all the picks they would need for Jaylen Brown, would you guys like that?
No.
Asar and Jaylen Brown is straps.
That is, but I don't know. I feel like I'd want to give someone like Jaden Ivey. That's the real answer. Like, give him a little bit more time, one more season, give him a fully healthy year with this team and their identity, and just let him see if he can genuinely fit there. If not, then they could do that. But I don't know. I don't feel good about giving away all your picks when you just came from the bottom.
Trey Murphy. Would you like them to trade for Trey Murphy?
I would do that. Trey Murphy's top player. I would do that for. I would unload the clip for.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think they should find out. Just I'm not saying they need to pick one of these guys and give up on Jaden Ivey, but the problem is they don't know if they should or not. I don't think you feel confident, and they got to figure that out this summer.
Yeah.
See what's out there. Decide if it's worth giving up on Ivey or not.
Yeah.
Which is a very like realistic plan. Most of the times we're talking about these teams, it's like, go find a shooter, go find a big. This time it's like, decide if this duo is what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And only time can tell, really.
Yeah. Okay. Don, what's your next team?
We're going to go with the team that probably won the draft last night, the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay. What's their biggest problem this summer?
You have to go find a backup big. You have a million guards now, right? You got De'Aaron Fox, you have Dylan Harper, you have Stephon Castle. Good job, right? Because you overcorrected in terms of not having any point guards. But now, I don't like when Wemby is either not there in terms of injured or when he's not on the floor, they are not good. They're -8 with him off the floor overall. And that depth chart is not inspiring to look at in terms of like their backup center. Like if you look at ESPN's depth chart, they have Sohan as the backup center. I like what they're doing now, really, like from a wing perspective, because you can have De'Aaron Fox and Castle as your backcourt, and then if Vassell is coming off your bench and he's like the third or fourth guy, I don't hate that. You drafted Carter Bryant who can fit there. It's working and it's okay, but obviously this whole thing is going to be with Wemby, and as he starts to ascend and you start to get better, I don't want them to be in a Jokic kind of situation where every time Wemby goes to the bench, boom, Lee gets evaporated. You don't have anybody to protect the rim. You don't have anybody to grab rebounds. You need to be able to find 15 minutes from a legitimate backup big. I would be very, very proactive in finding somebody like that.
Yeah, and similar to what I was saying about Sar, I want Wemby to have the opportunity to play certain lineups with another big, and I don't want that big to be Zach Collins. Actually, no, they already traded him. I don't even know who that would be now. They don't have any bigs left that you feel good about. Yeah. So, yeah, certainly. For the reasons like you said, when Wemby's on the bench. 2, allow yourself versatility around a big that's that versatile and that amazing, especially because you're so guard-oriented right now. Your wing play, shout out Carter Bryant. Thank God they drafted Carter Bryant. I love that fit there just because they desperately need 3-and-D wings of that size. So you have one now. And that's the end of the list. You have some other guys. You have Malachi Branham. You have Harrison Barnes still. You have other guys that can play, but nobody that you're like, I want to close games with this guy. I want this guy to be a part of our future. So if you're not going to have the depth of wings, I want to see the 2 big option be an option.
Yeah, right now, the depth chart, what it looks like for a center. So it's Wemby, and then it's Sohan, Bismack Biyombo, Charles Bassey, Mamu.
Yeah, so they need another big. Yeah, they need another big back.
You can't do that. You can't go into the season without a legitimate option as your backup big.
Clint Capella, get ready to speak backup big.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that.
Andre Drummond, come on.
There's a robust market for bigs this offseason, man. Interesting.
Is that sarcastic?
No, serious.
Shout out Clint Capella, man. Robust market for Clint Capella.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many teams that could be like, you know what, I like that fit.
Yeah,
you know?
he'll do.
Yeah.
Daron Sharper is a restricted free agent. Throw an offer at him.
Oh my gosh.
Get Jackson Hayes.
But
actually, nobody should hire Jackson Hayes.
Yeah, exactly.
Send Jackson Hayes to jail. Is it my turn?
Yeah, I think so. Off that note.
Prison. I've seen the video. Houston Rockets. More shooting. You know, it's pretty simple. Kind of like the Orlando Magic. We knew their flop beforehand, and they made a gigantic move to address it. Kevin Durant is the biggest move you could possibly address to add a shooter, one of the greatest shooters of all time for that size. Also helps your creation need, which is a big part of that, is they need not only a guy who can shoot, a guy who can create his own shot, shoot off the dribble, be a half-court playmaker. You got the half-court playmaker of all time. You got Kevin Durant at his advanced age. But they need more shooting up and down the roster still, specifically off that bench. They re-signed Fred VanVleet on a 2-year extension. That's a pretty affordable extension, good deal for them. So they're probably going to start Fred, Amen, Kevin Durant, Jabari, Sengun. That's cool. That's good for your starters. That's 3 spacers around Sengun and Amen. Hopefully both those guys can make leaps. Their bench, I would like to see them add another veteran shooter. Because they re-signed Steven Adams. He's going to be there. They still have Cam Whitmore, which hopefully he gets a role in the rotation. Reed Shepard could be a big swing factor. Maybe he provides that shooting if he earns a role in year 2. But with Dylan Brooks gone, I want to see them find a way to get another wing-sized guy that can provide spacing.
Yeah.
Go sign Taurean Prince for the low.
Yeah, someone like Taurean Prince, God, dare I say someone like Malik Beasley as well, who is unrestricted this year, Luke Kennard, Gary Trent, Eric Gordon, guys like that.
Detroit cannot lose Malik Beasley.
Why?
He was good for them. He was
they'll
good.
probably pay him.
He was massive for him.
Yeah, you're right. He was like statistically speaking, I guess like a top 3 shooter this league in general when it comes to percentage and also just
And
actual
volume
3-point makes and all that.
And it would be hard to free up the money for him. So yeah, they're operating with cheap options on their bench because they already have their main guys. So that's why I threw out Taurean Prince, guys who are league minimum guys. I don't know if Gary Trent Jr. is going to get more this year, but he's a league minimum guy last year.
Yeah.
Guys like that who just will stand in the corner and will shoot and will be spacers. Not just be able to hit a 3, but will cause the defense to respect them.
I like Luke Kennard there a lot.
Is he a free agent right now?
Yeah.
What's the Luke Kennard market? I feel like he might get a little more money than that.
I don't know, because he didn't get much shine for them last year, and then this year, due to certain reasons, he got some play. So I think it's pretty cheap, if you ask me.
I think they'll have a taxpayer mid-level exception, I think there's an opportunity for them to open up the full mid-level exception, which is $14 million. If they can do that, then we're talking. Then we're talking Nickeil Alexander-Walker. We're talking Luke Kennard. We're talking a lot of guys. But if they retain just the small mid-level exception, go after a guy like Jake LaRavia. Go after a guy like, I don't know, Kelly Olynyk, whoever may be. Gary Harris could be an interesting one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they obviously don't have to do a whole lot. They're going to be a very good team next year. Just kind of reinforce that bench with some guys who can play right away.
I agree with you. Speaking of reinforcing that bench, a team that glorifies that tremendously is the Denver Nuggets and the Nikola Jokic Denver Nuggets, bro. So when you look at the season they had, expectations were all over the place. At the start of the year, was like, yeah, this is probably going to be my championship favorites. I'm banking on the best player in the world and crossing my fingers that Jamal Murray's lower half ends up working and is fully functioning.
His lower half.
Yeah, anything. I don't know if his knees, calves,
is he
ankle,
good from
bro.
the waist down?
Exactly. Something needs to be working. So he was great. Aaron Gordon, fantastic. Christian Braun, of course, he took a leap this year.
Respect Brown.
And he was very good. He was very good. But everything outside of that, MPJ, he was good as overall. He had probably the best year of his career when it comes to
not in the playoffs.
Yeah, efficiency wise for the regular season, but in the playoffs, he was hurt.
He was hurt.
But everything outside of that,
Nuggets fans don't care though. They hate him. They want him dead.
Yeah, I know, because he's the most expandable guy, and he is the jailbreak for all the issues that they have for their roster. And so when you look at their roster and when you go off their bench, obviously last year they drafted what's that dude's name? Just with a D, I believe. Their big 4. I think it was
Daron Holmes.
Yeah, Daron Holmes.
I forgot, dude.
He tore his ACL.
I hope he's good this year. They need him.
It was the ACL or Achilles?
ACL.
It was ACL.
Thank God. Yeah, it was ACL.
Yeah, it was ACL. So someone like him obviously would help a lot of their issues.
That's crazy.
Would help a lot of their issues. But specifically outside of the bench too, their defense has real issues also. And that is something that needs to be addressed sooner than later.
I think they trade MPJ.
If that's the case, that's the easiest way out. That's why a lot of fans feel the way about him because his contract is so considering what he does on the court is also. So
yeah, their biggest problem is they got to trade MPJ for multiple bodies. They have to break up that money. They have to add depth and maintain the shooting. Obviously, maintain the things he brings, which is a hard thing to do. But break up that contract and that depth is their most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why they won a championship last year is because of depth. They had several guys come off the bench, and also they had the best 5-man units. And this year, we couldn't fully say that confidently that they had the best 5-man unit. And so reshoring up that depth and also addressing the defensive issues through the depth will help that naturally, because in the playoffs this past year, they allowed the most points in the paint. In the
Chase that.
God damn, bro. That's insane. That's insane block. Sorry. And in the playoffs this year, brother, like it was the complete opposite. It was the complete opposite of that conversation. So that needs to be addressed immediately. And in order to do that, of course, you trade away MPJ and see what you can get, see what teams are willing to relinquish some assets. So that's the easiest pathway.
Yeah, and Bruce Brown has been publicly twerking to come back. He's been on his IG story wanting to come back to Denver.
Yeah.
So I think they have to decide if they want to bring him back or keep Russell Westbrook or do both. But I feel like they're kind of, similar type of guys with that bench. That's a big question. Is Russ going to be there for foreseeable future? I think he has a player option that he's going to decline, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, he declined it. He declined it already.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. So decide if you want to bring him back. Decide if you want to bring Bruce Brown back for cheap if he's still in the market. Figure out what you can do with that limited money you have, with your taxpayer mid-level exception, with your veteran minimums. Hopefully find a guy or two that can play. And yeah, I think you have to trade that MPJ contract. Well, you don't have to. You can run it back. They were a good team in the playoffs still. You can hope for DeRon Holmes to come in and be that additional depth. Hope for Bruce Brown's return, be that additional depth. You don't have to trade Michael Porter Jr., but I think it would be the best for the long-term health of this roster.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Makes sense. What's your team?
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
No, I did the Rockets. Your turn.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. We will go with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Interesting one. Perennial team on these. Every time we've done these episodes, the question for the Cavs has been, do you feel good about this formula working? Do they got to mix it up? Where are you at with that now after this playoff run?
I actually feel decent. We didn't get to see it in its fullness, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the big four of them. For them, I want another backup big, because I want them to have just a little bit more size behind Evan Mobley and behind Jared Allen.
Georges Niang was right there, and they traded him, man. I don't know what else you want.
And really what this is it's a Tristan Thompson conversation. It's like, can we not have Tristan Thompson be out on the floor when he's 35 years old? Like I would rather that, because like the 3 spot where it's just rotating wings in and out. Like Max Strus, fine. Like he shot pretty well this year. You traded for DeAndre Hunter. I feel like they have pieces that they have either invested in or that they kind of trust now. So I don't know if they're going to even make a massive move there anyways. I would say either get a backup big, or if you know that Ty Jerome is leaving, go get a backup guard to kind of backfill that position. Yeah. But I would lean on the backup big, on the third backup big.
Go sign Andre Drummond. Bring him back home to Cleveland where he had his best years.
Robust market for backup bigs this year, man.
Rest need for backup bigs for sure too. I think their biggest problem roster-wise is wing defense. But yeah, I don't know if they can really do much about it besides bank on internal growth and pray Jalen Tyson is good in the second year.
Yeah, and so that's my thing for them. I'm going to double up because I feel the same way about the Memphis Grizzlies.
For the Cavs, real quick before we move on.
Yeah,
there was that report by Kevin O'Connor that they dangled Darius Garland in a Kevin Durant trade. I don't want them to break up the Big Four, but it feels like they're open to it if that's true. And we've heard other rumblings that
because they keep losing.
Yeah. And again, I'll cut them the bail of injury this year. I'm comfortable giving them excuses. Obviously, they still weren't playing well. They still could have lost the Pacers. Not to say that's why the Pacers won, but I do feel like they have the excuse of we need to give it another chance because we saw a 64-win team for a reason. So I'm not necessarily saying they have to blow up the Big Four, but it's on the table. Do we feel like there's a move out there that of the guys we think that are readily available? Obviously, Kevin Durant's already been traded. Desmond Bane's been traded. Giannis probably isn't requesting a trade. But, I said Desmond Bane. We didn't think he was available. He was. Is there a world in which it might make sense to either trade Garland or Jared Allen?
Allen,
yes, for sure.
The Garland thing.
But if they considered Garland, it's for a reason.
You're right.
Yeah, it's because they've had 2 postseason runs with this Big Four where people have been hurt, and Garland's been hurt in both of them.
Yep.
And so if you're paying somebody big money, you don't want to get to every postseason and you not be there. So I understand it. But I do think that trading Garland affects obviously like your guard depth, but then it puts more pressure on Donovan Mitchell to be a playmaker, and Darius Garland works very, very well with Evan Mobley. And so I also don't want to break that up either. So that's why for Jared Allen, it would make sense that if anybody had to go, it would be him.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to trade Garland either. But if that report is true, which is one guy's report, it's incredibly intriguing that they're willing to trade Darius Garland for a package that doesn't involve a point guard coming back. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's good type of intriguing. I would hate that, but it gets your mind moving of what could possibly happen this summer.
Yeah, I feel like trading someone like Darius Garland, obviously if Kevin Durant, different conversation, but trading Darius Garland in general is like the same thing as buying a house, buying brand new doors, super nice doors for every house, but you don't got no damn handles for the door. How the fuck are you gonna get in? How the fuck are you gonna like utilize your house, bro? It's just, like Darius Garland makes so much things easier for this team, and he is what keeps his offense flowing. He helps make things happen,
Yeah. I would definitely. I don't need to trade Jared Allen. You can run the double bigs back. It works. I'd be open to it if the right deal is there and if the right suitor wants them.
Okay, Facts. That makes sense.
But yeah, so I was going to double up with the Grizzlies because I also think that they need another big in their rotation, especially because
Jared Allen,
big.
Let's do it. Just be Zach Edey.
Hold on. I will stop you right there because they did trade up last night. They got the Chinese big Yansan. I forget his last name.
That was the Trailblazers who got him.
The Blade. Oh, that was the Blazers.
Yeah,
I think
the Grizzlies got Clifford.
Yeah, it was the Grizzlies.
Not Clifford, Coward.
Yeah, Cedric Coward. You're correct.
Cedric Coward.
My bad.
Yeah. And if Zach Edey is going to be out, like he's not going to get reevaluated until 2 weeks before the season starts.
That is,
and so he's 7'5", right? We see this all the time with big men. I'm not 100% sure that he's going to be ready for.
What was the injury again?
It was an ankle injury.
Yeah.
Right. And he missed the start of last season because he sprained his ankle, and then he played 66 games, and they went in, they did this procedure to help stabilize his ankle again.
I forgot. So he was playing on that the whole year. That's clearly an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, all you haters, I'm coming back here too. I'm not giving up the agenda. Zach Edey is the future of that position for them.
But this is not good 1 year in having your 7'5" big already need lower body surgery. And we know that Jaren Jackson Jr. is not a massive rebounder like that. We know that Brandon Clark, shout out to him for coming back. You can get a little bit more from that position. I would just like them to get another big.
Get ready to speak. Andre Drummond or Clint Capella, buddy.
Everybody gets an Andre Drummond. Everybody gets a Clint Capella. But yeah, they're probably on the trade market for a big then.
Mm-hmm.
What trade market bigs might be available is Jonas Valanciunas. Welcome back to the Grizzlies. You're coming home.
Honestly, bro, life was great back then with that Jonas Valanciunas, bro. Like
they can get him. They can have him. He's for the taking.
Honestly, it's not a
Dylan
it's not
Brooks,
a bad
welcome back. Let's just run. That's what I'm saying. Let's just run 2022 back. It's the only time that they had success for real.
Go get Day'Ron Sharpe. Yeah, no, they definitely obviously need a big as a stopgap. Otherwise, big picture, they trade Desmond Bane. They're retooling. They're figuring out what this looks like. They already traded one of those picks to move up 3 spots to get Coward. It's a lot to give up to move a few spots, but they view Coward as one of the guys they want. He can be a ready to win now player that can help this retooling process. That you don't trade Desmond Bane unless you have like a lot of moves coming with those picks. You're not gonna use those picks in the draft and like try to build this organic young core around Ja and Jaren. Those guys are ready to win now. So I think they also need to make some kind of move for a perimeter player to replace Desmond Bane and replace that creation level. I don't think you feel good about just Ja and Jaren being your only 2 creation guys.
I don't know. I almost feel like
I'm not saying star.
Yeah. Okay. Not saying star. Okay. Cool.
Like like somebody cheap like a CJ McCollum or whoever may be that fits that role. It's not CJ. I don't know why I said his name.
I know, but I understand what you mean.
Lower tier player that can provide more on ball scoring.
And that might not come until the deadline. I think that it's very possible that they're going to go into the season with the roster that they have now.
Yeah, I feel like they feel super comfortable with KCP, Ja, Cedric Howard, and Jaren Jackson Jr.
You feel comfortable with it?
I don't.
They're in the West.
They're retooling right now, so I think they can't go all in and fix all their problems in one offseason. I think that's it's an impossible task for them specifically.
They're in the West. They need to figure some shit out. That sounds like a 9 seed.
Well,
it might be a 9 seed.
Damn. And they could obviously be higher. That's obviously in the low end. They showed us they have a higher ceiling, obviously.
Yeah.
But they got a lower floor too. Like they can be. The West is stacked. They could be 5 or they could be 9. Like. I want to see a little more urgency than that. I'm not saying they should go crazy and make some kind of all-in move that jeopardizes the flexibility they got. They don't got to add a $50 million contract. Like I'm not saying you got to get Jaylen Brown or you got to get whatever, but I want to see a little bit of inspiration that shows you that retooling is like serious. We're trying to win now still.
Yeah. I think they kind of did a good job so far already when it comes to the retooling. If Cedric Howard is that guy, which he was one of my guys in the draft, and they genuinely believe he is a goon, cool. KCP, he had a really bad year last year for Orlando. Overall, his name is not on the upward trajectory in general. But still, he's a guy who you expect very little from in terms of give me 30. Like he has a specific role. You feel okay with that. I think they did a pretty good job of retooling, considering they still have a lot of assets.
Can I tell
They're
you
just waiting to see. What's up?
Can I tell you something? It's not enough. It's definitely not enough.
I think the next phase of like after, I don't know if they're going to be done making moves. Obviously, they can add like a few bucket getters or whatever in between the lines of Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. But as of now, like, I think they need to see how good or how healthy of a year John Morant is going to be next year. And then once that happens, okay, more conversations, even more extreme conversations can happen next year. But as of now, I would be like content if I was a Grizzlies fan.
Prove yourself.
Not me. You're walking into this season worse than you were last year. I would not be content. I get it if that is like there's no moves on the table and that becomes the scenario that you have to go into. I wouldn't be happy about it though.
Yeah, but as soon as you fire Taylor Jenkins and you trade Desmond Bane for all of these picks, you are kind of signaling to the rest of the league, we're not at the championship level that we thought we were right now. So maybe our timeline is shifted back another 2-3 years rather than trying to win right now.
I disagree completely. I think if that's the goal, you need to trade John Morant. I think keeping John and keeping Jaren tells me that we're still trying to win now. We just know that we need a new formula, and Desmond Bane wasn't that formula. So if I'm a Grizzlies fan, if I'm going to be inspired by this, I need to see them trade those picks for Trey Murphy. Do something like that. Something that's like, that's still a timeline changer. He's young, obviously, but like, I need to see an upside play that we're still trying to be a top end talent team that can win. We're just changing the formula for it.
They think Cedric Howard is that guy. That's the issue.
Be good for. I mean, that's not an issue at all. That could be him, but you got more picks in that Bane trade, trading for Jared Allen, whatever it may be. Like, that's the type of thing we said, okay, our money being in point guard, shooting guard, power forward with Bane isn't enough. We're going to try point guard, power forward, center, and be a big team and have ED off the bench. Like, I want to see a big change that isn't six picks out, but it's a new formula. I
will say they can't sell off too hard though, because whether it be money wise or asset wise, because none of this shit works if John Morant can't prove that he can remain healthy. None of it works. So you don't want to overly invest in this core.
Fair.
And I think they're just doing a good job of just like playing both sides, protecting themselves future-wise, while also putting a legitimate, very respectable team to roll out next year. But it's all on Ja or not.
And if that's the goal, if the goal is we're scared of Ja and we're giving him like an in-between year, fine. But if I'm a Grizzlies fan, I don't like in-between year.
I understand that because every year is valuable.
Just start plays 50 games a year.
It's not a great situation. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough for them.
But I feel like they're not far away, and I want to see them move with urgency.
Okay.
I understand that.
Is it my turn?
I think it's my turn.
What's your turn?
Let's talk about again, when it comes to in between, I feel like the Philadelphia 76ers are very in between right now because they're building a really, really good young core. Some guys who somewhat play a similar position, but also we can see a very strong world in where these guys roll out on the court together. My biggest issue for them is Paul George, wing depth. But I'm not going to be over here saying Paul George's contract is an issue. It is. I lied. I'm saying that it's a very big issue. It's the biggest issue considering like they don't have much backfill or room to really like address anything, you know?
Yeah.
Now they did go ahead and draft VJ Edgecombe at the number 3 overall pick. I think he's going to be a fantastic player for them and have a fantastic career. And I think he fits perfectly alongside Jaren McCain and also Tyrese Maxey. You don't know what the trajectory of your organization is simply because it's the Joel Embiid health thing, you know?
Yeah.
And in between that, okay, that's the whole waiting game. You can't address that at all. Tyrese Maxey's there. Jaren McCain, assume he's going to be healthy and he's going to be on an upward trajectory still. You need to still figure out who's going to be a consistent 3-4 for this team. And if it's going to be Paul George, okay, but it might be a situation to where you're looking to find out the next guy behind Paul George. And that either might come through like, I don't know, trade, but that even sounds kind of heinous to me because the assets that you might have to give up might be OD because he is legitimately a bad contract if he's going to play like how he did last year. So figuring out that wing spot, whether it be a 3-4, is paramount for this team.
The Caleb Martin trade was so ass. I'm looking at this like, thank God they got Grimes. Thank God they got Grimes, man. They ran off on the fucking Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, dummies.
So yeah, their guard rotation is going to be great. Having Maxey, McCain, Grimes, and VJ Edgecombe, assuming they pay Grimes and keep him, you're good there. Your guard, that's awesome. Like that might be one of the, if VJ Edgecombe can contribute defensively as a rookie,
It's one of the
better ones in the league potentially.
Absolutely.
But, not counting like somebody has a Luka or Shea. Like
Yeah.
in terms of well-rounded groups, that's dope.
Young group specifically. Absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously Embiid is a big question mark. We don't know what we'll get. But if he plays, obviously MVP level player, I'm sure. It's just a matter of how many of those games you're going to get. It's all about in between that. And I think the biggest problem is, you mentioned Paul George is a bad contract. The problem is, do you say we have Embiid, we're trying to compete for at least one more year, so we're going to give Paul George a chance to play with Embiid like he came here to do and give him a chance to rebound his value a little bit? Or do we say it's only downhill from here and we should try to attach whatever assets need to get rid of him before it gets even worse and requires more assets next summer? That's the problem, is they have to decide, do we stay committed for one more year and give the team a chance to win? Because if Embiid can stay moderately healthy and play 50 games, this team can be a top 3 seed in the East. Look at the East right now. The East is for the taking. If they know how the procedures went, we don't know how Embiid's health is at this time. Only they do internally. If it feels to them as bad as it feels to us, they probably want to get out of the Paul George business as soon as possible. If they're seeing encouraging results and they think they have a chance to get him for over half the season, you probably give him another year.
He'll get one more year. I do think they'll do that. I think it's too early, because if you are also banking on like Embiid surgeries, they went well. We could bring him back. You could say the same thing about Paul George, and like he got hurt immediately.
Yeah.
Like he was hurt in preseason and his knee was jacked up. So if we can just keep these guys on ice for the entire summer and just tell Embiid to sit down and tell Paul to just keep podcasting every day, like then we can actually come into the season. Both of you guys are healthy. That seems like for at least one more year, that'll be the plan. It does feel like we're now at a point, especially now that they got the 3rd overall pick, where we can picture a future without Embiid, yes, but we're going to put all of our eggs into 1 year, one basket. Let's see if we can go all in one more time.
And I do think that's the right move. It's just, we're talking about problems. It's an inflection point that they have to figure out which side to go on.
Right.
And again, only they know what Embiid's health looks like right now, so they have the most information possible to make that decision.
Yeah.
We really can't even speculate. I mean, I guess we can say it's not looking good. It's not like, it's not pretty, but we don't know if it's a nail in the coffin or if it's, we got to low manage him, but it's still possible.
Yeah. And it's such an interesting conversation too, because this team was doo-doo garbage without Embiid last year.
Of course.
And of course, Tyrese Maxey was hurt too, so it was even worse. And on top of that too, Jared McCain hurt. So it was so bad over there.
Dude, I wish they got the number 1 pick. I really wish they had number 1 pick, man.
They better hope. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't imagine how to like lay them out next year because of the Joel Embiid thing. But I will say, heavy on noticing, if the Sixers finish in the top 4 of the NBA draft next year, which I don't know if they will. It's a whole Embiid thing. They get to keep their 1st round pick. If they don't, that bitch belongs to OKC.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
we had a trade just broke just now.
Oh shit.
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
The Brooklyn Nets are trading the 36th pick in tonight's draft to the Phoenix Suns for 2 future 2nd-round picks. Suns now have 36, 52, and 59.
Anyways,
Good for them.
let me go ahead and double up real quick. Let's move off of the Sixers thing.
no facts.
The Brooklyn Nets. I got them next, bro. This is super relevant. Brother,
He stopped the show for a 2nd round draft.
Yeah.
We don't give a damn about
Bring out
that.
the hammers, bro. It's a good transition, though. Okay,
Whatever.
cool. I got the Brooklyn Nets, bro. My biggest issue for them is like identity, stability. Look at yourself in the mirror.
Let's talk about the
Figure
draft
out
class.
who you are. I guess this draft class kind of tells us who they want to be.
You see, I don't know if it does. I think it tells me a lot of confusing things going in my brain right now.
Yeah, it's a different I word. It's not identity, it's intelligence. Like, are you guys actually smart or not?
We
Yeah.
did our draft stream last night, and we're in the moment reacting to the picks. We're being positive for the most part. We're trying to figure it out in the moment. We don't have time to sit back and think about it, or at least speaking for myself. I need a second to look at the draft board and like think about who was smart, who was stupid. In the moment, I just think like, okay, I see why they're doing this, and that's where it stops. I don't think, what do I think about that?
Mm-hmm.
I sat down, the stream ended at like 10:30 last night, I think. I got to bed, I got on my phone, I started looking at Twitter, seeing everybody else's opinions, seeing the draft boards, and I thought, why weren't we more mean to the Nets on stream? What the fuck did they just do?
Now, I will say, in general, whenever we do these draft streams, we try not to be mean to the players themselves because who the fuck knows what's going to happen. So that's part of the reason why.
That's why I embrace my own ignorance that I'm not the biggest draft guy. I make sure I know what I'm talking about, but I'm not scouting Igor Demon that hard to where I have like definitive this guy sucks. I won't pretend to be that confident, right? So you're right. Good point. That's why I'm not so definitive. But looking back, I know that's a big swing to pick him at number 8. I understand this is Josh Giddey reincarnated. You can say to yourself, maybe he'll overcome the weaknesses Josh Giddey couldn't. Maybe he'll be a stronger slasher as his body develops. And you have that passing, you have that size. That could be intriguing, right? Decent bet, but you did a little high. I can live with it.
Yes.
To pick 2 more guards that are the same exact archetype, non-shooting, hopefully passers, hopefully drivers that don't drive that well, only pass kind of well. To pick 2 more of those, and then to pick a gimmick player in Danny Wolf, who could be interesting, but obviously has a low floor. To the fact that they went in and we gave them so much hype for having 5 first-round picks after jumping into that Kristaps Porzingis
and they
trade.
deployed it in the worst way possible.
We said, oh my God, what are they cooking? This is dope. They all of a sudden went from a mediocre rebuild to, whoa, this one draft class might change these motherfuckers' lives. Sean Marks is a genius. Yeah. What? Then you remember, Sean Marks is awesome. A fantastic GM at everything except drafting. He sucks ass at drafting. Fantastic at accumulating picks, accumulating players that put you in a spot that if you can draft well, you're going to be in a fantastic spot. Terrible at making those decisions. This is a perplexing combination of bets. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think for me, I was trying to be nice because you go into the draft and you know, okay, this team needs this, this team needs that. And so when you see the Nets take a point guard, it's like, all right, if that's the one that you guys like, go ahead, go get your guy, especially because you have 4 other picks afterwards. Yeah. You can kind of make up for it. And then that's at number 8. Then you get to 19. And it's like, oh, another point guard. It's like, okay, oh, wow, like you guys really want to solve this point guard problem.
Oh, they play the same. They both can shoot.
Okay. But you know what? Like, I guess you guys kind of have archetype and you know how you want to build your team. So you're just trying to get something. And then you get to 22 and then they pick another guard. You're like, man, what the hell is going on here, bro?
Yeah.
Like
they pick a guard who's a little bit different, who's projected to be a spacer, defender, whatever. Cool. But then it's after that again, too, where it's like, okay, you pick another guard who is not like necessarily the greatest 3-point shooter. And then on top of that, too, you pick again, that's where the gimmicks start to play on Danny Wolf. At that point in time, it's like, brother, you had a fantastic opportunity to really lay a super strong foundation, really lay the groundwork and really diversify the talent that you have in the room.
You know what the streets are saying?
What are they saying?
Streets are saying they drafted Israeli D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, the fact that D'Angelo Russell is your comp,
Russell.
but they're saying D'Angelo Russell's your comp, but you also can't shoot. Imagine D'Lo without a shot.
Who are we talking about here?
We're talking about Rafar.
No, I know, but I'm like, what is that comp? What does that mean? I don't know, bro.
Terrible.
Yeah.
D'Lo without a shot had people talking very crazy on the timeline as a Lakers fan. Just couldn't figure out like why he was on the court for those playoff.
Nets fans are in despair right now, dude. They were on top of the world for 24 hours after that KP trade. They got the 5th first round pick. Nobody's ever had 5 first round picks in the first round. This is the first time it's ever happened. And once again, like we said at the top when we talked about our perception on draft night, I have ignorance to the subject. I've never seen Rafar play. I don't know if he's good or not. Maybe Sean Marks clearly knows more about him than I do. So these bets could pay off, but that's a lot of risky bets.
It doesn't even matter. It's the process, like we said, that's within it. And it's dumb.
And you could say, if we have 5 bites of the apple, we want to take 5 extreme ceiling picks because all we need is 1 or 2 to hit. Maybe that provides more fruits than 5 safe picks. There is logic there to some degree. You see similar circumstances play out to a lesser volume because 5 picks is something we've never seen. But I get that if you think there's a 20% chance of these hits hitting, that if I have 20% chances, the compounding results, I feel good about that. But it's still just weird. It's no matter what, I could see that vision if it wasn't 3 the same archetype.
Exactly.
That's where you lose me.
They fumbled.
If they diversified it and like got, I don't know, Rasheed Fleming or some other guy that just don't play the same position, because at that point in time, you just create a log jam. Yeah. And how can you, like, I guess all these players are bigger than your traditional point guards. I think the smallest guy may be Nolan.
He's like 6'3".
Yeah, who's like 6'3". So these guys could all theoretically play together, but again, like,
no, but you still have Cam Thomas. You still have Cam Thomas out on the floor, and so you know that there's going to be at least another guard position taken up by Cam Thomas, and so like, are you going to be running these 3 guard lineups and 2 of them can't shoot? Like it's going to be a really, really weird thing where even if Cam Thomas is there and you're running a 3-guard lineup, you have 3 guards who need the ball in their hands to be successful.
So what's going to happen is they're not going to play. They're going to shelf some of these guys, let them develop behind the scenes, and like try to figure it out like an NFL team with like quarterbacks where you let them develop in the building.
So stupid.
Like it's just stupid as fuck. Like, and I'm sure the goal is we want a point guard in the future. We're taking a lot of bets. One of them hits, great. Other 2 we trade in the future. And again, there's logic there, but you're also eliminating the world in which multiple of these guys hit, and now you have a core. Only one can be your starting point guard. So again, the logic is there to making sure you hit this one need because you have Claxton, you have Cam, you have players that are already in place. You really need to figure out point guard. But it's just too many eggs in baskets, and especially when there's so many flaws in the eggs they pick.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's very tunnel vision.
Yeah,
in terms of their process.
I will
and if
say,
it works, it works, and we're stupid, and he's right. But I will feel that worried.
If it works, it works. Cool. But if it doesn't, we're gonna look back at this night as generationally one of the worst draft nights that we've seen by far because you had so many bites at the apple.
Yeah.
Nothing against the players, of course, but it's just the process and the thought process of the entire night consistently terrible, man.
Yeah, outside of like drafting a huge bust at number 1, this could be one of the biggest flops if it goes poorly.
Yeah,
I agree.
So yeah, the biggest problem for them is what the fuck are they doing? We don't know the vision.
Zero identity. I don't think they know the vision.
Next team, similarly, well, actually we do have a little bit of vision, but similar timeline. I got the Utah Jazz.
hey,
My biggest problem for them to solve is what the fuck are you gonna do with all these guards? They gotta trade some guards immediately. They drafted Walter Clayton Jr. after they drafted Ace Bailey. The Ace Bailey pick is funny because they told him to go fuck himself. You don't want to be here. We're staying. We're picking you anyways. We don't care what you want. Which cool. Shout out Danny Ainge, I guess. He fits well in that Will Hardy offense. I think we see the vision there. If they can get him bought into cutting, running off these screens, playing off Elijah Marketing, I think that's a good spot for Ace Bailey. It's just funny that he didn't want to be there. But after that, they pick Walter Clayton Jr., who I like a lot. I like his brand of shot making, his brand of quick trigger threes off a pick and roll. You can't run drop on him or he's gonna pull. If that translates to the NBA, I like that type of player a lot. Problem is they have like 5 of those type of players. Mm-hmm. They have so many guards now they just cannot play. They need to trade Colin Sexton. They need to trade Jordan Clarkson, figure out who the 3 guards they want to run with are, and ship the other guys out. It is not just a logjam. It is a logjam that cannot be. You can't go into a season like this straight up. They have to move 1 or 2, maybe 3 of these guys.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, too, they've still been building the Keontae George thing. Obviously, I think with Walter Clayton Jr. in the building, it's probably that experiment might be over very, very soon. And then they're investing heavily on Isaiah Collier, who had a good rookie year. So they need to definitely identify certain pieces, but the best way to do that is like clearing out the room. So yeah, I agree with you. They've been needing to make a trade.
Sexton can help a lot of good teams. Let him thrive somewhere else.
Yeah.
And Jordan Clarkson, let him thrive somewhere else for sure.
Facts. All right, let's talk about another team that needs to figure out what they're going to do at their guard position, the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
Kyrie Irving is injured. He is either gonna he can come back, but do we expect Kyrie Irving to be Kyrie Irving as soon as he steps back onto the floor? No, It's probably gonna take a little bit of time, especially for somebody who's aging. You have Anthony Davis and you have Cooper Flag. AD, fantastic player. He is not throw the ball into him, go create a bucket all the time in the same way that you would think about the other, I guess, top centers in the league, like a Joel Embiid, like a Jokic. He's not like that. But he can still give you 26, 27, whatever. Cooper Flag. The one knock on his offensive game is, and it's not even a knock, it's more of a question of how high is the ceiling for his own self-creation to go be a get us a bucket kind of guy. To properly work this, you are going to need a point guard, and they don't really have one right now because Spencer Dinwiddie is a free agent. Now, he can resign and you can run that. You can run that. You also have Klay Thompson, who needs a point guard, who needs passes around him to supplement his movement. That's just the number one thing that they need to do, because outside of that,
good roster.
It's pretty good.
roster.
It's pretty
amazing roster.
And you know what? If this roster had somebody like a Luka Doncic who can just elevate everybody else, right, and really tie everything, I mean, this team could win the finals. They can make the finals.
They are winning the finals,
right?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the big thing for them. They just need a point guard.
Yeah, a stopgap solution or a long-term solution, because you could always put Kyrie back at the 2. So if there is an opportunity to get someone long-term that fits the timeline of Cooper Flag, you could do that. But yeah, at the minimum, find a guy that can be competent for this season. Find your version of Dennis Schroeder, I guess, somebody that can just run the offense well enough and keep the ball moving. Doesn't got to be an elite passer, doesn't got to be an elite scorer, just a body, because we're just biding time until Kyrie can come back, presumably March or whatever, February, whatever, maybe.
Just hopefully pre-playoffs.
Yeah.
Speaking of waiting for your point guard to just come back, the Indiana Pacers, they are my next team. It's hard for me to look at a team and be like, okay, what's the biggest priority? Obviously, like Tyrese Halliburton's out, so it kind of nerfs your entirety of next year. And in the meantime, you're just figuring out ways to get better incrementally, just brick by brick, pebble by pebble.
What is their goal now? I really don't know.
In my mind, when I look at this roster, of course, it's hard to poke out a flaw because they're one of the deepest teams that the NBA has to offer. But for me personally, if I'm looking at this team and if there's one more archetypal player that I would love to add, ironically enough, he's already in this team. He's just not like the best version of himself right now, and that's Benedict Mathurin. I would love to see another initiator on this team, another somewhat of a elite ISO scorer. Of course, TJ McConnell, salute. He gained so much respect. He has so much aura. He is solidified in goddamn Pacer history, all right? But they need to solidify another wing, in my mind, who can get off buckets in a multitude of ways. Because Andrew Nembhard can be inconsistent. TJ McConnell, he has gaps in his game. Benedict Mathurin is good, but he's so volatile as a player and as a scorer, and solidifying that position would be the best. What is the pathway? I don't know, because you don't want to break this thing up or make any harsh moves. But that is like a genuine question.
I'm not even thinking about that. I don't care who's on the roster right now. What's the goal here? Like with Tyrese out for the year, like this is so tragic. And so the time in which it happened, the last game of the season when you're already in the finals, like this is like mind-boggling levels of misfortune that everything you said is true about the roster. I almost feel like it doesn't matter. Like, let me not say that. It could matter. I don't know if it matters because I don't know if they should treat it as a quasi-rebuilding year, trade some older guys, and try to retool in this off year where you don't have your star player, similar to what the Celtics are doing.
Yeah. No.
I don't know if they should do that, or I don't know if they should say, listen, Andrew Nembhard, everybody says you can be the next Jalen Brunson. You got a year to prove it. Go be Jalen Brunson. We'll try to stay afloat and have a good year and just hope Tyrese comes back and have a great year the next year. I genuinely don't know, just because this is a uniquely fucked up situation to be that good and that close to the championship and have this perfect of a formula that is so perfect because it is entirely dependent on Tyrese Halliburton. You can't just intuitively run it back and say, we're good without Tyrese still. We'll do the same thing we'd always do and just be a solid team. Yeah. The formula is entirely different if you don't have Tyrese.
And then also they can't like break it up too, because the Boston Celtics had massive issues. They already won a championship, but they have a massive payroll issues. The Indiana Pacers don't have that. Of course, they have to pay Miles Turner, but he's not going to be the reason why your team isn't able to make any necessarily.
I actually think that's
moves.
the question for them.
But it's the question.
You can sign and trade him.
Is to figure out what exactly you want to do with Miles Turner, because before the run, you were probably a little bit iffy, and then you get to Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and Miles Turner had a bad final series, right? But you go through this entire thing, and now it just feels different because the scores come together and all of that stuff. So now it's like, okay, we actually do have to pay him. Tyrese is out. Do I want to spend major money on Miles Turner, knowing that one, Tyrese isn't going to be there for one of those years, and then he's going to have to come back for the second year, and now we're just paying Miles Turner a lot of money, and it might handicap us whenever Tyrese is actually ready to like lead this team again. That's the big question that I have for them.
Siakam is 31.
You got to keep him. You got to keep him this year.
But like, figuring out that window is so complicated. They got the 2026 first round pick back, so they do have this option now that if things go poorly, they can shut people down, do a quasi second half of the year tank. But you're too good to go into that. I didn't even say Siakam's 31 to say they should trade him. I say he's in his prime. Like he only has so many good years. He doesn't want to waste any of them. So he's going to want to compete. Rick Carlisle's old. He's going to want to compete. They have too many guys on this team that want to compete and aren't here to have a long-term vision, you know?
Well, I think that's their history tells us that they're not going to bottom out.
Exactly.
Yeah, never.
Exactly, but
they're going to go and they're going to have the 15th overall pick in next year's draft, and they're going to be fine with it. And so as we're talking about it, it's like, you know what, Miles Turner, get ready. You're about to get paid. Everybody's just going to go ahead and just run through the year, and it's just going to be that.
Then I think that Nembhard and Benedict Mathurin are going to be heavily featured because we got to give them a year to see, do you have star potential with more ball in your hands?
It's a better than Mathurin thing for me in my mind. And if they do end up paying Miles Turner, then they're going to end up like cap locking themselves, and it's going to be Boston Celtics-esque type of situation because you kind
of owe it to yourself to do that, though,
Siakam.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. I do
Right?
agree. I do.
You
agree.
made the conference finals and then got to game 7 of the finals. Like it's not like a Hawks run in 21. It's not even it's not even like a Knicks run this year
You
where
could have
like
won the chip. Like you were 2 quarters away from winning the chip if you didn't get hurt.
Exactly.
It's so complicated.
This is just such a big year for figuring out who's going to be the next guy to pop. And in my mind, all attention is going to be on Bennett because you were the fucking lottery pick, the only lottery pick that we've had in a very long time. And then you guys will try to shoot me, but Jarris Walker is a pretty good player.
I was about to say that too. I just looked up. My brain, I thought, for some reason, I thought he had a tragic injury. He was going to be out for the season. I don't know who I was thinking of, but it was just an ankle injury. So he's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be about. So their problem for this offseason is figuring out how to put these guys in the best situation for this quasi rebuild, figuring out exactly how they want to go about it because it's complicated. But if we're projecting, it's Nembhard, Mathurin, Jarris Walker. You three will get opportunity. Prove to us you can be this next star. And then after that, we're going to next season. We'll reevaluate money-wise. One of you guys probably has to go because you're up for payments pretty soon. Miles Turner might have to go, whatever it may be. But figure out how to put the best infrastructure in place. I think they'll get a disabled player exception for Tyrese Halliburton. That I think those are like 50% of their salary you get a player exception for that. So they can trade for another point guard that can be competent potentially. I don't know, D'Angelo Russell or something. Like,
good God. No.
Yeah, that would be so anti-Pacers.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Nah, he would be anti-Pacers.
Why? Because he's not great, but like, why?
Good. That's why. That's it. No good player. And yeah, no good player.
He's not a bad player. Like, I don't know. I
take
think
him back on your roster. Then.
I don't give a shit about him, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that'd be the worst case scenario for a stopgap. Be a decent playmaker, but I think they'll probably have Nembhard be the starting point guard, give him a chance. They'll put Bennett Mathurin full time into the lineup.
Johnny Furphy, it might be your time to shine as well.
Yeah,
all the young guys, literally all the young guys. Someone has to step up to the plate and like really leave their mark on this roster and in general, like the NBA, bro.
Okay,
someone has to pop.
Next team I got Miami Heat. Man, this is the same problem we've been talking about for a couple weeks now.
You know what it sounds like?
What?
Speed round. Lightning round.
Well, this is the point that the Heat, the reason we weren't talking about the Heat in the regular season anymore is because they had nothing to think about because they were only thinking about towards the offseason. And now we're here. You got to figure out what the pivot is. Your biggest problem is you don't have an identity. You don't have the answers for your long-term post-Jimmy Butler. You have a good core. You have Tyler Hero and you have Bam Adebayo who have made all-stars. Debate yourself every year if they'll be an all-star again. We'll call them all-star level players, but they're obviously not high tier all-stars.
Exactly.
The Heat finna have 2 all-stars next year.
Maybe. They have a good second and third star. They have a great second and third star, need the first star.
You're right.
They try to trade for Kevin Durant. They don't want to put anything interesting in there. They just want to appease their fans by making them think they're going to get Kevin Durant. That shit was fake as hell. But they have Ware, who could be ceiling play. Ware and Bam Adebayo is your future front court, I think. Tyler Hero's there. What now? They have to figure out what the pivot is. It's not Kevin Durant. Jimmy Butler's out the door. You need to make a big swing. You can't just run this trio back. This can't be your top 3 defining guys. It can't be.
I have your big swing.
Tell me.
You fired Pat Riley. That for real is the thing. Pat Riley and the way that they have moved over the last 2 to 3 years, whether it be the Dame trade and not being able to complete that, or running Jimmy Butler out of town, or not getting Kevin Durant, all of those things in successive years. You look at, and we've had these conversations throughout the year of like, what actually is Heat culture at this point? And it's this 80-year-old man up top who is set in his ways, who you don't really know what his vision is. Obviously, you want to compete because he's 81, but is that going to be feasible right now? I don't know. They need to have a serious conversation about, and Pat Riley needs to look at himself in the mirror and figure out what he wants to do with this team.
They need to trade for more scoring, clearly. They need to get they probably need to buy low on somebody with bad PR. LaMelo Ball is probably not available. If he was, and that whole theory of LaMelo Ball being traded came to be, I think that he should be all over that. Absolutely. They need to find a guy that has all the talent in the world and they can reclaim his PR. That, for one, would be the best case scenario. I don't know if that move is on the table right now.
It's about to be Jalen Green time.
Tyler Hero doesn't make sense. But
a little bit too.
If Tyler Hero was a point guard, I would actually see the vision there.
Yeah.
That would be nice. If you can't do something like that, go get DeMar DeRozan. Do something competent, I guess, to keep this core and give yourself a little more juice.
No.
I guess.
They made a good move.
Colin Sexton, I guess. Get somebody that can be decent.
Yeah. They had a really good draft last night. They did draft Kasparas Jakachunas, and he can start day one in my mind and relieve some pressure and tension off of Tyler Hero and all the playmaking responsibilities and duties that he has. But outside of that, that's really like a nothing burger of a move. And honestly, I don't know like if they really have any aspirations or Pat Riley has any aspirations to continue to like make big swings.
Yeah, so Trey Murphy's available. That could be an interesting swing. We say that for everybody, but like that could be interesting.
And they need anybody to anything.
They need a creator specifically. They need another creator. Tyler Hero is not enough. He should be your second best perimeter player in terms of on-ball abilities. And Bam, obviously, you just don't want to put too much on-ball ability on his hands. Let him be the defensive player. Let him be the play finisher. Specifically need a ball handler. And if it's DeMar, I guess you'll be the Heat. You'll be the Heat next year. Fine. That's like defensible, I suppose, if you're trying to maintain the status quo. Obviously, I'm sure many fans want a little bit more inspiration there. And that's finding somebody you can buy low on, finding a star we don't necessarily think of as available right now and coming from the woodworks. Yeah,
that if the quickest way to relevancy, honestly, is like finding the next disgruntled star, and that's just time. As time goes on, that'll happen.
Yeah, I'm looking across the teams here. You better hope Devin Booker requests a trade. I don't know, like there's not a lot, but again, we usually don't see these coming. You know, like,
exactly.
So like if the Spurs decide they're going Dylan Harper and they trade De'Aaron Fox in the dead of night, get him to the Heat, something like that we don't necessarily expect.
What if Zion goes ahead and just like requests a trade after like 20 games next year or something like that?
Miami Heat buy low on Zion Williamson. That's exactly what they need to do.
That could very much happen. He changes representation, and Pelicans are just a shit show in general.
Yeah, so their biggest problem is they don't have an identity right now. You better survey the league and find one this year.
Yeah,
specifically on ball capabilities.
Yeah. All right, next team for me, the Chicago Bulls.
That was vulgar.
Yeah, it was. They have to pass the test.
What test?
Figuring out proper asset management.
Oh, okay.
I think for them, the thing is you have to figure out a way to get off of Vooch's contract. Vooch is an expiring deal, and they've done this twice now. Like you had DeMar DeRozan, you got nothing for him. You had Zach LaVine, got very little for him. You got Alex Caruso, and you could have got multiple first-round picks. Instead, you got Josh Giddey. And now you have, again, Vooch, a center who can shoot a little bit. We've been talking all day about this team needs a big. This team needs a big. Vooch can be a serviceable big for a lot of teams in the league. You trade him, you go get an asset. Let's see if you can actually do it this time and operate in the right way, because you have Buzelis, you have Kobe White. You're probably going to trade Lonzo, fine, whatever. But those two guys, and with all the draft picks that you're making this year, you're building an actual young core. Vooch doesn't really fit in the core that you're doing, but he's also too good to where you can't just X him out of your offense and everything that you're doing. So you got to get him out of there so you can give everybody else time and room to grow. For me, that's their number one problem, is figuring out how to get off of Vooch's deal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wait, can I double up if you don't have anything to say?
Go for it.
The Bulls of the West, the Sacramento Kings. I don't even know where to start. Zach LaVine's there, cool. Shout out to DeMar DeRozan. I remember reading a report a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. Sabonis was like, he wants to know where he lays when it comes to the Sacramento Kings' future. They did make a really good draft pick last night in Nick Clifford, but when you talk about the Sacramento Kings, it's the very much same light as the Bulls. You don't even know where to start on a conversation because they're just confusing. They're confusing overall, and they have no direction. Find a direction.
No. We haven't said the three words that define NBA offseason talk today. We haven't done it because I don't think we're going to do it for any of these other teams. I'm going to use it right now. I'm going to press the button that I'm only telling myself I can press once per offseason because everybody overuses it, including us in past years.
Please be careful.
Blow it up.
Fuck.
This is a team that needs to blow it up. We haven't done blow it up talks all episode. The Kings need to blow it up. Their biggest problem is they need to blow it up and the fact that they have not blown it up yet. That is the need for the summer. Sabonis is going to ask, hey, where are we at right now? Are we trying to win? They'd be like, nah, where you want to go? They need to let him go. They trade DeRozan to the Miami Heat, trade LaVine to the Detroit Pistons, trade Sabonis to wherever the fuck wants him, get him out of here, strip it down to the studs. Let's go back to Kings basketball. Let's be miserable. They need the truest sense of blowing it up.
You know what? That's very smart, but you have to realize who you're talking to. This is the Chicago Bulls of the West.
It's not smart because if they blow it up, they're never going to get back out of it.
I mean, they have
back out of it. 43 wins. Congratulations.
They're not going to see 43 wins for a long time. I'm not saying blowing it up will bear fruit because they're not good at their jobs, but nevertheless, they need to blow it up.
I agree. They need to blow it up. Even if they do blow it up, blowing it up will be better than what you're witnessing right now. Because if you blow it up, you got a chance of landing top end talent.
Send Malik Monk to the Magic. Send him there. You get Jet
I love
Howard.
that.
You get Tristan Da Silva. Get some young players.
I
give them
love
Malik
that.
Monk.
That genuinely is more exciting than sitting down and watching DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine just go off for buckets here and there. Like
Get Jovic and get Jaime Jaquez from the Heat. Get Tristan Da Silva and get Jet Howard from the Magic. Combine all these average wings, put them on your team, and lose a bunch of games.
Okay,
I
so
agree.
they won 44 games in 2005, 2006. They did not win 44 games again until 2022, 2023.
Goddamn.
I have not won 44 games since.
No, they won 46 the year after, then 40 last year.
Okay, so one more.
Listen, they may not see 43 wins in a long time.
Yep.
Yo, this is a different type of despair that we're
And you
talking
know what?
about
And
now.
we know they're not good at rebuilding, and we know it'll be a bad journey back, but we also know this journey failed. And
Yeah.
I can definitively say this journey failed, and it will not be saved. You always don't want to speak too definitively because you never know. Come bite your words. Next thing you know, a team is a 2 seed. This team will not be a 2 seed.
I can guarantee your life on that.
I got no worries.
If the Sacramento Kings end up being a 2 seed, I will kill both of you.
Why do I gotta die for them?
Because I don't want to put nothing else on the line, bro. I just know it's gonna happen.
Yo, they go through, like, they're in between all of their eras. It's crazy. So before this, like, their first mini era started in 99, 2000. They won 44 games. Prior to that, the last time that they won 44 games was 1982, 1983. Every time that they go through lulls, it's 15, 17 years of just despair.
That's
before they can
crazy,
get back
bro.
to like 43,
All right,
44.
where do we want to see Sabonis? Where's the best Sabonis fit right now? Next to Jaren? Put him in the Grizzlies?
Memphis is immediately like a
Ooh, you
fresh
get
fit in
Jaw
my
cutting
mind.
off a Sabonis hub, throwing lobs?
Yeah,
Jaren
that-
can protect him a little bit.
That works a lot.
I know they're a team that's trying to pivot to win championship basketball, and I don't know if Sabonis is necessarily most conducive to that,
Mhm.
but it would fit for regular season basketball.
What about the Detroit Pistons? How you feel about that? Oh, never mind. Nah. You don't want to mess up with,
No, it's too
with
clunky.
Jaren Duran. Yeah, he's good.
Not the best Cade
He's
fit.
good.
I want Cade to have a more traditional big that can run pick and roll.
Yeah, you're right.
The Miami Heat need an identity. Send Adebayo out, have Ware and Sabonis. I don't know.
I agree.
Send that a
I'd rather have Adebayo, but teams want him.
The Charlotte Hornets, I mean, he would be solid. Honestly, the Wizards would be a okay fit for him too.
Him and Sarr, I suppose.
Yeah, at this stage, obviously, he's just like a 1-2 year rental type of guy.
I don't know, but somebody
Teams
wants
that are
him.
in the gutter. Teams that
Somebody
are in
wants
the
him, I'm
gutter.
sure.
Yeah.
Let's stick with more down bad teams. I got the
Go ahead and double up.
New Orleans Pelicans.
Please double up.
Oh, this is
Go
a
ahead.
long conversation right here.
Is it? What do you think?
Dummies. Yesterday we were
Oh, yeah.
trying to identify the dummies of the league. It's harder to find because a lot of teams got
That's true.
smarter. But also why I say that in the same breath, we found teams that got dumber.
Yeah, so the Pelicans have officially taken the reins of the worst run organization in sports right now in basketball. They, I know,
And who's thriving off of that? The Atlanta Hawks.
the Atlanta Hawks.
We finessed them not once, but in back-to-back off seasons. Oh my god!
That is true.
You got to find a mark and
different
you got to run
regimes.
off on him every
Crazy.
year. That's the same thing the Kings and Bulls are doing with each other trading.
yeah,
Find the biggest bozo you know and take advantage of him.
bro. Man, I'm so happy. I'm so.
So we're saying
happy.
this because in the draft last night, they moved up from pick 23 to 13, trading up with the Atlanta Hawks, and they gave up next year's unprotected pick. And not
Yes.
only is that pick unprotected, it's swapped already with the Bucks in a good way. They have the swap rights. So they get the best pick out of the Bucks and the Pelicans.
So we get two opportunities.
Two teams who have a bullshit future in front of them. The best outcome of that goes to the Hawks now.
We get two opportunities to get a top pick, is what you're telling me right now.
You do. And what did they get in turn for that? They traded up 10 spots to secure Derek Queen, who we like. Derek Queen has immense potential. He could be the Sengun, DeMarcus Cousins type of big that can have ball handling, strong finishing down low, can create. That's intriguing next to Zion if you get the best of them. That's hard to have. It's hard to find a team that has two bigs that can match up both those guys physically if the Derek Queen thing works. It also might not work because they might also both be bad at defense. So there is a downside. You gave up an unprotected first to make an experiment that could work, but also could not work. It is an unsafe bet at best, bad asset management at worst, or actually bad asset management in reality, moronic at worst. There's a big scenario in which this doesn't work out at all. And you already add that to the fact that the Benson family are the worst owners in the league right now.
Yeah.
Now that Genie Bus and the buses are on their way out, they're no longer the brokest owners in the league. The Benson family has no motion. They have, as Dejounte Murray was saying, they have no facilities, no funding,
Yeah.
no resources. It's a bad place to play if you're an NBA player.
Yeah.
Now they have Joe Dumars, who has not been a GM for quite a while. He's been working in the league office for the past 4 years.
And why wasn't he a GM for a while?
Because he got old and washed. He made the Pistons win a championship. He was part of that team in 2004. Stayed there for a while. By the time he left in 2012, he was... the league had passed him up. He was not making smart decisions. Pistons fans will tell you that he drove them into a hole. Didn't have a job for a while, came back, and he immediately is making perplexing decisions right away again. He doesn't value draft picks. He is just old-minded.
Another guy who did a lot of the similar things as Joe Dumars in terms of not the greatest front office guy is Troy Weavers. He is a VP, very much a part of that office and front office, and very much making all types of moves as well alongside Joe Dumars, and they're just cooking up a massive pot of shit.
Well, I don't know if it's pot of shit yet, but it's not looking good.
I'm gonna say a pot of shit because genuinely, like, I didn't even think about this. You go ahead and draft someone like Jeremiah Fears. I think he's gonna be a good player in this league. But a couple of days before that, you trade for Jordan Poole. Okay, two players who are very similar in terms of archetype. Obviously, you want the shooting. You imagine the shooting swinging up for someone like Jeremiah Fears, but it really doesn't make that much sense because they are duplicative and they can't very much share a role at all.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Their biggest problem. So we started off this segment just saying you guys suck and it's bad.
Dumb.
But the problem is figure out which of these cogs you can keep because they have too many moving parts right now.
It's like they've always had too many moving parts over the last few years. It's the same issue.
Yeah, depth quickly becomes confusion, and this team is the personification of that. They already move Ingram, which is a good start, right? But then like you said, you add Poole, you add Fears, you add Queen, on-ball players. Queen's ceiling is with the ball in his hands.
And none of them are good defenders.
None of them are good defenders. Yeah. So they have that. They still have Trey Murphy, still have Herb, still have Zion, still have Jordan Hawkins, still have Jose Alvarado, still have probably more names I can't think about. Lots of players, and the fit is not there. So the problem is we got to make this fit work. You have to retool this roster. It's a good problem to have because all the players I named are good. They're valuable. Some of them extremely valuable. Like Trey Murphy's case, if you want to sell high. I wouldn't, but that's there. You got to solve the Zion question. I think I saw an interview with Joe Dumars said the solve to the Zion question is keep him. They have faith in him. They're going to give him another chance to be the star player there. So as it currently stands, this team around Zion is weird.
In my
the problem
mind,
is you got to make it not weird.
Brother, I think it's easy. I look at this front office and they have problems. I got solutions. They need to start taking vitamins that are good functioning for your brain. I'm talking about vitamin B, omega-3s. You need your magnesium, you need your vitamin D, bro. They need L-theanine, all types of vitamins to get things going. Because it's clear that they got a lot of brain fog for whatever reason. Maybe they ain't sleeping early enough at night.
man's 62 years
long
old.
COVID.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I think that's the only.
You got
that's
8 years. You got 8 years. You're 62 years old. Once we get to 70, we got to start saying like, all right, brother.
Damn, you're already pre-planning to put him down. This is crazy.
No, not put him down.
I mean, it's his career.
Listen, this is your second chance. Like you haven't learned anything in 15 years. What have you been doing? What have you been studying?
Yeah. So listen, Joe Dumars.
Brain fog, bro.
Nobody believes in you
For 2 decades.
Nobody believes in you, Joe Dumars. What are you prepared to do about it? Because right now you got to show us. You got to show us something.
Omega-3.
I guess I'll double up my other shitty team.
Yeah.
I have the Hornets. There's problem now is they traded Mark Williams and they didn't draft another big. The question is who is going to set screens for LaMelo Ball? They didn't draft Klingon last year. They drafted Tijon Salon. That is going to sting them for a long time. So how do we rectify that? How do we get bigs here? Because you can't go into next year with this big man rotation that doesn't exist anymore. Post Mark Williams, post Nick Richards. You got nobody. Who are we going to find? Who are we going to put there? Because they need to figure that out. Maybe it's a DeAndre Ayton trade. Maybe it's a Rob Williams trade. It's somebody you buy low on.
Andre Drummond, come on.
Everybody gets a Clint Capella these days.
Yeah.
They got to retool the roster with the big man group specifically. Figure out a short-term and a long-term solution.
All right, cool.
It's super bleak over there.
Oh my God, my phone was Siri was listening all the time. So I just like transcribed all that in my notes app where I take the timestamps.
Hard.
That's funny.
All right, my next team. Yeah, we don't have to spend
Damn,
too
nobody
much.
has Hornets thoughts? That's it?
No, I mean, they got Yusuf Nurkic, bro. I don't know what to say. They're rebuilding their ass.
Yeah, no.
I forgot that.
Shout out
Nurkic.
to them. Like, they drafted really well last night, I would say. They got the two stand-up white boys in the
shout out
draft.
to them.
No, Conklin was good, bro. Liam McNeely's going to be good.
No, that's
two
all the problem.
shooters.
They wanted, last year we know they wanted Dalton Connect when they were trying to trade Mark Williams. They were connected to Dalton Connect before the draft. They drafted a 3 years younger, better at everything version Dalton Connect and Conklin Nibble. That was a fantastic move. And now you got to figure out how you're going to support them with big men because right now it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Miles Bridges is a terrible defender. He's your power forward, and Nurkic is your center, not a rim protector.
You got to hope that Grant Williams comes back healthy, too.
Ugh.
I'm dunking on him.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's all good.
So yeah, figure out the big men, specifically defenders.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna go to the Mandem, to the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
Utes. They just need more ball handling. Do you have a lot of guys that aren't supposed to be number one ball handlers, not supposed to always have the ball in your hands? Like Scotty Barnes is cool. We've kind of seen that experiment having him have the ball in his hands the entire time, it's not great. I don't want the ball in RJ Barrett's hands the whole time. Brandon Ingram, I don't want him playing, like he's a bucket getter. He's not a facilitator in any form like that. And then you have Emmanuel Quickley, who you still need to figure out what you're doing. But outside of him, it's like Jamal Sheed, like that's not
Shed.
Yeah, Jamal Shed. That's not fantastic. I don't love it.
Yeah, they have Emmanuel Quickley, who they paid, and obviously the PR of that deal is not good right now. It hasn't necessarily worked out. Injury is the main reason why, but also even when he's on the court, probably because the injury has held him back. He hasn't made that leap that everybody thought he could. The basis of them paying him was saying, maybe we got the next Tyrese Maxey here. He doesn't have the opportunity to show it. That hasn't happened yet. So they're kind of left in a point where you're obligated to keep giving him chances because you paid him, but you don't have even like a backup plan for that. Like the guys you named, they have good off guards. They have good wings. They drafted Colin Murray Boyles back to massage old ways, getting all the athletic wings that can't shoot. You need to have somebody that can bring that together. And it's hard if Quickley stays there because you only have so many assets to push around and you can't give up on you yet. So it's a tough decision.
Yeah. At this point in time, there's so much going on, and I think it's just a waiting game for me when it comes to Emmanuel Quickley. Just a waiting game. The second that you figure out, like, yeah, he's clearly not the guy, which you don't want to figure out too fast because of injuries. That's when you make the next decision for me.
Yeah, they should also trade RJ Barrett. I think it's about that time.
You're right. You're absolutely right about that. That's a good talking point. He absolutely needs to be gone, not because he had a bad season. He actually had a really good season last year.
That's why he got
the best
so high
season of his year. So they need to sell him high as hell.
Yeah, they have Ingram. They have Scotty Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
Grady Dick could be a fit in as a good spacer there long term at the 2. Quickly gives you spacing. RJ Barrett is just too. I think with Brandon Ingram, the need for RJ Barrett's form of creation and driving is less important to this roster. So cash in now. He's expensive. You're gonna have to pay some more guys pretty soon. Send him else. Trying to get more shooting. Try to get another playmaker potentially.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the market is for him. Who do you think wants RJ Barrett?
Do you think the Phoenix Suns will want RJ Barrett for like Jalen Green?
Do they want Jalen Green?
Yeah.
The Raptors? Yeah, coming off the bench or starting in the limited. I don't know, actually.
You know what?
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Do you think Jalen Green can demand more than RJ Barrett? Do you think he has more value around the league?
But no. Jalen Green does not have more value in my mind.
Well, if it's 1-for-1, I think that probably makes sense for both teams fit wise. I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it more so benefits the Phoenix Suns, obviously, because of roster construction issues. But for the Toronto Raptors,
fans will be pissed.
they will be pissed because they're getting the worst player. But positionally, when it comes to thinking of like what Scotty Barnes needs, which is a high octane guard who just is an explosive scorer, at times Jalen Green can give you some of that. So they got an idea of a guy that they want alongside of him. So it's not bad.
Sure, Jalen Green hits the ceiling. He'd be a great fit with Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to take that bet for him to the ceiling anymore? It's debatable.
I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know about that one.
How many teams do you guys have left?
I got 2 left.
Yeah, I got 2 more teams.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm checking them out.
Positive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm checking them out. You want to see?
Nope, I believe you.
So the last 2 teams that I have, one of them is the LA Clippers.
Okay.
It's hard to figure out what this team needs because they surpassed expectations last year through building a super strong defense and having Harden carry on whatever pieces he can carry, which is setting up Zubac to be one of the more improved players of the league. Norman Powell had a fantastic year, and then randomly in the cut, Kawhi Leonard had a great last 2.5 months of the season, and he did what he did in the playoffs. Now, obviously, they didn't have enough. No one really had championship-type expectations, but we all thought that they could do very interesting things in the playoffs, which they did. They took the Denver Nuggets to Game 7. But after that, what room for growth is there? In my mind, considering that they don't have any of their picks in the future because of the trade that happened so long ago. James Harden I don't know how much better he can be at this point in time. Same things for Kawhi Leonard. Zubac, he's the only hope for a certain level of growth on this roster because this team is like, I didn't even really think about it like this, but they're so absurdly bad. Outside of Zubac, so absurdly bad when it comes to player development. There's no other player that you can think of over the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Not 10 years because of Blake Griffin, but over the last few years who has seen massive growth, who was damn near homegrown for this roster. And that's the only real way I can see them genuinely improving. Outside of that, swing for the fences, trade a couple seconds or whatever you can for.
Has James Harden picked up his player option yet?
I believe so.
Or is he declining it?
I'm not 100% sure.
Let me see.
Yeah, double check.
Because that's the interesting wrinkle is what they're going to do with him money wise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see.
He's expected to opt out.
Opt out. Yeah, probably right. Get a multiple year deal.
Okay, that makes sense. And if that is the case, hopefully they don't like cap lock themselves. I think what they need to do is start to prepare for the future, post James Harden, post Kawhi Leonard life. Obviously, don't sell off too hard. They made a lot of their moves mid-season with Bogdan Bogdanovic, and last season trading for or signing up Derek Jones Jr. and getting Chris Dunn and all that. They made a lot of their moves mid-season, so I'm not sure how much better they can be. The only thing that you really want is health for this team.
Yeah, it's mostly just running back the formula, right? Like they had their team. They were really good. Last year, when the first round came, they were favored. Everyone knew it would be a long series. It was going to be grueling, but I think the consensus pick was like Clippers in 7. Yeah. They were playing some of the best basketball in the NBA, so they really don't need to shake it up. They can add improvements. They can put together some of these salaries and get to like a $20 million player if they want to get another shooter. Obviously, they could be in the Cam Johnson sweepstakes if they really want to. They have the ability to put that money together. If you want to send out like a Norman Powell if he picks up his option or whoever it may be. Yeah, so no, I'll say that. They can make an upgrade on the wing. That's probably the one problem they have is they can stand to add a little bit better of a shooting threat out there and just continue to strengthen their strength. But I feel pretty good about the formula of what this team is.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
Nobody gives a fuck what the Clippers.
They're probably the most simplest team because they already made all their moves already.
Yeah, they're really without a big problem. So like, it's not even that we don't care. It's that for the point of them having a problem to solve, there's not much to say.
Yeah.
Except Donovan doesn't care.
No, I don't care about them.
I have the Lakers. Let's stay in Los Angeles. I forgot we haven't talked about them yet. Get a center. That's the biggest problem they got to solve. It's probably the most talked about problem in the NBA offseason. Their center room is diabolical. It is ridiculous. Jackson Hayes.
Name the names.
Jackson Hayes, you're gone. Kick rocks, buddy. You're out of here. Preferably to China. You're gone. Shout out the Luka Doncic boost you got in the second half of the season. You gave him 18 games of being really good. People thought that was going to be enough. I believed in you to be enough for a playoff run to win a playoff series. You weren't enough.
Guess what?
You're gone.
Fool me can't get fooled again.
Can't get fooled again. Not going to happen. Kick rocks, buddy. So they got to find their replacement. They got to find their starting big. They're linked to every young big in the NBA in this trade market. They have Connect. They have a first-round pick and a pick swap to send, which, considering it's a 2031 first-round pick, to each their own on the value of that. Now that they have Luka. If Luka's not here for long, that could be an amazing pick if he leaves in a few years, or it could be useless because Luka's going to be here for a while. Who knows? But it's a tantalizing pick, at least a little bit. They can trade for Walker Kessler potentially. Danny Ainge's trying to rip through pockets to shreds like always. Nick Claxton's a popular name they're linked to. Who's the third one? I'm blanking on now. I just thought about it before.
Clint Capella's right there, free agency wise.
Yeah, well, they can get one of those bigs, like I said, or sign a Clint Capella, or sign Andre Drummond, whoever maybe is a stopgap.
Oh, wait, no, you already said him. Never mind.
Yeah, maybe DeAndre Ayton, who knows? There's a lot of bigs available. They got to figure out the right way to go about that. Rob Pelinka has to get someone that can be a long-term running mate with Luka Doncic for the next 3 years at least, and get a backup like a Clint Capella who can be here and give you a decent backup and not put it so you have to play 30 minutes of Rui Hachimura small ball basketball at the center.
Yeah, if I was them, I mean, not only am I calling every GM, I'm hosting open tryouts. And if you are above 6'11", let me see you do a mic and drill. You might be able to play for us. Like it's very simple for them as well because we've been talking about that since February also. So
and they have other issues they could do. They could try to rebuild the team in other ways, find wings of the future, find any way to retool around Luka and like make moves in the margins, trade a Rui Hachimura, do all these things. But above all else, if we're talking about one problem they need to solve, the only one that's a pressing problem that makes it so they can't win a playoff series is the center position. If they can at least get a competent group there, if they can get the Walker Kessler trade done, sign Clint Capella as a backup with their taxpayer mid-level exception, then they can win a playoff series. Then they can be a team that actually has some sort of a ceiling. We're not going to pick them to beat the goddamn Thunder or maybe not beat the Rockets, whoever else you view as the second best team out there when the season comes around. But they can be in the mix if they get a decent big man room.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing that's interesting is that I saw a report by Shams, and he said that Dorian Finney-Smith is pondering on declining his player option, which is interesting. Maybe just gonna like slightly decline that, get an extra $2 million. I don't know what
they're gonna decline it. He's gonna sign like a 2 or 3 year deal.
Yeah, and if that's the case, cool. But I think something else interesting is like, what do you want to do with Austin Reeves? Because he's going to be, I think he's due for an extension. And I think that he declined like a $90 million extension.
Similar thing. He declined it because next season, right now, they can only offer him 175% of his current salary. And obviously, he's on such a good deal. That's the most they can give him is 4 year, $90 million. next summer, if he just plays good again, he'll probably get 4 years, 120 mil.
Yeah, and I guess the question is, do you feel good about investing that much on someone like Austin Reeves?
Yeah, 30 mil. That's fine. That's the market rate for a slightly below average, not below average, slightly below all-star level shooting guard of that ilk. They could trade him if the right deal comes around, right? If they get another like star level player, they could package Austin Reeves with other stuff to get that. I'm not totally against that, but I'm not one of the people that's like, you can't play him and Luka. You got to move off of him. Yeah. I think it's important that post LeBron, you have another ball handler there that can give you that similar dynamic that Kyrie and Luka had. So Luka doesn't have everything on his shoulders. Austin Reeves can clearly be that guy. I want to keep him long term.
Yeah.
Don't have to. If the right deal comes along, he can go.
Okay. So there's a way. Yeah. You have any more teams or are you done?
I have 2 more teams. So I have the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
And so going into yesterday, the problem was figure out who you want to sign and who you want to prioritize between Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah.
I think after last night and after you go and draft Rudy Gobert's heir apparent, you got yourself another French center. Awesome. Your priority should be Nickeil Alexander-Walker because you know that, like, yes, Rob Dillingham is coming and he's like on the way up, but you still need some juice from that guard position. Mike Conley's getting super old. And I think that it sucks because you might not be able to keep both. And if you had to pick one, I would go with Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
They'll probably keep both, though, I think, for at least for now. Long term, they'll be able to keep both. I don't know. Naz Reid is such like a beloved player there. I find it really hard to believe to let him walk unless he gets a stupid offer sheet.
And with how many teams we talked about needing bigs, being able to have a stretch 5, like legitimately, like if the Magic had a stretch 5 or if anybody like just offered them something like that, it's like, wow, this team is actually very like significantly different. Yeah. So I don't know what type of deal is going to come for Naz Reid. I do think that he's going to get paid. So I would just say like locking those 2 guys down, and more specifically Nickeil Alexander-Walker, figure that out.
Yeah, just figure it out in general because like, the flexibility they got in this Randall trade was to be able to keep all their role players. So you can keep those 2 and then really figure out the Mike Conley piece. Like, is this the start to move off of him and empower somebody else to the starting lineup, whether it be Dante and you kind of lean into point Anthony Edwards? Is it time to empower Rob Dillingham? Probably not as a starter, but as a big part of that group post Conley. There's 5 names you have to choose between, and you kind of have to pick like 3 or 4 of them, and then figure out what the next move is. I really have no opinion on what the best answer is because I don't think you can afford to lose Nickeil or Naz Reid. So it's tough.
Yeah, it's a lot because I'm like, you look at the team, and I mean, they made the conference finals for a 2nd straight year, and Ant just keeps getting better. And obviously, they have some flaws, but it's like once you guys started clicking, this was good. Yeah. I really did like this. So I'm not sure.
I'd want to retain as much as possible, just simply run it back and bank on another year of development from, of course, Anthony Edwards. Every year he just keeps on getting better and better and better, and then just hope and pray that the biggest dice that you swung on last year's draft night, and Rob Dillingham ends up panning out.
Keep in mind, though, they also tried to get Kevin Durant and seemingly had Rudy Gobert in that conversation. So I think they're also not married to keeping Rudy Gobert long term, which on the surface, you don't want to lose Gobert, like if in the idea of like in your head of losing him for nothing because he's so important to his defense. But if there's a world out there in which they can move him and get a competent center in there and then have like shift your money to being another perimeter oriented player, in that instance would have been Kevin Durant. Other instances could be other players. I don't think that's what they should do this summer. But it doesn't. The right deal comes around, you cannot be married to the idea of keeping 34-year-old Rudy Gobert.
If Kevin Durant's on the other side, I won't be married. But
is there other players?
If it's not a top 10, top 12 player in the league, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make that deal for Gobert.
Yeah, I think
it takes a top 10 player to trade Gobert. I don't know about that.
I don't know how many players are worth.
Yeah, let me check on the market.
Are worth trading away personally, but yeah, it feels like I agree with you in general when it comes to thinking about. They're starting to think about the next era after Rudy Gobert. He is definitely not untouchable, and they prepared for that with their 30th draft pick last night. Like you said, another French big. It seems like they're getting ready to just like feel the pain of losing that surface level defense that Rudy Gobert has able to provide them.
Yeah, so that's something that they have to figure out, but that is the issue for them. So
yeah, retooling the roster and figuring out what the priorities for the future.
Yeah, I agree. My last team are the Atlanta Hawks. They made so many moves this past year, bro, or this past 3-4 days. Yeah. They changed the entire trajectory of their future, and seeing how they got Kristaps Porzingis in the building now. Okay, cool. You also, on top of that, you got Asa Noel in the building now. Okay, cool. Great news. I love that. Of course, we still have Zachary Say, Dyson Daniels, Trey, and all that. The biggest swing factor in the future, of course, is that pick that we got from the New Orleans Pelicans. We talked about it earlier. When I think about needs for this team, I feel like they've answered a good amount of them, specifically the center position. All we need is more development from Richardson. Jalen Johnson really needs to be healthy. And honestly, like, our answer is simple: health, and we need to get more buckets. And having Kristaps be there to space things out gives us more opportunities to, of course, to get more buckets. But more so, it's just like a health thing for us.
So get buckets.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
We need more buckets.
So is there no problem left for the offseason? You feel like they've addressed them now?
I think they did everything that they could so far this offseason. Of course, I will say, like, one flaws. Thing, if I'm talking about, like, getting nitty gritty in the roster, I would like another point guard in the building. I need another point guard in the building.
Interesting. Yeah. Who's their current backup point guard right now? My mind is blank.
It was Terrence Mann, but we let him go.
God, Terrence Mann, and then
was running back. It was Kobe Dyson Buffin too. Bit. So yeah, Dyson, but you don't really want to rely on that as well. So preferably, like, in the free agency, I would like another point guard.
Dennis Schroeder.
No.
Trey Jones.
No.
Chris Paul.
Maybe.
D'Angelo Russell.
No. Hell no. I need someone who's good at defense.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you don't got too much cap space. I don't know how
picky you can be.
We have a 25 million trade exception. So
okay, so trade is different.
Yeah, so Nickeil Alexander-Walker is very much in play for us. Okay. Something like that. We can nab him away from the.
Can you sign and trade into a trade exception?
I don't know if we can sign and trade.
Because that's what it would take for Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
I'm assuming it is because I've seen him in a bunch of reports.
Okay.
So that has to be a pathway.
Okay, so yeah, that's the biggest problem is using that trade exception. Trade exceptions expire if you don't use them.
Yeah.
So there's their biggest problem. They have to use that trade exception before they lose it. There we go. Buried the lead. That's number one.
Yeah, that is. I mean, outside of health, that is the number one issue for us, and that could easily be addressed through that trade exception.
Next team. Oops. I have the Milwaukee Bucks.
Your last team?
Save them for last.
Nice.
This is the last team of the whole thing?
Yeah.
Or do you want more?
No, I have one more.
Fuck. I want the Bucks to be last. Fuck.
All right, I'll go.
No, you go first. Go.
Yeah. Easy fix.
Who is next? Who's the next team?
The New York Knicks.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I would like for us to get some more wing depth and more wing shooting depth, specifically. Whoever is going to coach us next year, they are not going to play OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges 45 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. So we are going to have somebody who can come in and actually shoot the ball. Because you saw in the conference finals when the bench was actually utilized. Mm-hmm. Having Landry Shamet in for a couple extra minutes and like that's actually pretty solid, especially when that person can shoot. Having DeLon Wright in there, who's obviously more of a guard than a wing, but still having guys who can take a little bit of the load off of Mikal and off of OG Anunoby, who we saw from Mikal last year, not an amazing three-point shooter. OG can get hot, but not a consistent shooter. And then Josh Hart, who's also out there. When he's there and you're playing Mitchell Robinson and Cat, now teams are really able to scheme against you because you have so many non-shooters. If you can find a lineup and find a player to where you can play that double big and still have shooting and spacing for a hypothetical Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, offensive pick and roll, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, so that would be nice. But the biggest problem they have is they don't have a coach. That's the biggest problem. Is who's going to coach this team?
I don't consider that a problem. I just think it's like
opportunity. That's an opportunity. It's not a problem.
See, now you're talking.
That's
right?
a test to overcome. It's an opportunity for improvement.
You walk into Gotham City and you're going to take over the Knicks, right? Like you can do that. But whatever coach comes in, they're going to have to figure out a way to utilize these players. And then they're quickly going to realize, damn, everyone is playing some really good defense because we got no shooters out here on the wing. And like,
are you confident in the starting five? Do you want to change anything up or do you want to run it back with the open East?
I feel like you should run it back.
Yeah, I'll run it back.
Why toe with it?
Yeah, I'll run it back. And that starting five, we'll see what happens, obviously, throughout the season. But I do think that since Mitch is healthy, they can start. We might have a different finishing lineup, or just we can we can work on the finishing lineups based on whatever matchup, because I do think like Mitchell Robinson is going to play. I also don't want to overtax him. I'm very, very excited for Huck Porty to play next year and to have two of these bigs that can play alongside Cat. So I think that's going to be fine. I think in terms of backup point guards, I think Tyler Kolek he can provide a little bit something alongside Deuce as a backup guard to Brunson. The one rookie from last year, Daddy, he's cool. And I'm optimistic, but it's also very, very optimistic as I'm talking to think that these three rookies from last year are now going to step into year two after having no time to develop last year and just be game changers. So it's probably not going to happen. So that's why I'm saying we should probably go out and get somebody who can shoot and play 25 minutes a night for us. That would be very nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last team on this list. I have the Milwaukee Bucks. I wanted to do the Milwaukee Bucks last for a reason.
What's up, man?
Man. What is the biggest problem? How do we explain the biggest problem for this team? What would you guys say?
I mean, it's hard to say. Well, it's really
no,
not
it's
hard
not.
to say.
The hardest problem is they have no good players.
Yeah.
Rhetorical question.
Yeah.
It's not hard to say. They do not have good players on the roster. Besides Giannis Antetokounmpo and besides Damian Lillard, who is out of commission for the season. The biggest problem is Giannis doesn't want to leave. That presents an issue. Because if you want to keep him for this year, or if he wants to stay for this year, it's under the assumption he's trusting you to field a team that can give him a chance. And that the chance that you can give him, if it's your chance measured up against a chance over here across the country, and it's comparable, he's going to take yours because he wants to stay home. He wants to be a legend. He wants to live in Milwaukee where he's comfortable. Fine. To each their own, right? How do you get there? The problem is, how do we appease Giannis and show him what he needs to see to not want to request a trade at the end of the summer? I don't know. They are so far away. They can trade 2 first-round picks this summer. That's about it. You already traded for Kyle Kuzma. You maybe want to compound that salary. Brook Lopez is old, free agent. You could let him walk. They're not going to be a cap space team. They have Dame Supermax and Giannis Supermax, so they're not going to be able to sign anybody of note for real. They only have 2 first-round picks to trade. 2031, if I'm the Bucks, am I excited about the notion of trading the 2031 first-round pick if I know Giannis doesn't have a lot of reason to stay for much longer, and at that point, he'll be 35 years old? I don't feel great about that. I don't feel great about just running it back. Kevin Porter Jr., Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Portis as a supporting cast. I don't know how they get to a point where they can field enough good players to make a serious attempt to win this conference.
There's 2 avenues in my mind. One, is there a way that Jalen Green can get there? I think he might be the best option.
Those are the type of players we're talking about. And it's the best idea, I guess.
I think that's kind of the lane that you have to go into. And so trying to figure out how to get a Jalen Green there is one. 2, you messed up a couple years ago and you let some people go. And I think that like coming back into this offseason, signing the Nastas, Kostas, Alex, all of his brothers back onto this team to make him want to stay. Those are the 2 things that you have. You either have his brothers or Jalen Green, but you're not really doing anything else.
So do you want to trade Kuzma and Pat Connaughton for Jalen Green?
Yes.
I would do that 100%. You need to get off of Kyle Kuzma immediately.
I'm instantly over the Kuzma. Once you give me the cardio stat line, I think I'm done.
So if you do that and you bring back all your minimum guys, you bring back Torian Prince, Gary Trent, and Jericho Sims. Let's say they all want to come back for the minimum, right? And Kevin Porter Jr. opted in for the minimum, which I don't know if he's going to do that. But then again, I doubt he has a big market. You're going to start next year with Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah, kick rocks.
Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green. Oh my God, who's the 3 now? Torian Prince, Giannis.
If he resigns.
And let's say you bring back Brook Lopez with his bird rights.
Derry Bird off the bench?
And then off the bench, you'd have Gary Trent Jr., Derry Bird, Bobby Portis, Andre Jackson. That's a fucking horrible team.
They're going to be horrible.
We know
regardless.
we know this team is bad. Like you said, you have a supermax with the torn Achilles.
Yeah.
It hampers everything that you want to do and everything and just the entire way that you can build everything when you have $55-60 million on the treatment
Do you think
table.
the Suns would take Damian Lillard in a trade like that? Like,
I think it would be kind of dumb for them to take Damian Lillard. Like every year is precious.
I think it would be very stupid for them.
It'd be very stupid.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they can't. I don't know why I asked that. That doesn't make sense at all. He makes $54 million. That's a lot more than Jalen Green. I was thinking this closer to the top of my head. That's a dumb trade. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is their biggest problem is there's no feasible way for them to become a team that we can say you're going to get a first round bye. You're going to be a top 4 seed for sure. That's not happening. I feel safe to say there's 0% chance their team feels like that on paper. Now they could get a top 4 seed. If you want to tell me teams get hurt, they finish 4th. You don't got to come back here with that receipt. That could happen. But on paper, where you feel confident that that's the outcome that you can feel good about, 0% chance. And you have to do that or you're going to lose Giannis.
The way next year is top 4 pick is out the question. That's not happening.
No, it's a top 4 seed.
Top 4 seed is out the question.
Yeah, okay.
They're going to have to.
Top 4 pick is not out the question.
Yeah, shit, if it is, shit, it belong to me, man.
Oh, true.
Oh,
Never mind.
Yeah.
Top 4
Shit.
picks out the question. It's unprotected. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
That's what I'm saying,
It's
bro.
ridiculous. So
Oh, they're so stupid.
it's awful.
God, I hate this team.
It's so bad.
Free
Shout out to the
Giannis.
Pelicans.
So they can they would have to go and like their best chance is being like the 5 seed and hoping they play like Orlando and Orlando.
Fake demon, hopefully.
Yeah, and like Orlando's offense still isn't fully figured out, and you just have Giannis doing the same thing they did last year where he scores 40 every game. It would have to be a situation like that where you can say we have a chance to get to the second round. Outside of that, I don't think that there's any possible way.
So what I'm hearing is the only reason Giannis stays is because he wants to win MVP. He wants his 2017 Russ MVP where he carries nonsense to the playoffs.
Or just legacy too. I mean, that's the biggest conversation for him, I guess. Like he made his big hoorah on Instagram and he let everyone know basically without saying it, like I'm here to stay. I'm here to ride or die. It's easy to say that now up until you're in game 23 of the year and then you got Kyle Kuzma going on another rough stretch, averaging like 7 points on 35% shooting from the field. Easy to say. So the only pathway is like literally getting rid of Giannis.
So what we're saying
that's
is
the smartest thing to do.
What we're saying is we have a problem for you. Your team doesn't have good players, but we don't have a solution for you.
Listen, let somebody's dad run up on the court next year. Giannis is gonna be so mad he might swing on somebody.
No, the pent up frustration that he'll have by then, different.
No,
man.
somebody might get uppercut.
Yeah.
Well, that's every team. And now
You know what time it is.
we're on to TikTok time.
Rejoice!
Let's have some fun. That's much more fun than talking about the Bucks. Welcome to TikTok time, the first TikTok time of the 2025 off season. We are here.
Calabunga, dude!
Apparently we're here and we are Caucasian. I didn't know. Apparently. We're here to yap, have some fun, and naturally, we're shooting this the day after the draft. This is going to be a very draft-focused TikTok time. Lots of recap segments. Today we're going to do a build a player draft with only players from the 2025 NBA draft class.
Let's go.
Last season we did build a lineup draft for the 2024 rookies day after. Today we're building a player. Body, shooting, finishing, defense, passing. That's the categories. You guys know how this works. Donovan first pick, me second pick, Mo third pick. Let's see who can build the best star.
All right, let's do it. I'm screwed again.
This is honestly, we should do a build a player draft every time we get rookies because they're all about like their
Specific
skills
one
and stuff
skill
right now.
set
Yeah.
that they're really
So
good
this is
at,
cool.
yeah.
This is actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
Donovan, where are we going with the first pick?
Shout out to TikTok edits and recently watched interviews. VJ Edgecombe is now my favorite player out of this draft. I'm taking VJ Edgecombe finishing.
Okay.
He watched the video where he was like, I hate when other players score. I get it. It's cool. Finishing good as well. High flyer.
I've watched mad TikTok edits and I'm convinced like that's all NBA talent right there. Like
Okay. I like it. Give me Cooper Flag's defense. I thought that's going to be day one. His best strength. Give me the shot blocking. Give me the mobility.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
I had to decide between his finishing or his defense. It was quite hard. But I'm like, just laugh how he dunkers in this draft class.
Okay, so there's a lot of ways where I can go when it comes to this. So for shooting, I like the off the dribble shooting of Walter Clayton Jr.
Damn it. I was going to do that with Cooper.
Yeah.
Fuck.
One of the best, probably arguably, he might end up being the best shooter from this draft class.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to body, someone who's just like prototypical, that athleticism is insane. Give me Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey's body. Okay.
Yeah, super athletic and long.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot of tall guys that you can do similar things
But
with.
not tall guys with bounce like him, though.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Give me... Ooh, this is tough. Give me Molly Wash's body. Make me huge. Okay, I gotta go.
You
want him big? It's cool.
Yeah, give me that. I love him large.
That was my pick. All right, that's fine. I am going to take this man's strength because he represents a big group of people. Give me Con Knipple shooting.
Okay.
Okay. A big group of people.
He's putting on for a community.
All right.
Yes. So I'm gonna take Con's shooting. Give me. See, this is very, very tough.
Yeah, you're in a tough spot now.
Give me Kasparas Yakuchunas' passing.
Ooh, okay. I was trying to figure out which passer I want to go with.
Mm.
Okay. Get you KJ's passing. Well, I'm glad I didn't have to pick shooting because you guys went there first. I'll pick the worst one. Actually, no, I'll do that after. Ooh, I'm this tall. This is an interesting pick here. Ooh. Okay, no, I'll just do this for now. Give me Trey Johnson shooting.
Okay.
That's nice.
I was gonna either get him or Con. I didn't give a fuck which one.
I was deciding between those two. Yeah.
Didn't matter to me at all.
Okay.
I was gonna wait to pick him, but I was scared you were gonna pick Trey for something else. I don't
Yeah.
think you would have, but I didn't want to risk it.
Okay. You made a good decision.
Were you gonna pick Trey?
No. Okay, so for passing, give me someone who's a very underrated passer and playmaker. Actually, nah. Give me Igor Denham. Let me keep it simple.
Damn.
Give me his passing. His
I was gonna
passing
do
is
that.
special
Damn.
for that size.
Okay. Doubling up.
Okay.
Who you going with now?
And then when it comes to finishing, give me someone who has a great touch, soft hands, Derek Queen.
Dude, you just took both the picks I plan to take now.
Yeah.
Oh, you just ruined my plan. Dude, you just destroyed. I sat there and I thought for a little bit when I picked Trey Johnson because I was like, do I want to pick Derek Queen now or is he going to follow me? Damn. Okay, you know what? I don't need to do this in terms of strategy because you guys already have passing, but I don't want to get fucked over again.
Mm.
Give me Hansen Yang's passing.
Oh, he watched them draft
Yep,
combine clips.
he did.
I don't blame him
Dimes
either.
shit up.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Yep. Okay.
I'm building Jokic.
The modern big
Yeah, I'm building the modern big.
with defense. Damn.
Yeah. And I can shoot. They call Trey Johnson the modern Reggie Miller. I can pass with them like baby Yao Ming. I'm there.
All right, where am I gonna go here? See, this is very tough. You know what? Give me for defense. Actually, no. We'll go to this for defense. Give me Thomas Sorber's defense.
Oh my god, I just got fucked again. That's the only big left. Oh.
Yeah, give me Thomas Sorber's defense, and then for body, give me Joan Beranger.
Which one is that?
The successor to Rudy Gobert.
Oh yeah,
Okay. I see.
yeah.
Okay, I'm looking on. I was like looking on there. I was like, I forgot who that is.
Okay.
The
Nice.
other crazy athletic French big.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I need a good finisher, and there's like no bigs left on this list. So I'm gonna pick the guy the Clippers picked at 30, who I've never heard of because he's really tall. Give me Yannick for finishing.
Okay.
I bet he can catch lobs.
Okay, you are right about that.
Gotcha.
I bet he can catch a lob.
Dang.
All right. So for defense, to round this out, someone who could play defense, interior, step into the perimeter as well. Give me Colin Murray Boyles.
Okay.
Easy pick.
Gotcha.
Easy
Colin
pick for me.
Murray
The
Boyles.
best
Wow,
defender,
no Dylan Harper?
arguably the best defender in this, huh?
Said no Dylan Harper out.
Oh.
No attributes.
I mean, I could have picked him for passing too.
Oh, he
Ooh,
sold.
yeah, I could have picked him for passing. Ooh, yeah. I could have picked him for passing.
I was thinking about his finishing, but I made it big man. So I was like, I don't want his finishing under big.
Yeah.
Damn, they're going to ratio us on TikTok.
Damn.
Damn, we forgot.
we messed up.
Engagements.
I built the big man, so I'm out of this.
I mean, I bet it's a big too.
Yes, I guess it's on me, but hey, man, can't be wrong. I already have the best player here. Ace Bailey.
You
finished-
picked Derek Queen finishing on a
Yeah.
on a wing. That was you should have picked Dylan Harper.
Nah, he has
finishing.
soft finishing. Yeah, soft finishing.
Sure, it's fine, but like,
yeah, it's great.
but if you'd have
He's-
picked Dylan Harper finishing, you would have won in the comments.
Nah,
No, they for sure would have said
they
you won.
love Derek Queen though too.
Dude, it's Dylan Harper. You for sure would have won.
Yeah,
I still won regardless.
we love Dylan Harper out of here.
We
Nah, I
do.
built the Debbie God.
Not really.
What?
You got the worst shooter here.
I got the worst shooter
You
here.
got
It's
the-
Trey Johnson.
And I got Walter Clayton. He got Concanopy. You got the worst.
You think I
shooter
feel
here.
bad about my?
You shouldn't feel
disadvantage
bad. I'm
with
just
Trey
saying you have the worst
Johnson?
shooter here out of the three. You don't got to feel bad about it. You don't got the best finisher. You have the best defender. I would give you that. And I have the best passer. I got the best player here. Math is mathing.
You don't have the best player here.
I do.
Just because the traits that the traits that you have, they're not They don't fit into the
I don't know
body.
that Ace Bailey's body is like a big advantage. Like it works for him because he has like other things, but like
I mean, the idea of it when they told us he was 6'11",
Yeah.
but like when you find out that he's 6'7",
He's super. The athleticism is very underrated. The amount of ground that he could cover too, underrated.
okay, fair enough. There's our first build a player draft with 2025 draft class. You guys let us know who won. That one feels debatable.
Yeah, super debatable.
Yeah, that one's hard. Next up,
Mhm.
let's do the quote game you prepared for us.
Okay, let's do it. So over the last few years in NBA history, so many players have said so much funny shit, bro. Retired. Some of them play in the league today. I have a slew of quotes, and I want you guys to guess which NBA player, past or present, said this quote.
The sentence in the past few years, some people have said funny shit is hilarious. Like, man, it's been a funny year for jokes.
It's been a funny goddamn
So,
25
bro, jokes
years,
are up
bro.
right now.
They're on there to the moon. Okay.
So first quote up. I'm not a role model. Just because I dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids.
Okay. I feel like when I hear I'm not a role model, I famously think of Charles Barkley. Did somebody else say this, or is it Charles Barkley?
Damn it, this is Charles Barkley. Damn.
Hey, this is one of the most famous quotes that defines Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
He said, "Don't
Okay.
even think I'm a good guy. I'm
Okay.
not even gonna lie to you."
You had to pick one of the more crazier NBA players who said some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And that was good. You're cooking so far.
Yeah, we talked about Charles Barkley when Donovan's dad was on the show, and the first thing he said was, "Listen, he said he's not a role model.
Exactly.
I believe him."
Exactly. That's a good one.
This is a funny quote. I feel like this is gonna stick with him forever. This is just his
Oh,
legacy.
100%. Yeah.
You know, it's a legacy of.
He had a commercial line saying, "I'm not a role model."
Yeah.
And people were
Really?
still like, "Nah, I'm buying those shoes." Do you know how like beloved you have to be to tell people you're not a good guy and they still buy your shoes?
You
Yeah.
know how much you got to dunk a basketball to people to not care that you're saying I'm not good? Like, that's crazy.
People
Next
still
up,
want him to raise their kids.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
I'm watching the
Still, to
history.
this day.
Wait, people do. Never mind. I'm watching the History Channel in the club, and I'm just wondering, how do these people know what's going on the sun? Ain't nobody ever been.
Oh, this is a tweet. I forgot who
This is a
said
tweet.
this. I remember this tweet, but I can't remember who said
History
it.
Channel in the club?
Big brain thinker.
It's not Kevin Durant, is it?
Damn it, it's Kevin Durant.
Let's go.
Whoa, man, you're on a burner right now.
One, notable, famous tweeter, Kevin Durant, be on Twitter. And secondly, he's talked about being in the club and thinking about anything but the people in the club.
Exactly. There's literally footage of him in the club just practicing his form. It's hilarious, bro.
He's outside and he's thinking about inside every time.
This man is a
This
thinker.
picture is hilarious.
This is
Big
crazy.
brain.
This is from the air he tweeted that.
Yeah.
Let's just let that, let's bask in that for a second. Let's take that in.
Type
Moment of
shit.
silence for Kevin Durant.
Quick flip for the snap.
On to the next quote.
If you see me in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear.
An NBA player said that?
Or
Who's oh
Yes.
That's a quote from who said it wasn't a rapper. Who said that?
it's some rapper.
"Dang the bear, you heard the bear."
if you see me in a fight with a grizzly bear, help the bear.
Yeah.
What NBA player said that too?
Yes.
My
It's-
mind goes to Zach Randolph. I don't know.
I'm going either Dylan Brooks or Draymond Green.
No, you're closer to Zach Randolph.
Lance Stevenson?
No, not Lance
This
Stevenson.
Tony
feels
Allen.
very
No, it's
Okay.
a guard though.
It's a guard.
Michael-
Retired.
Retired guard who said this. If you see me in a fight with a grizzly bear, pray for the bear.
Tony Allen.
I said that just now.
Oh.
Nope.
This could be anybody. This is just
This is a Hall of Famer.
it's a Hall of Famer.
Allen
Gary
Iverson.
Payton.
Nope.
Damn. Michael Jordan?
Close?
Close to Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's not Gary Payton. It's a guard that's close. So it's a 90s guard. It's a Hall of Famer.
Just says a whole lot of cool shit, bro.
It's an Aura Farmer. It's an
Aura
Aura
Farmer,
Farmer.
exactly.
Probably one of the OG Aura Farmers. A 90s
And
guard.
not intentionally either, too. It's just there.
He's a
walks in
90s
breathable.
guard that just says cool shit.
Just walks and breathes.
Yeah.
Just dope. Did we say Allen Iverson?
Yeah, I said AI.
Not him. Close to Michael Jordan. Kobe
Yes.
Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, yes.
Okay.
This is Kobe coded.
When did he say this?
When-
I think it
What's
was in
the
the early
context?
2000s.
Pray
I
for
don't
the bear.
remember this.
That does not feel like it's up his alley, but who might I disagree?
Kobe Bryant.
All right, cool.
I'm tired of getting a taste of them.
Stop
I want
it. Stop it. You're not even going to get the whole load of this point. This is Paul Pierce.
You got us so excited. Okay. This was
This is
indeed
iconic.
Paul Pierce.
There's nothing more synonymous with Paul Pierce than wanting loads. Like this is his legacy from now on.
I didn't even want to write this down, but I had to.
Like this is the first thing I think about when I think of Paul Pierce. I think about that load. And he never got it. That's the bad part.
Like he knew exactly what he was
Never got
doing
the
when he
whole
was
load.
riding this suit. Or
Like,
when
never
he
got
said
the
this
whole
suit.
load.
He's gonna go to the grave wanting that load.
Just half loads. Just half loads his whole career.
Just half loads. He only gets small loads.
Can never
And
finish
that's a
the
problem,
business, man.
That's a problem.
That's the issue, man.
What was the recipe?
Ew, man.
Oh, what an all-time quote. I don't even remember the context. Were you talking about a team that's like disappointing or something?
He was talking about a player who's growing in like in his game, but I forgot who he was talking about. I feel like was it like Tatum or something?
No, I don't think he was talking about a player.
Yeah, whatever. Regardless,
He said it and it went platinum.
It did. I still remember.
Next quote. Y'all know how we have dogs and stuff, right? So I think it was bigger people in the world before us, and the dinosaurs was they pets.
Tyler Hero.
No, but same, not same level player. He's worse than Tyler Hero, and he's playing today.
Kyle Kuzma.
No, he's light skin though.
Light skin playing
Like
today.
light skin, or like we make fun of him and call him light skin.
He's actually light skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is somebody that he has a platform. He just been thinking through things.
Oh, Michael Porter Jr.?
No, that is a great guess
Okay,
though.
my bad.
That is
That's a good
Michael.
guess.
Hey man, he will say something like this.
I
won't put it
remember this
past him.
quote on the back of my head. I have a remembrance of this.
He said, "Yeah, that's tough."
So it's a
Stupid.
imagine you see someone in the lobby and you gotta go upstairs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
That's tough.
I wouldn't like that. If you know the reference, good for you.
Oh man.
Damn,
I will
so-
say he played in the. Right now he plays in the Western Conference. Played in the West for majority of his career.
He's light skinned. He's not good. Jordan Poole.
No, you're getting
That's East. Fuck.
closer though.
Jordan Clarkson.
Damn, you got it. There we go.
Oh.
Jordan Clarkson level brain. There we go.
I haven't heard Jordan Clarkson talk before, but I'm glad this is my intro to his thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully this is the last time.
Because what if the dinosaurs was they pets? Like, what if? Someone needs to talk about it.
Man, he was fried saying this.
These are combos we gotta have.
I know.
Nobody wants to talk about that though.
Next up, me shooting 40% at the foul line is just God's way of saying nobody's perfect.
You know what this is?
It
I know
has
who
to
it
be
is.
Shaq.
It's not Shaq, but you're close. It's another guy who can do everything well. And if you gave him a shot, he would be so good that you probably couldn't trust him to be a good person. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
You're wrong. It is Shaq.
Oh.
But Giannis did say something super similar to this.
He said the
though.
same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he did. He said it from 3. He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, he said it from 3.
Yeah, he said,
There we
I'm
go.
handsome, got a family, great teammates,
Yeah.
blah, blah. God had to humble me. That's what Giannis
That's
said.
what he said. God to humble me.
Yeah,
Look at that. Old Shaq and new Shaq are on the same wavelength.
exactly.
Look at
They
that.
both know what's up.
Yep. It's just 40% at the foul line is egregious.
You're
Like,
right. Why did I say
Yeah,
Giannis?
Giannis is not
Yeah.
that
That's
bad.
ridiculous. My brain definitely just like saw the quote and immediately filled it in with 3-point. I didn't even let you finish. I was already thinking.
54 from Trey Ball is OD shooting hang pulls.
My goat.
It's the newly minted NBA champion.
My goat. White boy of the year.
Chet Holmgren.
Chet Holmgren.
Minnesota's
You guys got
finest.
Look at that picture. Look at him.
What makes him talk like that? Why does he talk like that?
Well, you see when he looks in the mirror,
Mhm.
what do you think he sees?
He sees somebody who
He sees Victor Wembanyama. That's what he sees when he looks in the mirror.
Victor doesn't even talk like
Exactly.
this.
Victor
If
be over there with the
Wembanyama
mumps in
talked
him.
like this, I would be more concerned because I was like, "You're from over there. You don't even know what this means. You don't have this speech pattern over there."
Never mind. He looks in the mirror. He sees Anthony Davis. My bad.
They are not talking about OD hang pools over croissants. This is not. It's not what
They're
they
not
do.
talking about 54 from Trey Balls, OD shooting hang pulls anywhere. Nobody's ever said this sentence besides Chet Holmgren.
Especially in
Words are being
Minnesota,
said.
bro.
It's never been said before. You know?
The way he's arranging syllables is breathtaking.
Can't you think that I'm fucking clocking standing on business? Same vibes, bro. I'm clocking and standing on business.
It reminds me of.
Exactly.
And if the rumors is true, you left your mom's in the hood.
Smoke them, you
Somebody
fam.
just smoked at you. And if it's not true, Shorty's just talking shit. Her and Chet would have a great night.
Oh man, this is so nasty.
Yeah, Shorty's just talking shit.
We've gotten so much run out of that clip. We've referenced it like 4 or 5 times.
It's
already.
one of my favorite clips of
And if
all
the
time.
rumors is true,
The word dog comes up a lot. Well, I was a wolf. I used to eat dogs.
This
Damn.
sounds like Michael Beasley.
that does sound like Big Michael Beasley.
It's not Michael Beasley, but you're very far off. Very
Kevin
far
Garnett.
off. No.
This is somebody that has a reputation for being a dog and he knows it.
Yep.
Somebody probably working in media.
Lance Stevenson?
He doesn't work in media.
Meta World Peace.
No, he's one of the greatest of all time, though.
One of the greatest of all time. Is
One
it
of the
Shaq again?
greats. No, not Shaq.
Shaq would say this shit.
Yeah, someone.
He say he doesn't work in media.
I'm not thinking through things right now.
And you pick the most media guy out here.
It's the worst guess. One of the greatest of all time. When you say that, it's like top 20 player of all time.
I would spread. He's top 30 for sure.
Top 30 of all
easily
time.
without it. I don't have to think about it.
I used to eat dogs.
Yep.
Hakeem Olajuwon? No, Hakeem.
He's old.
Old.
You're getting close. He's old.
He's old.
Mm-hmm.
I used to eat dogs. Okay, so who was there from like the 70s and 80s that's known for this type of dog eat dog? Julius Erving?
Nope, not Julius Erving.
Jerry West.
Jerry West was a cold motherfucker, man. Rest his soul. Oh my God. He
That's
was
tough.
a guy.
You know what? You all right, white boy.
Yeah.
You all right.
Used to eat dogs. That's tough, man.
I wasn't even considering white players in my head. This is tough.
Yep,
My
exactly. The coldest of all
You
time.
all right, white boy. My bad.
Respect.
Respect, Jerry.
Fucking legend.
I've never lost a game. I just ran out of time.
I know a sore loser when I see it. This is Michael Jordan.
Damn, it is. I thought you were going to say Paul George. It is Michael Jordan.
I've never seen this one. That's funny.
Yeah, he's literally insane. He's a lunatic, but lunatic in the best way.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
My bad. That's actually not sore loser. I know a gambler where I see it.
No, I guarantee you when he loses in gambling, he is a sore loser. This man is not built for losing.
We're going to turn this team around 360 degrees.
This is everybody on Twitter. Nobody
And beat my
understands.
ass once.
Nobody understands the difference between 180 and 360.
I can't remember who said this. It was recent. I remember this being said, but I don't remember who said it.
I will say he is a coach now.
He's a coach now. Jason Kidd?
Damn, it was Jason Kidd.
There we go. That graphic.
Yo, man, he must have said this during his Brooklyn Nets days. And
That's
that
what it
worked.
is.
That makes sense because it was straight up a disaster.
No, it wasn't a great time. Well, there was a couple of years, but
Yeah. I can be bought. If they paid me enough, I'd work for the Klan.
Charles
Shaq.
Barkley.
It was Charles Barkley.
I can only imagine one player that would say this, given his reputation amongst people that this fits. I'm not surprised.
At the top of the show, he let everyone know, yo, I am not a role model. I see why exactly. You work for the Klan is crazy.
Only Charles Barkley would reference the Klan for no reason.
Yeah.
This makes sense.
He can be bought.
You know what he said
assume
about
Shaq
because like he went to Auburn, and so one time he said if Alabama and Afghanistan were playing in a game, I'd root for a 0-0 tie.
That's hilarious.
We could have done a whole video just on Charles Barkley quotes alone, bro.
We got to do that in the future.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this draft class that just happened.
Okay.
Let's grade the top 14 picks from this draft class.
Okay.
All right.
1 through 14. Let's give a grade. You know, we did our reaction stream live, so you guys had our thoughts in the moment. But, you know, in that moment, we're just thinking about what's happening right in front of us. We don't have time to sit back and digest it. Now we've had a night to sleep on it. Think about what we feel about all these picks. Let's grade them.
Okay.
Number 1 overall, Cooper Flag to the Dallas Mavericks. What is the grade for that?
A++.
Plus on top of that.
Plus.
Couldn't get even more pluses.
I can say a few more.
Same.
Plus.
Plus.
Cooper Flag to the Dallas Mavericks.
Exactly.
Number 2, Dylan Harper to the San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, best player available.
Plus.
Do you guys have any concerns about the fit? Do you feel like was there any other path that they could have gone down?
If he could shoot, I would feel shoot really well off rip. I would feel so much better about the pick. I still feel good, of course, because he's the best player available, and you did need a point guard. You got De'Aaron Fox and also Stephon Castle. But hey, I feel happy overall because you got the best player available, and you could see a world in which he fits perfectly alongside Wemby, Stephon Castle, and at times De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, the only way that I would have liked this, the only way that I would have liked them to use their pick better is if they traded it for Giannis. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. But if you are going to stay in this draft, still have the number 2 overall draft pick, take the best player available.
Yeah, obviously there's people say if they knew they were going to get Dylan Harper, maybe they wouldn't trade it for De'Aaron Fox. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That doesn't change the fact this is the right pick. Regardless, in and of itself, A+.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now we get to the parts where there's an actual debate. VJ Edgecombe, number 3.
No debate. You don't take the guy Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe. He's like, when it comes to thinking about NBA players in this draft class who have redeeming qualities and traits, he's a really good shooter already. And on top of that too, he's a good defender. bare minimum, you have a guy who is usable even at his worst.
Yeah, I'll give it an A. There was a debate. Some people could say they could have picked Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey has enough volatility that if he's telling you, I don't want to be there, I'll pick the safe guy that is going to be a guy that I can bet on his floor, bet on his ceiling. Obviously, the personality side, everybody loves VJ Edgecombe. View him as one of the hardest workers, best personalities that you want to bet on as part of your core. I don't see any reason to feel any type of second guessing here.
Yeah, you already have enough going on with Paul George's injury, Joel Embiid's injury. You don't need to add in a disgruntled rookie. No, it's okay.
Paul George's on a podcast saying he's doing too much. I don't want to bring that in now.
Yeah, you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, this is fine.
It's fine.
Number 4, Charlotte Hornets picking Colin Knippel.
This is a classic pick. You need adults in the building, someone who will show up to work on time, someone who will not do too much on the basketball court or off of the basketball court as well. Someone who's just going to follow all the rules, do regular things, show up on time, shoot your threes, play defense, and go home. Simple.
Yeah, listen, they've been dying to find a shooter. They try to get Dalton Connect. They tried to get him again whenever he got, they tried to get him again when the Mark Williams trade happened. They said, we are going to find ourselves a white shooter that can be competent by hell or high water. And they got him. I'll give this a solid B+.
Really, I'll go like A-.
Sure, A-, whatever.
Yeah.
He got stability.
Just because the floor of Con is so high.
I agree.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, I'll go A- because they need just baseline regular abilities to play and have structure so we can tell is LaMelo Ball good or not. 3-and-D guy, that's all you need.
Yeah, especially considering the pick that they selected last year, who was the complete opposite.
Yeah,
this is an A+ for me again. A+.
Number 5, we got Ace Bailey to the Jazz. He told the Jazz, "Don't pick me. I'm not gonna work out for you." Danny Ainge said, "Don't give a fuck. Come on over. Come play with Larry Markkinen." What do we grade that?
A+ for audacity. For Danny Ainge is like, you're a child. Like I'm the adult in the room.
Yeah.
You are going to play for me, and it's just going to be like that.
Yeah, so this is not free agency. Understand that.
Exactly.
You're going to do what you told. And hey, I like it. Overall, on top of that too, when it comes to like roster wise.
That was crazy.
What was it?
You're going to do what you told us in a funny escalation.
I thought you were going to put boy at the end of it.
Nah. But yeah, even on the roster wise too, fits perfectly as well because they have no wings outside of, I guess, Cody Williams, who you don't want to put much trust or faith in as well. Looking a little bit scary. So having Ace Bailey in there being one of the faces of your rebuild, great choice.
Yeah, I think lots of variance around Ace Bailey. If you get the good version, the bad version, in terms of the floor, the ceiling, lots of factors will determine whether or not he hits that ceiling. I love him going to a coach like Will Hardy that is going to give him so much floor type of buckets, so much back cuts, so many easy opportunities to get fed the ball in his motion-based offense. If he buys into the role, I think this is such a good way to let him progress naturally and not just throw him on the team with no infrastructure and say, go get buckets. This is good for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Straight A+. So far, the top of this draft was not really any fumbles. And that continues. Number 6, we got Trey Johnson going to the Wizards.
A+ again.
Yeah, the top 6 picks here, I think were like a tier. Oh, Cooper Flag's his own tier and Dylan Harper's probably his own tier. But 3 through 6 was all bunched up like this. And I think Trey Johnson's the last one of that tier. The Wizards got him. And, they're going to pick somebody from that tier. I like it.
Yeah, the Wizards have a lot of like interesting young pieces. A lot of those young pieces can't go get buckets. Their offense was atrocious. And so to get somebody who is one of the better shooters in this draft, can get hot, can do all of that stuff with the ball in his hands a little bit too, I like this pick a lot.
Yeah. Again, pure best player available. And there's a gulf to me between Trey Johnson and the rest of the guys. So honestly, they're in the best spot because they're like, these guys are all nice. We'll pick whatever one's left.
Yeah,
I agree.
Number 7, I think we leave the A+ territory. Jeremiah Fears to the Pelicans.
I'm going to go ahead and give this a B because I think he has solid potential. But for the Pelicans case, they just traded for Jordan Poole, and he is a similar archetype to Jeremiah Fears, obviously much better. He is the finalized version of Jeremiah Fears. It doesn't really make much sense on their end. They can't really play together too, or else your defense is going to get ran. I like Jeremiah Fears, but this is not a great fit. So honestly, I'm going to drop my grade to C.
Yeah, if you say that Jordan Poole is the finalized version of the guy that you're taking 7th overall, I think I have to go like C+.
Yeah, he's definitely a fit dependent type of guy, and it's not a horrible fit. Like they could see using another point guard. He can be their 6th man for now. We'll see what happens with DeJounte Murray long term. It's not the worst spot, but it's not the best one. We can't go A territory. I'll go B-.
Yeah, I agree. Both of them players, like Jordan Poole and Jeremiah Fears, at their best looks the exact same, and also at their worst look the exact same.
Yeah, but I don't think you can. when you're determining a pick, I don't think you can rely too much on the fit with the specific team this year, especially when that fit is with a guy like Jordan Poole, who might not be there in 3 years. It's not like it's a forever piece. So I won't let that ding it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll go B-. I won't go too harsh.
Okay, I think they could have. Yeah, I could say.
Because I'm looking at who's behind it. After the guys around this have a less of a ceiling, and this team has so many moving parts right now that I'm not mad at them going for a ceiling play. Hopefully, that can be a point guard. That's one of the best handles in the draft that can one day fit with your star big man. That's fine, opposed to like picking like a safe 3-and-D guy.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Number 8, we got Igor. How do you say it? Jaeger. I'll say it right eventually. We got Yegor Demon going to the Brooklyn Nets at number 8.
I'll give this B because
you're out of your mind.
You need to take a swing at this rate.
Not at 8. Not at 8 when you have 4 more though.
If you want him, trade back a little bit. Nobody else is going to take him in the top 15 or nobody else can take him in the top 12. I'll say that. You can trade back a few spots. This is a D- to me.
D-.
It's not an F. It's not an F because it could work. But this is not good value. Like, this is what happened with T. Salon last year, where we said, if you like him, that's your guy. All right, fine. Trade back a little bit. He's still going to be there. And maybe he's not as bad as that. It could work out still, just like it could have worked out then. That's what we said that night. It's not a good process.
I have to go D as well.
I think all other picks are not a good process, but Igor is genuinely one of the better guards, the best passing guard, arguably, in this draft class too, off rip day one. I like it. It's a good swing. I don't like the process for the rest of the draft, though. So I'm going to give this a B.
Yeah, if we're grading the fact they drafted 3 more point guards, or if
this is an
2
F.
more, then it would be an F. If it was a whole draft class, it would be an F. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But I'll go D for this pick. Number 9, we got Colin Murray Boyles going to the Raptors. Another Masai Ujiri guy, a big, versatile wing defender that doesn't have a lot of shooting touch, but you're hoping it can develop.
He has nice touch in general. He shot okay from the free throw line. I feel good about him as a player, but the fit is really questionable because you got Scotty Barnes. You're trying to figure out who's going to be the center of the future. This guy's not answering none of these questions at all.
Yeah, but I'm going to go B+ here just because you still were able to get a solid player. And at this point, seeing exactly what Brooklyn did the pick before you're like, are we taking swings now? And then to go get somebody who actually, can be a solid player day one, I do like that.
I really wanted them to pick Kamen Maluash, so I'm a little sad about that. But you can't go wrong picking strong, versatile 3-and-D defenders. Mm-hmm. That's never going to be a bad grade. You always need those, no matter what team you're on. So I'll give it a B.
You're right. He could play on any court, any team, anytime.
Yeah. Maybe it's not the most inspiring pick, but it's safe and it's going to probably provide value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with that being said, number 10, we got the Suns taking Kamen Maluash.
A+.
I love it.
This is one of the best picks in this entire draft.
Their big man room was disgusting. It was outrageous. It was disrespectful to the game. It was nasty. It was atrocious. It was any other verbiage that you can think about. And in the span of 2 minutes, they added Kamen and they added Mark Williams. A+.
Listen, man. They were just running all over the Charlotte Hornets. Like they had to go and get. Dang, I forgot what I was gonna say. That's crazy. That's crazy.
You ran out of memory. You ran out of data. The Wi-Fi cut out.
Yeah, but to go get 2 bigs whenever you're trying to stay good around Devin Booker, you're not.
I forgot what my point was. That's ridiculous.
You're not tearing it down. Devin Booker's going to stay, and you're going to try to usher in a new era around him. It's going to take a couple years, but you're going to try to get him back to competitiveness. You need big men, and you need multiple because you have none right now. Yeah. This is being part of the move to get you to being competent. A+.
In order to be a decent NBA team, there's no way around it. You need a good big man. There's no way around it at all. And they solved that. I agree. A+.
Shout out. Next up, at number 11. Oh, I dropped the dock. Oop.
Memphis Grizzlies selected Cedric Coward.
Yes, number 11, Cedric Coward. They traded up for him. Gave up a future first-round pick to move up. Not very many spots.
But you just traded Desmond Bane, so you have some more picks. So
they used one of those picks from the Bane trade too.
Exactly. Yep. So it's not like you used everything in your arsenal to go out and trade up and get him. I really like it because you traded away Desmond Bane. You said, we still need some more offense. Let me go get some more offense tonight. I like it. I'm giving it a B-.
I love him as a player. I love the fit as well. I like how they use some of those assets to get him too. If this is your guy and you're 100% sure about it, hey man, it's an A pick for me.
I'll go B. I don't love the asset use of that, using a whole first move at 3 spots. But again, like what you said, if it's your guy, you can't go wrong getting wings. Like we said, it's always going to be a safe floor. If you believe that's the guy, that's going to be one of the good wings, not one of the guys that runs around and does nothing. I'll go B.
Yeah.
Number 12, we got Noah Esenge to the Bulls.
It's the Bulls, so they can't get an A no matter what. They could have selected Cooper Flag at number 1. I'm giving it a B. Consider the Bulls. It don't matter.
No, I will give this an A, though. I think last year they got Modest Buzelis. They got the highest ceiling wing that can do stuff with the ball in his hands, can do stuff defensively, has the mold of being that type of guy that you look up in a few years and say, whoa, he grew into his body. He has all these intriguing skills. That's a high upside swing in this range. All that happened again. They picked the new version of that. Maybe not quite as much on-ball abilities as Modest, but all the defensive abilities, all the athletic abilities, raw athleticism and size. Mm-hmm. That's what you want in the teens.
The pick is smart. I don't trust the Bulls to develop him, but the pick is smart. I give this a B.
I'll give it an A.
I'll go A2.
I'll give the Bulls a compliment once.
Okay. Never again.
Probably not. Number 13, we got Derek Queen.
Ooh.
Yep.
No hate is not about Derek Queen. It's about the Pelicans. But man, this stinks.
Yeah, no, I'll give the pick itself. I like Derek Queen on the Pelicans. Yes. I'll give that a B. I'll give the trade up to get him, giving up an unprotected first-round pick for next year when you're in the West, you might be ass again. I'll give that an F. It's ridiculous asset management. But at least I like the idea of Derek Queen with Zion.
He's winning.
Listen, hey, it's an A+ pick to me, man, because obviously I am the beneficiary of this. Thank you for the future first-round pick. I'm expecting it to be super value as well. I like the fit of Derek Queen over there in New Orleans. But as time goes on, you could possibly run into huge issues because of defensive reasons. It's a B. It's a B because I like him as a prospect specifically.
Yeah, there's an A+ ceiling. If his defense is fine and the offense comes around and you have this 4 or 5 combination that can be athletically overwhelming to anybody you play, it might work out amazingly. Him and Zion might be crazy. But there's a big downside and you gave up peak value to give up that much draft assets. You better make sure this hits.
You know what's going to work out amazingly and what's going to hit without question?
We got number 14, Carter Bryant to the Spurs.
A++. Yeah. The first crayon eater ever to make it into the NBA. This is why I be telling y'all, eat your fucking crayons, bro. It's important. Him as a player, 3-and-D wing, didn't get a lot of opportunity in Arizona for whatever reason. He's going to shine over there. He has plenty of opportunity because there's not much competition in the wing room over there in San Antonio. A+ pick.
The Spurs have a slew of athletic guards that can attack the rim. Maybe one of the future greatest bigs you've ever seen. What they need in between that, 3-and-D wings who can put it all together, be big, athletic, bolster that roster, make it all make sense together, make it mesh. Carter Bryant is the exact number 1 player I wanted to see that happen with.
It's starting to not be fair. It's starting to not be fair to be able to get Carter Bryant and Dylan Harper on the same night. But this specific pick, I'm giving it an A+. Because you got all the guards you want. You have your big. What's in between? Carter Bryant now. I love it.
Especially because what they had before, the wing group was so ass before. No, it was just so like uninspired. Like there was no ceiling there with the wings. They were all just fine. This is a real ceiling. This guy can be a special player.
Thank God you saved us from Keldon Johnson. Not to say Keldon Johnson is bad, but we need to spice things up.
But he needs saving from?
No, the Spurs do.
It's not to say he's bad, but he's bad.
Yeah.
Number 15, last one we're going to grade today. We're grading the top half. Thomas Sorber to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The rich get richer.
The rich get richer.
You know that in 2 years, Hartenstein, thank you for your service, because that number in his contract is going to be a little bit much. And so they have years to make sure that Sorber can develop in their system, do what they need him to do. And then they don't even have to pay him a lot. And they can just keep rolling and rolling and rolling with this newfound championship window. A-.
A+. He's one of the best passing bigs. He is a fantastic defender. He is looked at as one of the best shot blockers as well. He is OKC coded. He breeds OKC. But someone even showed a clip of him just hyping up one of his teammates at a Georgetown game, and people were like, "Oh my God, he's already preparing for the shade glaze. He's ready." A+ pick.
And there we go. That is the grades for the top 15 picks in the NBA draft. Next thing we're gonna do, let's put the last 20 Finals MVPs into a tier list.
Damn,
the last 20, man. This is another part of our like post-finals, like legacy look back, you know? Mm-hmm. So I have the last 20 guys, counting Shea. So it's 2006, 2025, the finals MVPs. I think we should gauge this based on 1, how good they are at their peak, right? 2, let's use a few inputs. Their finals performance, but I think we should also use like their general playoff run to kind of get a picture so it's not just a 7-game sample size. Obviously index towards the finals, but I think we should look at how they got there, the total run, full package, put them on a tier list. And also, we committed to this last time we did tier list. We are finally going to make a rule where every single tier list we do, we have to put somebody in F. So we use every single tier, S through F. have to make the full range, can't stack up ABC like we always do.
We're breaking generational curses right now.
So let's do chronologically. Let's start with 2006. First name we got, Dwayne Wade, 2006.
S tier.
34 points per game in the finals is ridiculous. 65% true shooting. He was living at the free throw line, demolished the Mavs in the most, what today they'd call unethical. They would call him a total merchant.
Dude, he was taking 16 free throw attempts a game in that specific series. That's more than prime Shaq.
Ridiculous. They had nobody to stay in front of him. One of the youngest champions. He was just like year 3, Dwayne Wade. This is I almost feel inclined to give him bonus points for that, for being so young, like just because it's impressive.
You have to do it, and he has to be S tier. He's also lucky that the NBA has destroyed the tapes from 06 because people would just be they wouldn't be able to handle a 24, 25-year-old in year 3 leading his team to the finals. It's too much.
Yeah.
And the way he was doing it, it's too much.
This is like a bench line that you compare like so many young guard seasons to. Like, can they be the Dwayne Wade? Can they win this early with the team around them and the rookie contract? He's the benchmark.
Incredibly high benchmark too.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Tony Parker, 2007.
Listen, 24-5-3 is nothing to scoff at. The Spurs were just so dominant in this series that there was never a chance that they were ever going to lose to the 07 Caps. Shout out LeBron. They were gonna sweep him every single time. So I think like if you play out this series 100 times, Tony Parker gets Finals MVP 30 times. Tim gets it 40. Manu gets it 20. Like, it's going to be a very even type of thing.
24-5-5 is very nice, though. He was killing them from 2. This is one of his best mid-range scoring seasons. 58% true shooting is quite high. And for the whole playoff run, 57% true shooting in that era, that's probably like +4 relative true shooting. I'm feeling C. There's a lot of legends on here, so he can't be A or B. But I think C is fair.
I was inclined to put it in B, but generally looking, those numbers are not like generational and they don't like pop out to the eye, of course, at all.
There's one number that stands out.
What is that?
0% from 3 for me.
0% from 3. I know he took one.
Yeah, well.
He missed it too.
Exactly.
C feels fair just because of the strength of this whole group.
Okay.
But shout out him. 2008, we got Paul Pierce.
Looks like another C to me.
I hate Paul Pierce, man. This guy ruined my summer when I was a child.
You rooting for Kobe?
All I wanted was Kobe to get a ring. And then he beat him by 39 in game 6.
Maybe it should be higher than
22, 6-6, extremely efficient, 61% true shooting. It's a big 3, so he wasn't going to have like huge scoring numbers. So 22 is pretty respectable given the team context. I'm feeling another C.
Going to back-to-back game 7s in the first and second round is insane.
Well, I mean, he went to game 7 with LeBron.
I don't remember that Atlanta team. Who was on that Atlanta team? 2008 Hawks? I can't remember.
It's
Joe
like
Johnson. Not Joe. Yeah, Joe Johnson.
Was Teague like a rookie? Or second year?
No,
He was
I don't know
young.
if Teague
Was he there?
I don't
Teague
remember
had to
if he
be
was
there
there.
at that point.
Just barely.
Yeah, but barely. He wasn't getting any burn. He
No,
was
I
on
think it was the
bench.
2009 draft, actually.
Yeah, I don't think he was there.
Oh, whatever. Either way, I think Paul Pierce is C tier. I think we can put him comparable to Tony Parker's performance. Second option on a stacked team with 3 stars. Wasn't overwhelming numbers, but very efficient. Took advantage of their, when you have 3 stars, you want these guys to be efficient, take advantage of that. They did it. That's like a baseline finals MVP.
43% from 3 in the finals that does move me a lot.
To be at 43%, 47% from the field, he must have been missing at the rim. That must have been a 2-point. So it's not that great.
C tier regardless.
We'll go C tier.
Yeah, nevertheless. Oh, I accidentally put Kevin Garnett on the graphic on the tier list.
Oh, that's okay.
I fucked it up. So the tier list shows Kevin Garnett. Just know that's supposed to be Paul Pierce.
Damn, Paul, that's some bean your ass.
Okay, we're starting off with some up and down ones.
Yeah, I like this order.
2009 Kobe Bryant. 32 points per game in the finals. 63% true shooting is crazy for someone in that era against that great of a defense going against the Celtics. This is an amazing performance.
Yeah,
7 assists. I didn't realize it was that high in the finals.
In 2009, to beat the Magic the way that they did, and he was locked. I mean, they were locked in. Could you come back and you lose the way that you did? You say, I'm not losing again.
Never again.
This is damn near S tier for me. Should be S tier.
I'm going. Listen, he had a 40-point game in the finals as well. They won in 5 games in a very dominant fashion. 32-7 for a guy that everyone says can't pass.
Yeah.
I'm shutting everybody up. I can win without Shaq and I can pass. Don't talk to me. Don't tell me anything.
And 63% true shooting. They say he can't pass. They say he's not efficient. He did both of that in these
Guess
finals.
what? Shut up.
S tier.
If Kobe's weaknesses aren't on display at all, this is just like the fucking perfect player. We can go S tier. Yeah, that's dominant. He'll sit there with Dwayne Wade. Next up, we got 2010 Kobe. Slightly less dominant. Still a great series, though. 28, 8, and 3 assists, but still very efficient. Beat that Celtics team that he lost to before.
3 assists. That says 3.9. That is 4 assists.
Oh, 4 assists. There you go. 4 assists. Got revenge on the Celtics team, which adds a little aura boost to it.
And to shoot as bad as he did in Game 7 and still have a 60% true shooting percentage,
That is ridiculous.
he was hooping the first 6 games.
Do you want to put an A tier just below the 2009 one where he was at like peak Kobe? When he was passing his ass off, a little more efficient? Does this feel like it's just a notch below that? Put an A?
To me, naturally.
The Game 7, having a bad offensive Game 7 does move it a little bit, so I'll go A tier.
Okay, where is it on this tier list? Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, so A tier just to keep the standard really high for S tier. I think that's fair. Even though he's probably just as good.
Yeah.
But just make sure, let's be very selective with S tier.
S tier is one of the all-time series from a superstar.
Yeah. Okay, 2011 we got Dirk.
S tier.
S tier. This is when you think about all time, just like Cinderella run, it's right here, bro. The pathway, of course, you haven't talked about the pathway much so far, but this is probably the most difficult pathway that any superstar had to go ahead and endure.
Keep in mind, that is all true. That is all true in terms of the impressiveness of the ring as a team accomplishment. The individual performance isn't S tier worthy though. Like we compare it to the names we're looking at, like just in terms of our raw output, carry job, efficiency, what you're doing for your team. Like it was a well-rounded team experience. So not to take away or anything, but
So you think him as an individual?
Yeah, I think him as an individual is closer to A tier. Like he wasn't out here. It wasn't like Jokic finals stats, like it wasn't insane. It's only 53% true shooting. Good 26 and 9. Like it was a good Dirk performance. But I feel like S is like you single-handedly destroyed the team in front of you.
Yeah.
And this was very much a team accomplishment to dismantle the Heat.
Nah, man, I gotta go S. The true shooting in this one, it doesn't matter to me. I think that
It's not even just true shooting. You know what I mean?
No, but like
Hey, you penalize what's his name for 0% from 3? 0% from 3 in the finals?
No, that can't be right.
Listen, I was looking it up right now.
Yeah, fact check that.
I had to see.
It's 46%.
Oh, that was a mistake?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That was a mistake.
But he only took 2 threes a game.
But anyway, I feel like
I was like, hey, there's no way.
zero chance.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
But again, I just feel like it was very much a team accomplishment, and I'm not taking away from it. Like the names they beat are crazy. I don't feel like it was just like Dirk's on a crazy run, and I feel like S tier should be.
But he has, and obviously this is what happens whenever you're Finals MVP. But to have to have high scoring games, to have a 30-point game, to have a game winner, and that game winner being down by 20 on the road to close out. Mind you, they won in 6. So they won in Miami. So he won on the road twice, came back from 20, had a game winner, had 30 points. He was doing absolutely everything. Outplayed LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh in a single series. This is S tier.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay.
Just keep in mind.
Hold on. I think the stats are slightly off for this because it seems like he shot like 48% from the field actually.
And this is 50?
Yeah, instead of 50. So it dings it a little bit.
Okay, so what are you saying?
It feels like an 8 tier. Slightly off, but it doesn't matter regardless of the fact like your memory is still keen. But I don't want to say S tier now. His individual performance wasn't so gaudy. It was about the guys more so around Dirk that really stepped the fuck up as well.
And Dirk played well, I'm saying. Like, A tier is still really high. I just feel like, again, trying to be more selective with S tier here. And I think we shouldn't let the impressiveness of the team accomplishment, the aura with it, push it higher than, we're just gauging the individual.
Yeah, right. Because he opened the series shooting 7 for 18, and then he closed it off 9 for 27. Unloaded the clip. Of course, you got to do what you got to do. Then he had a 6 for 19 game in there. Like, he very much did struggle. So you're right. It was all the other guys.
Okay. We'll go A tier. Next up, 2012 LeBron James securing his first championship, beating the Oklahoma City Thunder, peak LeBron, 68% true shooting.
29, 10, and 7, a block and a steal, 47% field goal percentage. Okay.
He was living at the free throw line.
Don't say that.
68% is ridiculous.
That's probably supposed to say 57. It might be another typo. That 47 seems low. But yeah, dominant LeBron, as great as he's ever been. Peak defensively, peak offensively.
This is S tier.
This is S tier.
He's like, KD, yes, you got one game. It'll never happen again. It'll never happen again. He had a game winner in this series as well.
Wow, this is getting thrown up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, which one did he have a game winner in?
He had a game winner in game 4,
Mhm.
I believe. On cramps. Because remember, this was the era where LeBron was just cramping out of nowhere. He couldn't handle the South Beach humidity. But
South Beach.
We'll get into it, man. He come from Cleveland. You're right.
He was out here cramping, but him, man, he was
It's
dominating.
easy S tier. Do we go 2013 LeBron? Do we also go S tier?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
Basically
just as
same
good.
player.
Same player. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're 2013.
Same
Put them both
moments.
S tier. You know, it's LeBron. Everyone's always like, every tier list you do, LeBron's S tier. Sorry.
For a reason, bro.
Yeah, it is what it is. 2014 Kawhi Leonard, when he won it by he won it because he emerged as like, oh, we're seeing him blossom into a star level player.
Yeah, I'm going to go D.
It's mostly defense too.
Yeah, I'm going to go D here. The Spurs, this very much is team accomplishment.
Yeah.
And so you could have picked anybody on that team, and you're giving it because he gave LeBron a hard time. You look at LeBron's numbers, and he's still averaging 30 on like over 50% from the field. It's tough.
And this is famously the one that like there was no star. When we look at all the points you gave the team, everybody's below 15.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely like
do you
a
really
team
want to
accomplishment.
put, is it D tier right now or F?
D.
D? Do you
tier.
want to put this F?
No.
We have to. Do you not remember our
No,
rule?
trust me.
There's an F tier. There's someone worse
promise-
than Andre Iguodala. And these
Oh,
numbers.
we're talking about Iggy. I thought
haven't
you were
said
talking about
anything
Kawhi.
Oh, my bad.
Spoiler, fucking God. Next up, we got Andre Iguodala, 2015.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
There we
F
go.
tier.
F tier. Yeah.
F tier.
Somebody
This
has
was
to be bottom.
robbery of the highest order. My light skinned goat, Steph Curry, should have 2 Finals MVPs. They clowned him for years.
Yeah.
Talked down on his legacy, all because these nasty, stupid reporters were like, "Oh my God, Andre Iguodala is Finals MVP." Steph averaged 26, 5, and 5 and beat LeBron. Don't you ever in your mind get it twisted. He was good in that series.
This was so bad for discourse. I hate the whole like holding. Well, it's not anymore because 2022 happened. I hated every single time I heard somebody hold the Finals MVP thing above Steph's head. I'm like, we don't talk about Finals MVPs in any other context ever except for shitting on Steph Curry. Nobody's ever been like, so and so has this many Finals MVPs. People only refer to rings. Not to say Finals MVP isn't like an important award. Like, you know, good for you. Like it is. Like stacking them up is impressive. But nobody's ever dinged for not getting it when they still played well. Besides Steph Curry, it was a nasty agenda.
The numbers are just insane, bro.
Yeah. And as you can see, Tim Duncan has a title where he didn't get Finals MVP. Nobody ever brings it up.
Ever. Nobody ever will because nobody should.
They do it.
That's a good point.
Larry Bird has a title where he was a Finals MVP. Happened the same to Magic. They just hate my light skinned goat.
Yeah.
And Jason Tatum, that's the other one.
Oh, no. We use that. We use that.
Yeah, when the agenda fits, the agenda fits. Okay. Next up, we got 2016 LeBron James.
You know the rule.
GOAT status.
S tier. Yeah.
And listen, it's-
Greatest comeback in NBA Finals history.
Yeah.
Score 41 in game 5. Yeah.
It's just like the most iconic finals performance of our lifetime. It's
Yeah.
just like a defining part of NBA history that nobody will ever forget.
It's
The best player in his best moment that defined his career, that defined the modern NBA.
The best.
Some slight.
Yeah. Best defensive play in Finals history. All right. You got it.
Also one of the best offensive peaks in finals history. Oh, whatever. All right.
This is music to my ears.
Down
right now.
3-1 on the road. It's fine. It's fine.
It's the coolest shit ever. All right. 2017 Kevin Durant. He averaged 35 points,
35, 8, and 5.
many of which on LeBron James' head.
Had a game winner over LeBron in this series.
Yeah. Get game ceiling 3 right over him.
Mhm.
I think he did twice in the series, actually. Or is it back-to-back finals?
It was, the next year.
back to back.
He scarred me for life as a young fan rooting for LeBron James, just watching Kevin Durant shoot those threes over his head. When it happened the next year, I just felt like I was going to crumble into a ball
This is S tier.
as a
man.
young Glazer.
This is and it's one of the more godly performances we watch. This is where I felt like as a 17-year-old like at this point in time, I guess.
I think we go A tier, though.
Hopeless.
I think that's all true, but I think because he's playing in the best scenario ever, I think some of the ones in S tier are such carry jobs with worse environments that, well, like this is gaudy, this is amazing. I almost feel like we should apply some context and put it A tier.
But
The kids just because they're carry jobs.
what about 2012?
Do you want to lower? I don't. Okay, so yes, those teams were great, but I don't think the impact of playing next to Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh was quite like playing next to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Like you remember the defensive attention Steph Curry draws. How many times Kevin Durant was able to attack in single coverage?
You're absolutely right, but I mean, I'm just thinking.
But
about
if
him
you do
as
S
an
tier, you do S
individual.
tier.
I think
Just look at us here.
I'm not-
For the first time in Kevin Durant's career, it was legitimately like, is he better than LeBron? This is the only time that the conversation was actually a thing because of how great he played in the finals.
I'm just saying, S tier's getting crowded.
Listen, man, legendary moments call for legendary.
Hey, he's the
players.
main culprit of always making S tier crowded. What do you want to do?
Me personally, I want to put S tier.
Okay, then
this
S tier
is
it
one
is.
of the greatest.
There you go, S tier.
Ha.
All I wanted was 2 out of 3. You guys
Like, I
got
don't
it.
know when's the next time we'll be able to see like this level of efficiency up in the grid.
All right,
bro.
what about 2018 KD?
Now
wasn't
this-
quite,
A tier.
A-tier.
it wasn't quite as many points per game, but 7 assists, 65% true shooting, swept the Cavs this time.
7 assists. You know what that is? Steph Curry stat.
This is all Steph Curry stat to some extent.
Exactly.
But you
but-
still want to go S tier?
Now we'll go A tier here, just because the conversation between him and Steph was much closer on this one than it was in 2017.
Okay, that's a fair delineation. All right, we can do that. Next up, 2019 Kawhi Leonard. This is another one where the storyline, the impressiveness of the run is peak.
Mhm.
Do we feel that way about the individual finals performance? 28 points, 9.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 64% true shooting.
No, I don't think so.
And they won in 7 games because, the injuries.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 7 games? Oh,
No, they won in 6.
Oh, they won 6?
Yeah.
I misremembered that. Oops.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Clay got hurt in game
honestly,
6.
yeah. I think I kind of
Steph
want to
Curry
put this
missed a shot to
in
tie.
A tier. Like what he did, he was supposed to do. No one thought he was gonna, when things transpired the way he did it. No one thought that he was gonna like have necessarily a tough time at all. The pathway's incredibly tough as well, obviously, but no one really see this performance and is like, this is one of the greatest of all time. I think it was the run as a whole.
Yeah, I think we can go B because this series also had the emergence of Pascal Siakam, the emergence of Fred VanVleet. All of those guys played
Yeah,
really, really big parts. I'll go B for 2019.
I'm okay with B too, honestly.
It feels disrespectful because 2019 Kawhi was so impressive, but we do have to start using these spots. And
This is also the first time that Kyle Lowry came up like clutch in a playoff run.
Yeah.
he was also
And so-
hobbled towards the end of the playoff series. But you remember first round when he played the Magic? Dude, that
Killer.
was one of the best players I've ever seen before he got the leg injury that nagged him throughout the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah.
He was a hitman.
We can go. I feel like my gut says A, but I'm not mad at B if y'all want to think that.
I'll go B.
Was he as good as Dirk and KD?
No, I don't think he was as good as KD in 2018.
That's a great. I'm almost.
I think
don't know.
Dirk should go down to B personally, but I know y'all are holding on to that, so we can go just Kawhi and B.
See, the issue is Dirk for me. Like I can't. That can't happen in my mind. So if we're gonna do that, then I have to move Dirk down. I have to.
Yeah, I feel like 2010 Kobe and 2018
Go
KD
on.
are.
Go
Let's
on,
move Dirk
move
down.
Dirk
Let's
down.
move Dirk down.
Yeah, like and these are all finals MVPs. It's not disrespectful. Like there's always this like instinct to like
Yeah.
that legacy. That series was so amazing. They're all
Yeah.
amazing. That's the point. I don't feel like it's crazy to put that version of Dirk in B.
I mean, don't get it wrong. It is disrespectful, but
to put him next to 2019 Kawhi.
you're slandering him beyond belief.
Why do you hate Dirk Nowitzki?
He's not slandering him.
Why do you hate Dirk?
Who slanders Dirk? You have to be a terrible person to slander Dirk.
Terrible person.
There we go. I just feel like every time we talk about this team, I'm like, does nobody remember Tyson Chandler was a DPOY level player? Does nobody remember Jason Terry was giving them 19 a game? Like, this team was better than people act like.
Yeah.
People act like he was carrying bullshit. The team was good.
That team's fugazi, man.
That team was good.
They should not have won the chip.
We just say that because they blew it up the next summer and didn't give them a chance to repeat. But that was a good team.
Nah, that team was
They were deep. 2020 LeBron James. Point guard LeBron year. 30, 11, and 8.5. 61% true shooting. 3 wasn't falling, but they coasted through these playoffs. Well, actually, they went to 7 with Denver, so respect Denver.
Mhm.
But outside of that, this says 7 for Houston. That wasn't true.
Is there any and I'm misremembering this right now. How close was the voting gap between LeBron and AD in 2020?
I don't remember the voting gap. I don't think it was like a debate, even though it should have been. AD was
Yeah.
amazing. I think in the finals, LeBron had the not over him, but for the whole playoffs, a lot of times AD was the leading scorer. But in the finals, LeBron went berserk. The Miami Heat had nobody for him. They had no wing defenders. He cooked them. So it was firmly, there was no narrative dispute.
All right.
I
So
think
A
this.
tier?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's not any worse than the other ones. Like he's older and people like, because he's Lakers, people like treat it like he's always, like in a different era of prime.
Yeah.
In the moment, I did not feel like he was worse.
I think the defense was crazy this year too.
It was. If LeBron's always S tier like in these other ones, I don't feel like this is any different.
I
The
think
level
this
of
is
competition
S
is
tier.
lower, if that matters to you.
Yeah, and also He actually did. He shot like 59% from the field, damn near 60% from the field. He was unstoppable.
I always want to go S. I love.
I'm putting him in S personally.
Dude, just lean into the glaze.
Swimming in it, leaning in it. I'm basking in it.
S tier is too big, but a bunch of them are LeBron. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Next up, we got 2021 Giannis.
This is fuck, man.
I have to go. I know it's getting crowded. We have to go S tier. 50 points to close it out in Game 6. The block in Game 4. The alley-oop as well that he had.
I'm trying to think of a reason not to go S because too many names. But
I know.
I
down,
really can't.
Down 2-0.
They were debatably not the better team for a lot of those games. They went down 2-0 for a reason, and Giannis single-handedly brought them into that. He went complete dominating mode. 2 ways, like you said, defining plays to close out the series on both ends. A 50-point closeout game is so hard to deny. Like, that has to be S tier. You don't ever see that.
Exactly. And did it all with a hyperextended knee.
This is great. And there's really nobody to move down from S tier. Like, it's peak Kobe, peak Wade being really young, the peak KD year, all the LeBron years. Like, these all feel fair to be S tier.
I agree. That I looked at you and I was like, fuck, we can't put him below S tier.
We can't.
We're literally insane if we do that.
Okay, 2022 Steph Curry. Do we go A or do we go B?
I'm going A.
He averaged over 30.
I understand. There was still a game in this series where, and Steph was good for one of these every single finals run, but one of those games was just like, yo, he just can't shoot tonight. Had his first ever, I believe it was his first ever playoff game with no threes in a game. He went 0 for 9 from 3 in a game.
Damn. But yeah, this has to be A tier, I think, not B. This is, defining Steph Curry moments. This was a team that needed him to be an isolation scorer, needed him to beat people one-on-one more than any other championship team in this team's history. This was his moment. This was fully deserving A tier.
Exactly.
A tier, easily.
2023 Nikola Jokic, decimating the Miami Heat.
I think you can... The only reason to put it in A would just be if you're docking him for competition reason.
This is an insane. He averaged damn near 70% true shooting, 30, 14, and 7. This is S tier. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, go ahead.
This is S tier. I don't want to glaze, but I feel like if the Giannis one is S tier, so is
it
this.
Has to be. It has to be. This is much better than that 2010, 2018 year and 2022 straight year of Steph. I agree. It's just utter dominance. We literally, like, when we saw him, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I saw one of the 10 to 15 best players of all time playing basketball. It's just a certain level of unstoppableness that you feel, and he belongs in that tier.
They destroyed everybody they played that year. They cooked everybody.
Head and shoulders above everyone.
That's one of the best offensive peaks of all time, 2023 playoff Jokic. It doesn't get better than that. In terms of efficiency, volume scoring, playmaking combination, offensive rebounding, this is peak offensive basketball.
It's crazy how different 2 years goes by because he looks so young in this picture.
Yeah.
Compared to how he looks right now.
Look like he gained a little weight now too.
He did lose weight after the bubble. He bulked up again.
You're right, he did.
2024, Jaylen Brown. Is this D or F?
I think it's F.
Is he as good as Kawhi
Well,
Leonard?
actually, because here's the thing. Because he had a couple big shots that he did make to seal some games.
That's right.
So, like, there's that aspect of it. He was picking up Luka, right? 94 feet. He had a couple steals on Luka, right?
Yeah, but that sounds like you're beating around the bush.
I am. It's F tier. It's F tier.
This is so easily F tier. This is not even a conversation. This is clearest of F tiers. This is somebody has to get it. We don't feel like Jason Tatum deserves it because he was shooting bricks. Jaylen Brown was also shooting bricks, but at least we can say he locked up Luka Doncic. And they both had good and bad games. Jaylen Brown's good games came early in the series, and people kind of dinged Tatum because they said you started doing good when the series was already over.
Front running.
Yeah, sure. So Jaylen Brown got it because he helped build the lead in the series. Doesn't mean it's a strong finals performance. It is. Maybe you could say Kawhi Leonard is also on the same level, and they could be that. That just means all three of them deserve to be in the same tier. But if we decided that Kawhi is a little more impressive than Iggy, I think we just let Kawhi be in D.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the best way to look at it too. Kawhi doesn't deserve to be an F tier at all compared to Iggy and Jaylen Brown.
Clearest of F tier, Jalen. Especially when you look at the stats side by side, you see the last 6 Finals MVPs, and you just see the biggest polar bear in Arlington, Texas ever. I mean, you're still a Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Still an impressive performance. You're still on the list. It's just not towards the higher end of the list.
Who's the worst player in S tier?
I don't know.
Probably.
Kevin Durant, maybe. Last one we got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
Oh, my bad.
from this year.
I'll go like B tier.
It's either B or C, just because the shooting splits didn't end up being that great.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's
Yeah, it
B tier
wasn't
for
a
sure.
great.
You got pushed to 7 by an inferior team.
Yeah,
He had like a 8-9 turnover game 2 in the finals as well.
Yeah, there's a couple of feel-out games. There's some strong games, but there was a couple stinkers.
Mm.
So the guys in C just aren't on the same level, so it's probably B.
yeah. I'll go B because they're overall like the just baseline level of which OKC needed him to carry the offense was there, but like Game 7 wasn't great. Game 6 was the one where he had the 8 turnovers. He had, like you said, some feel-out games. He was having trouble with Andrew Nembhard in Game 3. Like,
You know what I feel though? I feel like putting Dirk and Kawhi in the same tier maybe isn't quite fair, but also he's above Paul Pierce and Tony Parker are their own tier because they're stacked teams. The best player on a 3-headed monster. I feel like Kawhi goes to F, Paul Pierce and Tony Parker move down, and Shai's alone in C tier.
Kawhi goes to F, man.
Because like, look, these bottom 3 are like team player. You guys are just the guy who got it.
Yeah.
These 2 in D tier are best of the 3-headed stars. Shai is the best of the 1-headed star, but it was iffy. And these next 2 are just really good. Next 3 are amazing. S tier is legendary. You guys like that? I can move back.
I feel
Alright,
okay with Paul
it's
Pierce
fine.
at D.
It's fine.
I like Paul Pierce at D. And then who's 2007
Parker next
Tony
one.
Parker. Oh man, yeah.
all right, I'm cool with
Like,
that.
I feel like in the spirit of tiers, this makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Because I don't think you can put Shai with Kawhi, and I don't think you can put him with Tony Parker. He doesn't fit either of those molds, you know? He's like directly between them performance-wise.
okay.
But then again, if we do index for the whole playoff run, then Shai is certainly with Kawhi in them. How much you want to weigh full playoffs versus finals?
Nah,
He didn't have a great first round either.
Agreed. Okay.
So it's like
The
I
C's
think he
fine.
belongs
Yeah.
to C.
So he's perfectly fine.
and then got pushed to 7 in the second round too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
also,
had hiccups.
this whole playoff run, he answered every question thrown at him, but first he got punched in the nose before he answered it.
There was just too many questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was ups and downs. He
Yeah.
always responded to the downs, but the downs did happen.
He won the fight, but he got his ass tore up a couple
Yeah,
times.
yeah, he got bladed up a little bit.
Yeah, shirt ripped and all that.
I think this is a perfect tier list.
I agree with you. S tier looks crazy, but I think it's very, very fair.
If there's ever going to be a tier list that it has tons of amazing performances that deserve S tier, it's going to be Finals MVPs.
Yeah, these are the greatest of our generation, bro. And then some.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's the end of that. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you some blind NBA stats, and you are going to guess who the player is just based on the stats. Actually, not guess who the player is. You're going to guess who the better player is just based on these stats.
All right, Donovan, hold your horses, please. Don't fall too hard into the bad stats. Because sometimes it's a trick question.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Again, all we're seeing is numbers. You let me know who you think is better. And don't try to game it. Just who is a better player. Player A or player B?
Player A.
Play 33 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 turnovers a game. This looks like
I see that.
Shai-ish.
I
63% true shooting percentage, 2 steals
I know
a
who
game.
this is, and so I
Player
feel
A is
bad.
Shai, right?
Huh?
Player A is Shai?
I know who exactly. Can I guess them?
No.
No. Who's player B, though?
No guessing. Who's the player?
All
Who's
right.
player's better?
Player B
Uh,
is better.
What?
Yeah, you're a player A.
What the
No,
fuck?
player B is better.
What?
I don't even know if it's true. You're acting like
I don't know about that. Because 33, 5, and 6 is insane. Then 24, 4, and 7. Oh, I know what this is too. Player A is better.
You guys
Player
pick
B
player A.
Player A is better. Exactly.
Yeah,
Player
get
A
outta
is better.
This is 2025
Player
Shai
A.
versus 2015 Curry.
He read player B. He was like, hey.
That's what I'm saying. No.
He's been
no.
defending those numbers his whole life. Get the
It's
fuck
not
out of here.
2016 Curry. This isn't crazy.
Yeah, player A is much better. Much better.
The stats are the
Much
stats.
better.
See, I don't like that. Over the last 10 years, people have tried to act like 2015 is like a Mickey Mouse MVP.
It's not
It
at
just
all.
makes it
They
feel
don't.
like a.
They don't respect. Just because 2016 was as great as it was doesn't mean that 2015
Yeah.
wasn't also great.
No one's saying Mickey Mouse. Nah, it's just the numbers are the numbers. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, it's just. Player A is much better.
Yeah,
bro.
man. Watch the games.
No, I don't know if this is actually true. Curry's probably still better, but numbers are the numbers. That's the game. Player A or player B?
Yeah, good job, inflation.
Player A, 21, 4 rebounds, 12 assists a game.
Damn.
2.5 turnovers, 36%, 37% 3-point shooter. Okay, I like that. 3 steals, 2 is crazy. Then player B, 28, 4 rebounds and 10 assists. All right.
28 and 10?
Walking double-doubles.
28 and 10 does move me.
28 is a lot of points. Obviously less assists, but 28 is a lot of points.
Yeah, and he's more efficient too. Obviously, the defense is...
Yeah,
he's not in the passing lanes like that.
Does the 4 turnovers worry you?
No.
Ooh, 4 to 11.
No, because like obviously if you're scoring 28 points and you're averaging 10 assists,
High usage.
You're gonna have the ball in your hands
Yeah.
a lot. But the fact that you can do that and still be overall more efficient than the other guy,
Yeah, I'll
take
player B.
I'll be okay with the lack of 1 point.
Okay.
Is that 1.8 steals? Yeah.
Yeah, player B it is. Player B is 2022 Trey. Player A is 2008 Chris Paul.
Yeah, that's that
Yep,
inflation.
there it is.
That's that
true.
inflation.
Not inflation, bro. Better with times. What do you mean? 2022 Trey? Shit.
I
I'm
love
taking
cross
it.
era comparisons. It's perfectly fair.
This is crazy.
It's perfectly fair to compare
It's
across
not
eras.
fair at all.
Yes, exactly. Makes complete sense. Nothing has changed. Same 3-point line, same lights that they use, same not the same cameras. God damn it, same never mind. player B wins.
There you go. Player A or player B?
All right, so we have basically 24 versus 23 points.
Pretty even scores. Player A is a higher assist per game. Player B is more efficient.
Okay.
By a lot. 8%
Yeah.
8% true shooting
Shit.
difference.
62.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking player B. I just saw that. Yeah, I'm taking player B. Makes more shots, turns the ball over less.
That's
I'm taking player B.
substantially more efficient.
Yeah, and the turnover is crazy
It is
too.
kind of wild. All right, I'll go player B.
Player B is Tyler Hero. Player A is John Morant.
Oh, yeah. This is where
Hey,
I
man.
cut the cord, man.
John Morant, get on your game.
The numbers are the numbers.
Get on your game.
Did he
What-
have a better?
That's an all-star that we're talking about.
It is. Was John Morant also this year?
Nope, I don't think so.
Damn.
Oh
And
my
you
God.
can't even bail him out because it's not even cross era.
John Morant, I want to defend you so bad, but it's hard.
There you go.
Same 3-point line.
All right.
Player A or player B?
Same cameras here.
Player A or player B? Player A is the higher volume scorer. Player B is a little more of a passer. Similar levels of efficiency. Not a huge difference.
Dude, the
between the two.
3-point line is insane.
To
3-point
shoot-
shot is crazy.
To shoot 40% from 3, but then still be like 57%.
57 is pretty efficient though.
I'm taking player A.
But when the other guy is at 30% or
Mm.
like 29% from 3, and you're still like around the same range,
2-point bucket. But having 3 is valuable.
then you know what? Yeah,
Give
but
me-
you're getting buckets though. At that point, it's about the volume. I'm gonna go with player B.
Nah, I'm going with player A. I know who this is too.
Who is it?
I actually don't know who this
I
is.
think player A is Anthony Edwards.
This is Anthony Edwards
Yep.
this year versus Dwayne Wade in 2005.
yeah.
yeah.
And this is them both in their age 23 season.
Wow. That's crazy.
Hoopers.
Hoopers. Next up, player A versus player B.
I was right.
You were right. Player A versus player B.
Okay. 25.
25, 7, and 10. 57% true shooting versus a more even paced 26, 7, and 7 guy.
25 and 10.
I know who this is
ridiculous.
too. Damn.
59% true shooting for player B.
See, this is 27, 7 and 7. I see that. I said
I know.
LeBron James.
Yeah. But 25, 7, and 10. That's LeBron James too. It's player B.
I'm going B.
B is a better
This is
version.
2011 LeBron versus
Exactly.
2020 LeBron.
Yeah.
He's the only player in NBA history
Yeah.
that if you see that 7 and 7, that's Bron. That's Bron.
Yeah, you guys got it right. It was a trick question. You guys went with young LeBron. Player A versus player B.
Ooh, 32, 5, and 7.
Versus 29, 10 and 6. Woo, that's good.
Damn.
No 3-point shot. Don't care. 1.6 steals a game.
Ah, wow. I got this guy too.
Player A is very efficient though.
32 points is a lot of points.
It is. And to shoot 37 from the field, I like player A.
Also, 64% true shooting is ridiculous.
Yeah, I like what player A is doing. That feels
I
like
don't know. I think I know who the guy. I know for sure. The
All right, we
guy
get
to
it. You know the
right,
guys.
but
Which player's
damn.
better?
Damn,
I know
all
all
right,
the stats.
Stacy. All right, Stacy. Give me player B.
Player B. What draws you to him?
I feel presence. I like the presence of B.
I feel presence.
Yeah,
You feel a
he's
spiritual,
lurking.
a spiritual lock in this room?
Yeah, I feel something carrying me.
we'll
right
go
now.
player B.
Okay. Player A is Damian Lillard. Player B is Larry Bird.
Dude, I swear to God, I thought player B was Joel Embiid.
You're all confident it was wrong?
I swear to God, I was.
Player A is 23 Damian Lillard.
Okay.
Wow, that's insane. Those numbers are crazy for Larry Bird back then.
Yep. Ridiculous back
That's
then.
dumb. Could you imagine what those numbers would be now?
Look at Jokic. That's what I imagine.
Yeah.
Player A, I forgot who this was. I thought this was Shea. Player A is ridiculous. This Dame season is so underrated.
What year was that again?
2023.
Oh,
Insane season.
yeah.
Player A or player B?
30, 11, and 6
Damn.
versus 30, 13, and 4.
Damn.
3 blocks. Is that Giannis?
Damn.
No threes. Is that Shaq?
Damn.
Actually,
man.
no. 3.8 assists. Is that Giannis?
It's a tough one.
Yeah. I'm
Give
gonna
me
go with player
player
B.
A.
I'm gonna go with player B. The fact that they do have 0% from the 3 lets me know you know what you do well, and you stick
You
to
love
it.
non-shooters. You give people brownie points for not shooting threes.
The efficiency moves me, man. 66% true shooting is insane.
I'm going player B.
But player B, 3 blocks is crazy. Yeah.
Player B is 2000 Shaq. Player A is 2024 Giannis.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's insane.
3 blocks per game. Different era.
That's what I'm saying. Just dominant. Just out here getting buckets, no threes. None of that fugazi. I'm taking it from 30 feet.
You
No.
gotta take it if you open.
Inside the line dominance. One-on-one, stop me. You can't. I'm going with 2000 Shaq.
Okay. Player A or player B?
At this point, I'm just taking who has the lowest 3-point percentage.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to go. Damn, 23, 13, and 4. Those numbers aren't the best
Versus
at all.
28, 11, 2. But they are more efficient. 2.8 blocks. This feels like
I genuinely have no idea who to pick.
this is.
Player B his numbers are obviously much, much better.
I'm gonna go with
Much more
player.
gaudy.
I think in this one, I'm gonna go with player B.
Player B had a better
Player
year.
B is Anthony Davis. Player A is Tim Duncan.
Whew, AD, man.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I miss Prime AD so much. People don't understand how good he was, man.
Still pretty great.
He was hooping in.
But 2018 AD different.
That's
man.
8
The
years. That's
mobility-
almost a decade ago.
Yeah,
He was in conversations for top 3 players in the world at this
he
time.
was.
When
He
LeBron,
very much
Kevin
was.
Durant, Chris Paul, when
Steph
LeBron,
Curry.
Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and James
Yes.
Harden were all in their prime.
That's fucking nuts, man.
People were putting him in that tier.
I mean, I was wrong. But
No, it was not wrong.
It really wasn't that crazy.
It was
For
not
2018, it really wasn't crazy.
Bro, account for the level of defense that he's bringing in too.
It's not about the other guys. Like he was insanely good 2-level player.
top 3, like, come on.
Yes, he was in the conversation.
I think was he third? No, he wasn't MVP, but the team was too bad. But anyways, player A or player B?
Come on.
Damn, these numbers are kind of meh. I ain't liking these numbers.
29, 7, and 6, 23 and 4.
1.3 steals. They do their job.
Player B, 59% true shooting versus 52. I don't remember who these players are.
Yeah, but
Man,
that's okay. 23 and 4.
I guess give me player A because I like the rebounding and assists, but
Yeah.
I don't feel great about either. For
I'll
real.
go player A.
I forgot you love the non-shooters, right?
Yep.
Yep. Player A is Scotty Barnes. Player B is Jordan Poole.
That's fair. You could say that.
Well, duh. I'd hope you say that. I'd pray to God you think Scotty Barnes is better than Jordan Poole.
I thought Scotty Barnes had better numbers than that.
No, last year was not a pretty year shooting wise.
Yeah,
And
that,
we'll see.
that makes me sad.
We'll bounce
I'm not
back.
gonna lie.
It was a tough team environment last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing, I'm gonna name you the 4 trades from this week. You let me know who the biggest winner and loser are of those trades.
Okay.
So it can be an individual player, it can be a team, it can be a person, it can be an entity, it can be a city, whatever it is.
An
who won
idea.
and who lost?
Concept.
Yeah, it could be a fractal entity.
Okay.
The Jordan Poole to the Pelicans trade. Biggest winner and loser
Jordan Poole to the Pelicans.
for CJ McCollum and stuff.
It's hard to say who's the winner or loser for
The
organizationally.
biggest loser is Jordan Poole.
Why?
Because he has to move to the Pelicans and that dysfunctional ass organization.
Yeah. Nobody likes them.
You're right.
DeJounte Murray said it's hell playing there. He said he can't even get time with trainers. They can't even give him Band-Aids.
That man went from DC. Listen, New Orleans is hot and humid, and it's a lot.
You're right. I think it is Jordan Poole and his extracurriculars that he likes to partake in.
Well, actually, no, it's not those. There's a lot of extracurriculars in New Orleans.
Tell me
but-
about it. I don't know.
But like,
All I know
it's just a lot though.
there's voodoo there.
Nah.
Bad
Conversation
juju
for another
there.
day.
Exactly.
Jordan Poole's the biggest loser.
Yeah.
And a winner.
Oh, winner.
Malcolm Brogdon,
Why?
because he doesn't have to be the only unk. He's like, all right, finally.
The unction is
goal.
getting grander.
I have
You're
somebody
right.
else to talk about life with. Like,
Kristaps Porzingis to the Hawks.
Mo is the biggest winner.
Okay,
Yeah, I am me.
Hawks fans?
Yeah, life is better.
He finally gets some happiness.
The sky
in
is
his
more
life.
blue now. Now, do I expect Kristaps to be a superstar? Give us 15 even points a game? No, I don't.
15?
Dude, Kristaps was bad last year.
You can't
I don't
expect
think-
15.
I don't want to give him.
Maybe you're
that.
not the biggest winner.
Yeah, you're not.
Listen,
If,
as long as he can pull up.
if that's the case, the biggest winner, the pockets of the Celtics ownership group, they don't have to pay the luxury tax.
You're right.
Who's the biggest loser?
Ooh.
Kristaps
Biggest
Porzingis,
loser.
you got moved to Atlanta. You don't get to be with the Celtics anymore. You don't get to be
Hell
part
no,
of
moving to Atlanta. That's he's a winner for that team. He gets American deli every day, bro.
Nah.
Nah, he lost here. No, maybe is the biggest loser. Do you think Onyeka Okongwu's a loser?
No, because he's. I think they can play very much together.
Okay.
I think a loser probably is Jaylen Brown because he was homies with Kristaps Porzingis.
Now he's got to play with Xavier Tillman as a starting center next year.
Exactly, bro. The
hate
spacing's
this
gonna make him look worse.
Jason Tatum's
also,
out there.
too.
Jaylen Brown's out there fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Shout out to the second apron being ducked though. Drew Holiday to the Blazers.
Drew Holiday to the Blazers.
Who is the winner of this trade?
The biggest winner of this trade is the pockets of the Celtics' new owners.
That's
They
the
get
one.
off that 3-year deal for Drew Holiday and get Anthony Simons who's expiring.
Mhm.
That is a fleece money wise.
Mm-hmm.
And biggest loser, I guess, is probably
The Eastern Conference, because once again, the Eastern Conference continues just to lose talent
Mm.
to the Western Conference. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the East.
Okay. Desmond Bain to the Magic.
Winner, of course, is the Orlando Magic. Desmond Bain too. Paulo Banchero really is the biggest.
Really,
winner.
Paul Carroll.
Yeah.
He gets a life raft of shooting.
He's about to change his life.
Yeah, exactly. Franz Wagner, low key a winner too, because it's like, whew, it's like I don't gotta like get a couple shots up today. I'm straight. I got Des right there.
Now the biggest loser might be Franz.
Why?
Low key, because if he comes out and he can't shoot threes again next year,
Oh yeah, he's
they're gonna be
over.
like, "You're the last excuse. You're the
Yeah.
only one in this lineup who can't shoot. We got problems with you."
You're right about that.
Yeah, it'll be easier maybe, but
Mhm.
all the more pressure on him to be able to hit some threes next year.
Yeah.
Facts.
Overall, Orlando, everyone in Orlando, fans, GM, shit, their coach as well, massive winner.
Yeah, everybody wins. Fantastic deal for the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next, last thing we're gonna do. I am gonna show you some NBA draft classes. The last 10 to be specific. We are gonna pick the best and worst pick from each of those draft classes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're gonna view the epic highs and lows of all these classes.
Talk
All
to
right.
me.
This is interesting. Let's do it. Highs and lows. This is gonna be kind of easy to do because there's always consistent shitters in the lottery. Always.
All the
So
time.
it's a quick bailout, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
Okay, so we're gonna start 10 years ago. Pull the slide up. Oops.
There we go.
First off, we got the 2016 draft class.
Ooh, okay.
So we're doing the best and worst.
Biggest thing that jumps out. Number 4, Dragon
Dragon Bender's the worst pick of this draft for
They
sure.
took Dragon Bender the year after the Knicks took Porzingis, and they said, we are going to get that Eastern European, and he's going to shoot threes for us. And he was a bust.
Terrible.
Best pick of this draft to me, easily Pascal Siakam.
Oh, easy.
Number 27, he helped them win a finals. He was imperative for them. He was a gigantic part of winning a championship. They traded him later, got some picks for him.
Who's
Steal
the
the
best? Is he the best player of the draft or Jaylen Brown?
I don't know if he's the best player, but he's the best pick in terms of value.
Mhm. True.
So I
Okay.
mean, maybe Jaylen Brown's better, but getting him at 27 versus getting him at 3, that's a whole different world of value.
This
I don't
is
know. That's
honest-
even I think it's a conversation on the low.
This is honestly pretty impressive. You have 3 guys here who won chips with the team that drafted them. Because you have Jamal Murray at 7, Jaylen Brown at 3. That's actually really impressive.
Mm-hmm. This is a pretty good draft class.
Shout out to Georgios Papagiannis.
If Ben Simmons back didn't fall apart, this would be a loaded draft class.
Facts. Shout out to Denzel Valentine.
Shout out to Thon Maker.
Shout out to Henry Ellison.
Yabusele.
2017.
Ooh.
I'm going to get Hassie Markelle Fultz. It was one of the biggest misses in number 1 pick history. Not his
This-
fault, but it is what it is.
This pick set back their organization.
Actually-
This is
actually-
the reason why they
Actually,
have
no. I
seen
can't even
what
say
happened.
Markelle Fultz, though. I'm looking right there at number 4. Once again, the Phoenix Suns, Josh Jackson.
Nah,
They were
it's
going to
the
be asked
No.
regardless.
It's the
Nah.
number 1 pick, and you have Joel Embiid and you have Ben Simmons. That could have been Jason Tatum, and you would have had the best team of the 2010s.
This legitimately set their team back.
Missed
Markelle
opportun-
Fultz is part of the reason why they're still in this debacle.
Missed opportunity-wise, missing this number 1 pick is one of the biggest misses in NBA history because of what could have been if you picked Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
And best pick has to be Jason Tatum. Number 3, getting the future finals player, the future finals winner.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I forgot who was up top. I was looking at 13 for D Mitch.
I literally forget Tatum and Derek White were in the same class. It just feels like for some odd reason, Derek White was like drafted in 09 or something like
Wonder why it
that.
feels that way.
It's because he bald. That dome is shiny.
2018. I don't think Aiden's so bad that he's the worst pick. I do think Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic is the worst pick.
It's fucking polar bear, bro. Look at that gaudy, like, first 5 picks, man. Holy shit.
It's hard to find a pick that just like in the moment disgusting, in the future more disgusting.
So is Shea the best pick here?
Probably, right? An MVP at 11?
Yeah, absurd value, of course. Now,
MVP and champion. Yeah,
At 11.
yeah, best pick for sure.
Second on that list would be Luka. You're getting future superstar at number 3. That's also a good steal.
Mhm.
But listen, right now, they're pretty much on equal footing. One guy drafted 8 spots later.
one guy is above the other guy.
Oh, shit. Conversation for another day.
Yep.
2019. This is a very up and down draft. I don't know how to feel about the Zion pick in this conversation.
I guess you could say Darius Garland is the best pick. I don't even know though, because
You know what the
I
worst pick is?
don't even.
The worst pick is Jarrett Culver at number 6.
Oh,
I had so much faith in Jarrett Culver. He was my
I
guy
remember
that
that.
class. I thought he was gonna be this passer, this scorer, this versatile defender. Didn't work at all.
I thought he was gonna be the next damn Jimmy Butler, bro. Far from that.
Is the best pick in this draft Tyler Hero value wise?
Value the fact that he's made an all-star.
Yeah.
You can say that.
Sekou Doumbouya, man, that's
Listen,
so funny.
Ja Morant, it's gone horribly the last like year and a half, 2 years, but he's made an all NBA team. They've won 8 playoff series, which is more than some other people can go. But honestly,
I can't go job because we have real conversations about if you can win with him in general. You don't talk about that when
All right,
it
let's
comes
go
to
Garland.
Tyler Hero.
Garland number 5, debatably the best player here right now.
Yeah, I got
Yes.
Garland.
actually, I'm kind of inclined to go with Hero though, because they got Hero and made a title run. Obviously, it's not like because of Hero.
Well, they made
but
a
like,
finals run. Yeah.
Yeah, but like he had some big performances, especially in the bubble. He's still with the team. Like, I think I would go with Tyler.
Underrated, terrible pick here. Luka Samanic, number 19. In the moment, it was like, who? And the Spurs fans were pissed. It didn't pan out whatsoever.
Terrible.
That is the worst pick here.
That's a very bad pick. In the moment, Spurs fans were pissed.
Mhm.
2020. Worst pick. I mean, RIP, sad to say. RIP the Achilles. James Wiseman, number 2.
Facts.
One of the worst picks. Could have been the extender of a dynasty if they nailed it. They did not. Is the best pick here Tyrese Maxey at 21 because it's a late steal? Or is it Tyrese Halliburton at 12 because he's maybe the best player of this class after Anthony Edwards?
I think it's probably going to be Tyrese Halliburton.
I would go. You just made Game 7 of the NBA.
Yeah,
Finals.
Top 10 player in the NBA this year.
Yeah.
Outside of the top 10, Tyrese Halliburton has to be the best pick.
He's damn near a culture shifter, man. I think I got
Not
to go
damn
with
near. He
Tyrese
is
Halliburton.
absolutely a culture shifter.
Worst pick: Killian Hayes or Jalen Smith?
Jalen Smith. Killian Hayes, easy.
Killian Hayes has some respect at the time. It didn't work, but people weren't panning that in the moments. Like, people were panning James Wiseman in the moments as like that one. Smart people saw that as being not a good decision. I think Killian Hayes had some faith. So I don't know.
Over Jalen Smith?
Yeah, Jalen Smith was confusing at the time. I remember that distinctly.
All right.
Shout out Poku.
Shout out to Desmond Bain. Oh, Jaden McDaniels could be in these conversations on the low, but
My guy,
shout out
Precious.
to him.
There's a lot of steals in this draft. 2021. Worst pick. I mean, we got a Jalen Green size hole staring at
It's
us.
easily Jalen Green right now, I guess. James Boyknight was terrible too. Josh
Oh.
Primo is
no.
ass.
Oh, it's Josh Primo. Get him out of here.
Oh, he nasty as hell. Oh, yeah.
I will hate on Jalen Green as much as anybody. I will not put him below Josh Primo on a list of mistakes. I can't do it.
Josh
Yeah, that's
Primo's crazy.
Best pick might be Sengun at 16.
I'm
All-star.
thinking Mobley won DPOY this year.
Yeah, number 3. Mobley's the best player here. 16, you got an all-star. Jalen Johnson at 20, low-key.
That could be an all-star next year. He probably should be if he's healthy.
The guy just won. If we're talking just major trophies, Evan Mobley should get it. He should be the best pick out of here.
Okay, well, they got the best player here at number 3. That's not, you don't always guarantee that. I guess we can go with Mobley.
Sure. Can't be mad
But
at that.
Sengun's the
Safe.
biggest steal value-wise.
Yeah.
And again, this is sometimes we're picking the best player, sometimes we're picking the best steal. It's like a
Shit.
mixture.
Jaren Johnson could end up being the best steal later.
But
But only time will
I don't
tell.
disagree with that.
Yeah,
I think that's a very good bet. 2022. Worst pick here. Johnny Davis.
yeah.
Johnny Davis, number 10. That's tough.
I looked it up for his career. 3.5 points per game.
Damn.
Top 10 pick. 3.5 points.
Damn. On the other note, Jalen Williams, J-Dub, is the steal of this draft, number 12.
Easily.
looking at this class makes me so sad because I see AJ Griffin there, and I think that's mine.
No, that's the main cam. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I see AJ Griffin there, and that makes me OD sad because he retired from basketball
He
to
did.
spread the word of the Bible.
Shout out him, I guess. No comment.
Shout out to him.
No comments. 2023.
Worst pick so far.
Anthony
It's hard
Black
to
isn't
say.
bad, but it's kind of high.
It is high, but it's okay. I mean, he's still in the rotation.
Kobe Buffton is the worst pick so far that I see that sticks out. Who's done like negative anything? He's
Oh,
always
no,
hurt.
it's not. It's Jalen Hood-Schifino. The Lakers needed this pick to hit, and Jalen Hood-Schifino did exactly nothing for them before they had to salary
The
dump him.
Hawks needed this pick to hit too. It's the same shit. We're going bar for bar, band for
They
band.
salary dumped Jalen Hood-Schifino in year 2.
We just did. Oh,
You
year
still
two
got
is
Kobe
tough.
Buffkin. You're still kicking it.
I think we just traded him.
Did you
I
trade
don't-
him?
I don't. Regardless, we're going ass for ass. But your ass is it's showing us.
And
It showed
there's-
itself a lot sooner.
And there's a lot more pressure there with the LeBron James of it all, with the Anthony Davis of it all.
Yeah, Jalen. I remember
Nah, he's still in the
folks are
Hawks.
so
He
happy
is.
about Jalen Hood-Schifino. I saw this and I was like, kind of confusing because he's not the shooter that they need day one.
And naturally, I think we can just say Victor Wembanyama is the best pick this draft, number 1.
Yes.
Generational.
You expected to get a legend, you probably got a legend. I think we can glaze a little bit. If we're not saying that, the other steal of this draft, it seemed like it was Derek Lively. Now it's in the air. I might still go Lively. Actually, no. Let's go Amen number
Amen?
4. Amen number 4. That's actually the best pick of this draft. I think that'll be
Yeah,
the
that
second
makes
best player. And you got number 4. That's a steal.
Okay.
2024.
Monas Buzelis might be the best pick when it comes to straight value.
I agree. And worst pick is obviously Tijon Salon.
Damn, it's so early to say. I
We-
hate doing
I
that.
know
We
it
knew
just
that, we
happened
knew that,
last
but
year.
we knew that draft night. In the moment, we were like, "What?" And
Yeah.
Say
he's
what?
given us no reason to think otherwise so far. Only year 2. I mean, only year 1's done, so the story is not written. But as of now, we got to go there.
Yeah.
Damn, I hate doing this.
I hate to do it to him.
Cody Williams, please get better.
Or Jeremy
else-
McCain could be the best pick, number 16.
No, that's also a big pick. Cody Williams.
Yeah.
Well, I guess since Salon went 6, then we'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we go Tijon Salon. And Jeremy McCain at 16 is probably the biggest steal that I'm thinking about.
You are correct. Mature.
Kello Ware's a good pick at 15.
Isaiah Collier too.
This is a very, Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to age well if he has a role next year. This is
great.
a very decent draft.
Mhm.
2025. The draft just happened yesterday. Early picks. What do we think is the worst pick of this draft? I feel like we have to go Denman. Number 8. It's a kind of a reach.
I don't think it's as much of a reach as you think so.
Is it him or is it
be lottery.
at 16? Portland taking.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah.
Nah, I like it.
That's
Reach it up.
It's a reach, but I don't think it's bad.
He was the crowds coming down, bro. He was like, "Who me? Hey, man!"
No, in fact, it looks like at the games whenever they do the swap and they give you like an upgrade for your seat. That's what it looks like.
I'm fine going Denman, or we can go Traore because they
It's
picked
one of the
another
next
one.
picks. Yeah, it's one of the next picks.
Pick one of your 3
I'll go
players that
Denman.
can shoot. We'll go with them.
Yeah, I go there.
Best pick.
It'd be comfortable to me because like they could have easily selected.
I think Chris Morris at 20 is good rap.
My first thought is Common Motherwash, just because he's going to change his son's lives because they had no bids.
But that's because the Suns are broke though.
Anyway, it's what it is. Value's value. That's my first thought. I don't know if Casperus is as a surefire thing for me to say it's a steal of the draft.
Carter Bryant at 14.
It's a great pick.
I like that. I like Carter Bryant.
Trey Johnson at 6.
It's a great pick too.
A lot of good pictures. Not a lot of fuck ups here outside the Nets.
And maybe, like, if you're low on Jeremiah Pierce, maybe, but even then, it's not as bad as the Nets.
Okay. So we all have different answers, 25.
Yeah.
And there we go. That's the last 10 NBA drafts. And that's the end of this episode. An extremely long one. If you're all here for a standard 4-hour episodes, appreciate you sitting through here. Big offseason preview, big draft recap, legendary episode.
I was having so much fun.
And with that note, we'll see y'all next week for a very, 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 very special episode.
Very special episode.
Legendary.
Moving to legendary. But
Perfect time.
Sydney.